All sports, all the time.
There's heroes and there's legends. Heroes get remembered. Legends never die.
This is the Spoken Podcast.
Hold your ears, folks. It's showtime.
I'm your host, Lance Twidwell.
Man, that kid, he can ball, man. He can ball.
Touchdown, Kansas City!
Patrick freaking Mahomes, baby!
Let's talk some sports, because that's what we're here to do.
You are tuned in to The Spoken.
This is the Spoken Podcast. I'm your host, Lance Twidwell, here inside the Starcade Media Studios with my guy, Trevor Twidwell.
What's good?
Episode 281 is in full swing, full motion. We're so happy to be with you guys. So happy to finally be back with you. Hope you guys missed us. We missed you guys. It's been a long couple of weeks, but we needed to gear up for today's show because we have a jam-packed show for you. Whether you were live streaming, podcasting, or YouTubing, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. And this time, as we have, like I said, just 13 seconds ago, a jam-packed show for you guys today. We have so much going on today. This is our favorite show of the year. We've been doing the show since 2019 on podcast and YouTube, and this is by far our favorite time of the year because this is when we're gearing up, ready for the NFL season. It is prediction week. It is the time where we sit here and we talk about what is and what isn't to become of the NFL season. We know that you guys are stoked about that as well. So I hope you guys are strapped in, ready to go. I hope you guys are having an awesome Saturday, awesome Labor Day weekend, because like I said, we have so much to get to, and I hope you guys strap in and join us as well, because like I said, it isn't just us that we want to voice our opinions out on. We want you guys to voice your opinions out on this as well. What are your guys' predictions this year, guys? All NFL, not just Chiefs related. Obviously, we're going to get to a lot of Chiefs stuff, but we want to get to all NFL related predictions that you guys have as well. So while we're doing our prediction show, go ahead and drop your bold takes on the show. Trevor will post those on the screen as we're doing our own show, as we're doing our own predictions. But as you guys know, we're also going to be giving you guys the platform at Speak It. It's the middle of our show. It's going to be a little bit later today, so bear with us, guys, because like I said, we have a lot of predictions to get to. You know that we're going to have to get to the Chiefs and Ravens game. It is the first game of the regular season of the NFL season, Thursday Night Football, so we won't have a show before that game kicks off. So we're going to have to give you guys a little bit of a preview and prediction of what we see happening in that game today as well. So while that's all going on, guys, get your questions ready. Get it all going. I tell you at the top of every single show and to the bottom of every single show, get on YouTube.com right now. Go to the Spoken Podcast. Hit subscribe, like, share, notify, all that stuff. All of it's appreciated. We take it all seriously so much. We've seen some adamant growth over the last couple of weeks, despite, ironically, not having a show over the last week. We really do appreciate all your guys' support, but we want you guys to get into the chat. Get into the live chat today, guys. Tell us what you're thinking about. Tell us what you're talking about, what you guys are ready to see happen in this NFL season. Are the Chiefs going to three-peat? Are the Chiefs going to fall short? We want to hear what you guys think, and I know, and I promise you when I tell you guys this, you're going to hear what we think, whether we believe the Chiefs are going to three-peat or not. Trevor, you ready for this, man? Because I'm ready, dude. Have you had a solid week to prepare for this one?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's been busy, obviously, but yeah, I mean, I'm ready to predict the future. So let's do it.
That's all we do around here. You know what I mean? It's all business around here. But you know, before we get to anything else, Trevor, we still got to keep tradition around here. Let's start the show off with the one and only Lance Rants.
Gotta scream! Yeah! We're back on road, John! I'm gonna go big! Woo!
In case you missed it, the Chiefs made some moves this last week.
They did.
And I love the fact that this happened after we didn't do a show this last week. I know I keep bringing it up, but we very much miss when we don't do shows here, guys. So we know there's a lot of things to talk about in between, but it happened after the show happened. So we wouldn't have been able to talk about it last Saturday anyway, which is what I'm so thankful for. Brett Veach got moving this last week, guys. And there is and it was so funny. Little disclosure here, guys. I was with some buddies. They said, hey, bro, you want to go up to the Chiefs-Bears game? I said, no. That game's just a dress rehearsal, but you know what? They convinced me of it. They said, let's just come up here, let's just hang out for a little bit, and let's bounce. Okay, fine. So we went up to the Arrowhead Stadium for a little bit, had some fun, and what do you know? As soon as we pull up, I'm getting my phone blown up. Trevor's texting me. People are texting me. everybody's texting me, did you see the Creed news? And I knew as soon as I got into a place where there was going to be very little cell service, something big was going to happen with the Chiefs because this is the way they like to do things.
Literally
man.
and figuratively.
I swear to God. And what do you know? Let's go ahead and put this one on the big screen share where we can. The best news of one of the best signings the Chiefs have made is an extension this offseason with one of their best players on their entire team. Creed Humphrey signs an extension with the Kansas City Chiefs. According to Adam Schefter, ESPN sources, Chiefs and Pro Bowl center Creed Humphrey reach agreement on a 4-year, $72 million extension, including $50 million guaranteed. Humphrey now becomes the highest-paid center in the NFL. Deal negotiated by Ken Sarnoff and Andy Sims of One of One Agency. So this was, I told you guys all along, Trevor agreed with me on this. A lot of people agreed with me on this. This was a no-duh type of move. We want to keep the camaraderie between Patrick Mahomes and his offensive line together as long as possible, especially while these guys are all in their primes or about to enter their primes. Creed Humphrey, to me, is a guy that's about to enter his best seasons. Yeah. And that's why the Chiefs went ahead and invested in him. Now, I know the number looks staggering. Paying a center $72 million seems pretty steep, but I want you guys to focus on the guaranteed dollars, $50 million over 4 years, which means the Chiefs are basically getting Creed Humphrey for $12.5 million a year. What did I tell you, Trevor, that the Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith are going to be getting on when it comes to these extensions that they're bound to get? I said they're going to get Creed from 12 to 17 million, and they're going to get Trey from about 12 to 15. These are the numbers you have to look at. Is guaranteed dollars. Sure, like I said, $72 million, you think, oh man, how are they going to pay a center that much money? He's not going to see all $72 million of this guarantee of this contract. He's going to see the $50 million, and either they're going to extend him in that third year or they're going to move off of him after that third season. There's a lot of things that the Chiefs have been known to do, and this is one of those things they like to do. And I think this is what we have to pay attention to, guys, is the fact that Creed Humphrey is really only making a little over $12 million a year when it comes to the guaranteed dollars, which is all that really matters. And when Trey Smith gets his extension, which he hasn't gotten yet, but once he gets his, you will see numbers very similar to that of Creed Humphrey. But nevertheless, Trevor, I love this move. It was a slam dunk. All it does is solidify what the Chiefs need, which is to protect Patrick Mahomes. I believe that Creed Humphrey is going to get a lot better from those dribblers he was putting down to Patrick Mahomes during the playoff run. Right. I don't know what the hell was going on. I don't know if he had the yips. Regardless, I think that's going away. But real quick, Trevor, what were your thoughts on this extension?
I mean, it felt inevitable, right? We knew it was coming. We just didn't know what the exact numbers were possibly going to be. And there, he got paid handsomely. But like you said, the guaranteed dollars tend to make it look pretty reasonable. And I think the biggest thing that I take from this is the continuity, right? You're solidifying continuity for the best quarterback in football. Creed may or may not be the best, the tippy top of the iceberg at center. I think he is up there with the best. But even if he wasn't, if he was like second, third, he was getting paid like he was getting paid. And just having a guy that Pat trusts, that knows Pat's cadence, because Pat has a very unique cadence, right. So, just having, like I said, you're paying for that continuity. Yes, and I think Creed is great at his job, and I think Creed is a monster of a man, a mountain of a man, and he has been incredible since day one. You know what I mean? I've been a day one guy, so I mean, you pay those guys, you pay a guy for the continuity, you pay a guy that knows the cadence. Similar to, I mean, he's totally different than Jason Kelce was, but Jason Kelce was an underrated guy for a long time, didn't really get his due until way later in his career, honestly, worked his way. But Creed is one of those guys that was different than Jason Kelce in a lot of ways because he was dominant from day one, is much bigger, and is a part of arguably the greatest dynasty of all time. Yeah. So you keep those guys together, you keep that continuity together.
100% agree. Couldn't agree more, and that's what I'm looking forward to. Real quick, Trevor, I want to give a shout out to the chat. Our guys, Ruben DeCruz, Dustin Orton, Max Wasson, Ruben DeCruz again, G-Pick, they're all in here today. Guys, get in here with all the fellas, all the OGs. They're all in here already. They've been waiting to get into this thing for the last couple of weeks.
We got our cousin Sean Goss in here too as well.
Nice. Shout out to Sean, man. Thanks for being out here, brother. Love you to death, man. I do want to point out one of the most important comments on here from G-Pick. He said, Lance, I like the fit, bro.
Yeah, so
I don't know what y'all are thinking, but
you know what we do around here, man. We don't play around.
We like to cop, to show off the steez every once in a while. We like to flex on them, as the kids say. We like to flex on them, Trevor. No cap.
With the drip, no cap.
Yeah, no cap. So no cappuccino, no cap. Trevor made me an espresso this morning. I'm very grateful for that. I'll be getting to that in just a second. Believe it or not, guys, I have not had an espresso yet. The energy is just flowing naturally because I'm just so juiced about the show. And I'm juiced about this one, Trevor, as well, because the next move that took place in Chiefs Kingdom, if you will, it was a little bit of a somber situation. So we had heard that, Hollywood Brown had suffered an injury. We knew it was going to be about a 4 to 6 week injury. We now know that Hollywood Brown will not be playing in week 1, which really sucks, not just because he's in absent at all. It's also, this is the team that drafted him, the Baltimore Ravens. You know that he wants to play against that team. The team that, quote unquote, may have given up on him a little too, early. This is a prideful game, man. These guys have egos. He wanted to play against his former team. It just sucks that that's not going to happen now. But I tweeted this out, Trevor. We go ahead and put this up here, Trevor. A little history or a little prediction I made on August 12th. I said, and just like that, the Chiefs are in need of a veteran wide receiver. I can think of one who's available. And what do you know? It's Juju Smith-Schuster. Now, I got scoffed at. I got laughed at. I got people telling me, Trevor, no, he's done. His knee's giving out. He can't play football no more. The Patriots are giving up on him. Why the hell would the Chiefs do this, Lance? That's a stupid move. And then about 2 weeks later, the Chiefs went out there and got themselves Juju Smith-Schuster. Now, why did they do this, Trevor? Well, I mean, there's a few reasons, obviously. One, they did have a veteran who got hurt. And we know that Hollywood Brown was that veteran signing that we all were looking for the Chiefs to make at the wide receiver position. And he's already hurt. He's going to miss about a month combined with the training camp preseason, everything combined. But yeah, we know that this was going to be a little bit of a loss. And with the shakeup that the Chiefs were having in the wide receiver room, we knew that Brett Veach wanted to give Patrick Mahomes as many sure things as possible. And Juju Smith-Schuster is exactly that. Now, do I expect Juju Smith-Schuster to be what he was in 2022 in this offense? No. But what Juju was in this offense in 2022 was what Hollywood Brown was going to be, and he probably still will be in this offense. Maybe not stylistically, but from a production standpoint. So what you're doing is you're getting Juju as a fail-safe. You're getting him as a guy that can fill in a role. He can play out there, and he can drop from being your number 1 wide receiver to your number 4 wide receiver.
Yeah.
And it even gives Xavier Worthy some time as well. Now, again, stylistically, Juju and your Hollywood Browns and your Xavier Worthys are very different. Juju's more of a possessions receiver, a guy that goes and gets you a 3rd and 5. Whereas, Hollywood and Juju are going to go and get you those 25, 30-yard bombs. He's going to go and get you those explosive plays. This still gives those young and electric players like those guys some time to develop their game as well, because now you have more veteran guys around Patrick Mahomes that he can trust. He's won with, because he's already won a Super Bowl with Juju Smith-Schuster. He won his last MVP with Juju Smith-Schuster as his wide receiver 1. So there's nothing negative to take away from this. And what have I always said, Trevor? I've always said that when it comes to the weaponry that Patrick Mahomes needs to be at his absolute best, he doesn't need a Tyreek Hill. He needs a Juju. And I'm talking about not specifically just Juju, but a player like Juju, a guy that just can catch passes, run his routes, and be reliable. Right. If you give Patrick Mahomes those types of guys, Patrick Mahomes is going to win Super Bowls after Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl. That's how it's going to go. And this signing to me just solidified that this wide receiver room is going to be significantly better than what it was in 2023, and it's going to be significantly better than it was in 2022 when they actually led the league in points and explosive plays. And again, Patrick Mahomes won MVP. So Juju coming here, only 27, I might add. People forget, Trevor, how young Juju still is.
Right.
He's
got 60-year-old knees, but
yes.
27, yeah.
He's got a knee. He's got a knee. Oh, that's very true.
Got a knee.
I'm not expecting Juju to come in here, Trevor, and put up 1,000 yards.
No.
I'm not expecting him to
He's
put up 10
receiver
touchdowns.
4 or 5.
Right.
Yeah.
When Xavier Worthy pops and becomes a dude,
right,
you're talking about Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, and Xavier Worthy being the top of the echelon, right? That's the upper echelon.
We got roles for you.
Right. I love
Lambert's over. We're Lambert's over
right
here, bro. Just throwing rolls to people.
Right, like Lambert's. Patrick's doing the no look with those buttery rolls. There's so many mouths to feed down. That's a great problem in a Patrick Mahomes offense, because we know he does not like to rely on one guy.
Complete opposite of last year. Yeah.
Right. So you have, like I said, you have mouths to feed. Travis Kelce to me is still the wide receiver 1, or the receiver 1, if you will. You got your Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, and Xavier Worthy.
Yeah.
And then it's Juju Smith-Schuster, and then it's McCole Hardman and guys like that. So this room is deep. It's deep with a bunch of wide receiver 2s and down. I don't think there's a proven wide receiver 1 yet. I think there's a guy on this roster that very well could be coming a wide receiver 1. I just talked to his coach on Tuesday on Arrowhead Allies, Mr. Rob Likens out of SMU. Might want to go check that show out, guys, after this one. But I love this signing, like I said, because of the fact there's no negatives from it. You're only adding depth, veteran depth, which is what you know I love. If you can give me more veteran depth at wide receiver than any other position, I feel better about it than any other position. Give Patrick Mahomes guys he can trust. And we know that Juju is just that, Trevor. While Hollywood Brown is licking his wounds, getting back into things. But even when Hollywood's back...
I think Hollywood's going to be back sooner than later, too.
I think he'll probably be back week 2. I think that's probably what's going to happen. But the point is, even when Hollywood's back, I'm expecting Juju to play a role in this offense.
Yeah.
Because he's a better receiver than McColl. And, I love McColl. Yeah. But he's better than Justin Watson.
Yeah.
He's better than a lot of these guys. In fact, I'll say right now, he's more proven than Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy might be more talented.
Two totally different types of players. And yeah.
So you know what I'm saying?
Far more upside.
What I'm saying is right now, for the foreseeable future, I can see Juju having a legitimate wide receiver 3 role in this offense.
I don't, but yeah.
But it can happen is what I'm saying. And with these smaller guys that the offense is relying on, you have now 6'2" Rashee Rice, 6'1" Juju Smith-Schuster, 6'5" Travis Kelce. All of a sudden, you got some size on you. You got 6'6" Noah Gray, 6'5" Jared Wiley. All of a sudden, this offense has got some size to it. And I'm really excited about them. What did you think of the Juju one, Trev?
I mean, sign me up. We wanted this. I mean, we talked about it, a few shows ago, just entertaining the thought. We never actually thought it would happen. But I mean, I obviously, when I saw it, it was a no-brainer for me. You know what I mean? Because we've had trust issues with these guys at kind of the bottom of the list of our wide receiver room. And this guy comes in, has been the wide receiver 1 while winning a Super Bowl here. So now he's our wide receiver 4 or 5. I mean, it's a no-brainer. We'll take the Patriots, paying him while he's here. We're not paying him anything. The Patriots are paying him this season, right? So, and he's just going over to pay. He's getting paid by the Patriots to come play for the Chiefs and maybe possibly win a second ring. I mean, it's a win-win for both sides. Rough. Yeah, it's a win-win for both sides. His workload's going to be so small. He's going to be a guy that's going to come in and convert some third downs, right? He's going to be more of like a situational possession receiver guy. You have maybe 4 wide receiver sets. You're going to have him and have Xavier Worthy and Hollywood on the outside, and you'll have Travis Kelce, playing in line there, and then you have 2 different guys playing the slot. Maybe do 2 and 2 crosser routes or something like that with Juju and Rashee. That's a deadly combo right there, man. That's tough for defenses to defend. So having a guy that's been here and done it with us together, I love it. Yeah, man. I mean, it was a no-brainer for me. So I'm a big Juju guy. I love his personality. I think he's a great locker room guy as well. Savvy veteran at this point, at his young age, but he's more experienced than most guys his age in the NFL at this point, especially at receiver. Receivers age differently than like running backs and players like that. So I think Juju is a guy he's been around, man. He's played for big teams, franchises with the Steelers and Chiefs and then the Patriots. So he's learned a lot throughout his career. I think he's going to come in here and just be that veteran presence in this wide receiver room. I love it.
It's an ideal situation. Just one more thing to add. It's an ideal situation. You bring back a guy that already knows the offense, has already succeeded in this offense, and now he has a fourth of the pressure that he had coming into this offense, and knowing also that he's better than your Justin Watsons and your, anybody on the bottom half of that wide receiver room. You're getting a better version of any of those guys with no pressure. That's the best, most ideal situation. Like you said, he already got paid. He already has a ring. So Juju's coming in here feeling really good and confident about himself, knowing he's just going to play a role. He doesn't have to come in here and be, oh God, I got to fill in for Rashee Rice. That's not his role. That's when you see Juju get hurt. That's when you see him, try to over-exude himself and get injured. That's not the case.
Right.
He's probably going to get 2 to 4 targets a week at most.
At most.
Yeah. So you're talking about a guy that's just playing a role. Just playing a role, man. And if he has to fill in for a guy for a few weeks, he's capable of doing that. Like I said.
And he's made some massive plays and big moments for Patrick Mahomes in Super Bowls and playoff games. So this is a guy that, has Pat's trust immediately.
Like my guy Clint said Clint Switzer said on Arrowhead Allies this week about the signing. Juju had over 960 receiving yards in 2022. He missed a game. So he essentially had a 1,000-yard season. So this is a dude that's proven that he can be absolutely productive in this offense when given the chance. So I know he's got a bum knee, but guys, I'm telling you right now, this dude can still be an asset in this offense. He will be an asset in this offense, and we all should be very excited about this one. I'll tell you the most exciting news I got, Trevor, this week was when the Chiefs decided to ultimately trim the fat of the fat. from the same wide receiver room we were talking and praising and exalting, because it was time to make a move, Trevor. And I know that you've been really hoping this guy can turn it around, and maybe he will in his career at some point.
Hey, reverse psychology the whole time, man.
But it never was going to happen here in Kansas City, and I was earlier to the boat than a lot of other people, but that's okay, because there's a lot of times Trevor's earlier to a boat that I should have gotten to a lot sooner. That's just how it goes. We have belief in guys.
Yeah.
But it was time for Kadarius Toney to go. And I've been saying this for the longest time. I've been saying this since the middle of last season when we saw this dude had paper plates for hands. He's not reliable. He can't run routes crisply. He can't stay healthy even if he did. And I just think that it was more than proven that, you know what, this was just a failed opportunity the Chiefs gave him. They traded a third and a sixth to go and get him, which is essentially the same that they gave up to get Sky Moore in the draft.
Yeah.
This is a guy that you just took a fat L on. Yes, he had a nice punt return. Yes, he caught a 1-yard touchdown in the Super Bowl. But this is a guy that you can win a Super Bowl with, or you can win the Super Bowl with or without him.
Right.
Because they proved that this year when he was a healthy scratch against the 49ers. They won a Super Bowl with Tyreek Hill 5 years ago. This isn't a guy that you can't, he's irreplaceable. And it was time to move on. The Chiefs waived him this week, and I know he's saying that everything's gonna be all right. I know this is a real shitty situation for him, because the rest of the league's gonna look at it and say, man, this dude didn't pan out in Kansas City.
Yeah.
He had 147 receiving yards last season. If it didn't work out there,
Healthy scratch throughout the postseason.
Yeah.
But I mean, for me, man, like this is, it feels like a waste of talent, and it really sucks because I always liked what he had on film. Obviously the outside of the tip drill, pick sixes and things like that, of course, but like what he can do with the ball in his hands is unique, and it's not a lot of guys in the league can't do what he does. I still believe that. It's just a combination of things that just haven't gone his way. Obviously, health, can't stay healthy, and this, lapses in judgment and skill set in certain situations just kind of evade him in big moments, and it's really frustrating. It's a bummer, honestly. I was really hoping he would be able to get it together because I thought he could have been an asset for this offense. I really did, and he was at times. Obviously, he had his moment with that punt return and scoring in a Super Bowl. Those are moments forever. They're going to live on in his personal life forever. In his family chain, and he's gonna be that, his kids and grandkids. He's gonna be a guy that scored the Super Bowl.
Sure.
That's forever a special moment. And he contributed, and he has a couple rings with us, and that's. I wish him well. I don't know where he's gonna end up. I think he cleared waivers.
He did,
and he's just sitting out there. Yep. That should tell you everything you need to know. I know the Chiefs were trying to actively trade him. Obviously, we weren't going to get anything for him, and unfortunately, because even when they were trying to showcase him in the preseason, it wasn't pretty, right? So he commits 2 penalties on one play, and it just wasn't good. So, man, I was caping for him for a while, and I wanted to see him do good because I liked the talent. I really did, but he just couldn't get it together. It's a bummer. I did also want to add in here, we got Matt Black, fake Andy Reid in the chat saying let's go. So shout out to Matt Black, coming in the chat and chiming in. Appreciate you, man.
Welcome in, brother. Welcome in. We also had SDAC62.
Yep.
Saying, hi, guys. Been watching for a few weeks. Love your content.
Appreciate you.
We appreciate you, bro. Thank you for being here with us, bro. Sis, I don't know.
You look very anonymous.
Yeah, we have no idea. But whoever you are and however you are, thank you for being with us, man. We really do appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
We also wanted to... I wanted to give you guys the update on my wish list, because you guys know that this is all a part of it. And Trevor, we go ahead and put up that wish list real quick and see how close I am
chipping away
all of it. So I know it never shows on the bottom, but
Yeah.
Turk Wharton was on the bottom of this, signing Turk Wharton. So that counts. Damn it, that counts. Allegretti obviously signed with the Commanders, so we know that he isn't going to be. That's the one I'm definitely going to take an L on.
Bro,
I do expect
nailing this dude.
I do expect Trey Smith to be extended. And Sky Moore obviously looks like he's gonna make the team. I'm not gonna go. I promise you. I promise. I'm not gonna go on a tangent here. I already did it on Arrowhead Allies this Tuesday about what in the hell the Chiefs were thinking about keeping him. Yes, I understand he's the 7th receiver on the board. Who cares? I care. I think Nico Remigio brings more to the table. That's just my opinion, though, and I will stay there. There's a reason why they brought him back on the practice squad, Nico that being. I think that Sky Moore is a waste of space. That's just my opinion.
It is pretty wild, man. I don't understand the whole...
I don't understand it either.
Yeah.
Restructuring Juwan Taylor, looks like the Chiefs are going to be comfortable with his contract right there, so that may not happen either, or we see it during the regular season. We don't know. It depends on how good Juwan plays this season. I'm expecting big things.
Yeah.
I'm expecting big things from Juwan Taylor, excuse me. But you know what? I know that I said that trade Kadarius Toney for any day pick or any kind of pick. Literally give me bubble gum wrappers, and I will take that. Sorry, Scott Pioli. But I would say that I would take any of that. Well, the Chiefs did try to trade Kadarius, like Trevor said, didn't work out. got rid of him. Fuck it. I'm counting it. I'm putting the check mark right there, as you can see right there. I still put the check mark because they got rid of Kadarius Toney, and that's all that really matters to me. I just try to give a detailed, specific way of getting rid of him.
Same thing.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Still got rid of him, and I'm celebrating it to the day I die. So thank you so much, Chiefs, for doing the right thing by getting rid of, trimming the fat, as I like to call it. I wish you to continue to trim a little bit more of the fat, but you guys decided to keep Sky, and I don't know why, and that rhymed.
Hey.
But that's the updates, guys, of where we're at right now when it comes to Chiefs stuff. I will say that there was a more of a minor trade that the Chiefs made, but I loved. It might be minor right now, but I think it will play a role later in the season, especially if Amenahu stays banged up, or he can't get healthy, or let's say FAU doesn't develop as quickly, or Mike Dana goes down, whatever the case may be. I really like the Cam Thomas trade. I don't believe the Cardinals use this kid the right way. He's not a big sack guy. He doesn't get a ton of sacks, but I also think the defense he was playing in was kind of lame, and I don't think it was really working to his strengths.
Yeah.
And I think he's only 24 years old. He is a total Spags guy.
I believe a lot of people mocked him to the Chiefs during that draft. I believe our guy Bink was one of the guys that was heavy on this kid coming to the Chiefs. So I mean, I like those correlations, and I like the fact that people think he'd fit this system, and I guess the Chiefs agree.
Well, he has a very Karlaftis element to
and he
him.
was probably high on their board. You know, that's a lot of guys that end up on teams like when they get cut or they get traded for kind of pennies. Those are guys that teams that trade for. Those teams that trade for them tend to had them on their draft board, and they missed out on them. This is kind of their chance to make something. And just systemically, this probably just makes sense for them.
And we know that Brett Veach is the type of guy, man. Whenever he can get an opportunity to get a guy he always wanted, he goes and gets him. And I think Cam Thomas was considering what they gave up to get him, which is next to nothing. I think this is a guy, like I said, in January and February, can play a big role. I really do. I think he's a guy that he has the motor, the fuck it to his game, or he just, I'm going to go after this. I'm until the whistle blows. He's one of those guys, strong, physical, strong core to his body. Like I said, very Karlaftis-esque type of player.
Yeah.
Adding that depth to this defensive line is only ideal, man. It's only a good thing because this defensive line can always use more depth, especially, like I said, if FAU somehow doesn't develop, or Amenahu, continues to struggle with that knee. Who's to say? There's a lot of ifs about it. Mike Dana got paid. Maybe he doesn't play as hard, and he regresses. Hope none of that happens, but you got to be prepared for those things. And if it does, you got to give Chris Jones a little bit of something around him. And so let's hope that Cam Thomas is a plus. But I really like the trade just on the nose of it. Just hearing about what this kid's capable of, and knowing that Cardinals fans were telling me they were utilizing him incorrectly, and they believe Spags will utilize him in the right way.
Sure.
That's very exciting to hear. So
we got a Sarah73 in the chat on X. First time watching. Good pod. Appreciate you, Sarah. Thank you very much.
Sarah, thank you so much for being with us, man. We really appreciate you
hang out
coming
with
in.
us.
Yeah, chill with us, because we are about to get to the meat of the show, and we'd love to hear some questions from you as well. If you have any takes, drop them in the chat. We'll put them on the screen. We'll answer any questions you guys have. We even have sometimes heated debates, which are really cool. We have some people that drop some takes, get me triggered every once in a while. You guys know how to push my buttons, so push away, Sarah.
Just disagree with Lance.
Just disagree with me, and the show's just going to go off the rails.
You just added an hour to the show.
Exactly. What's an hour to this show, man? We just keep going. But with all that said, with all the Chiefs news, guys, that I wanted to kind of sprinkle in at the beginning of the show to get us kind of fired up, it's time to give you guys some predictions. This is, like I said, the best time of the year, our favorite episode every single season, to see how wrong Trevor and I are.
Yep.
But you know what? Nevertheless, we still pop it out there, and we still give it to you guys. We still make sure that you guys know where we stand, what we're expecting to see this NFL season. So with that said, here is our 2024 NFL prediction. So, Trev, let's go ahead and start on the NFC side of things. I want to start on the NFC East.
Okay.
So, this division, I'll be honest with you, I'll give you guys the AFC divisions they face. So the NFC East is facing the AFC North this year, which is going to be adds a very tough schedule for all four of these teams, because the AFC North on a annual basis is a pretty tough division. I'm going to be honest with you, Trevor. There's not a single team in this division that I really like. I think the NFC East as a whole is going to be a disappointment. The Cowboys didn't do anything this offseason. The Eagles lost Jason Kelce. And I don't believe in Nick Sirianni as a head coach. The Commanders, although I think Jaden Daniels can be an absolute stud in this league, having a defensive-minded head coach in Dan Quinn, who's already failed in this league, albeit played in the Super Bowl once, but had Kyle Shanahan as his OC and Matt Ryan in his prime with Julio Jones. I tend to believe that a lot of guys could have went there. But I like Dan Quinn. Don't love him as a head coach. And plus, the Commanders got to go to Cincinnati and Baltimore this year. There's the Giants, still having Daniel Jones. We just know that the Giants are just they're just waiting that one out. It's it's a lame duck situation where they know they absolutely beefed it on that contract. So, Malik Neighbors and guys like that seem to be like a good player here and there, but I just don't know, man.
Malik Neighbors looks like an elite talent.
Yeah, so I'm going to tell you just by default, Trevor, I'm basing this division off of who has the most talent, and that's the Eagles. And I'm going to give the Eagles the division in this year, be at the top of the NFC East at 10-7. Very tough schedule. Like I said, the loss of Jason Kelce is going to be rough. But I'm expecting this team with maybe the best group of talent on the offensive side of things in the NFL. I mean, you're talking about A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts. Still a very good offensive line. I think they're still a top 10 offensive line without question.
I'm not a Jalen Hurts guy, though.
But Jalen Hurts is a freak athlete who's had an MVP-esque season.
I don't think he's a very good quarterback, in my opinion. But
I think with the weapons he's got, though, I think he can have a very big season this year. I really do. Because last season he was
should have last year.
He was dealing with a serious groin injury last year, though. There was something wrong with Jalen Hurts last season. I think he's going to bounce back.
You take those legs.
I will say this:
out, man.
the Saquon Barkley addition is huge. If he can stay healthy, Saquon's going to be a monster in that offense. And I love Vic Fangio as their defensive coordinator. I love that pickup. That's such a good pickup for this defense because they were reeling last year. And also, to the credit, Kellen Moore, who's kind of an unknown still in the NFL as far as like what he actually brings to the table. I think if anybody can really salvage their own career with an athlete like Jalen Hurts, I think it could be Kellen Moore. I think because he got some good seasons out of Justin Herbert. I think that he can do something with Jalen Hurts. I just like the talent on this team. I think they got a ton of talent, and I think they're gonna squeak by and get this division at 10-7. The second place team is the team that I'm very upset with this year because I feel like they just consistently find ways to get in their own way, and it starts with their own Jerry Jones. The Cowboys are a team that 3 straight years at 12-5, no team's ever done that before and not made a conference championship. Jerry Jones is so good at building rosters. He's so good at it. They build awesome rosters every single year, but he doesn't know how to take care of the guys at the right time. And now he has completely burnt the bridge with Dak Prescott. Bad vibes all the way around. Just now finally paid CeeDee Lamb, which is a no-duh type of move. He's going to franchise tag Micah Parsons, and we'll see what happens after that, after this season. But Dak Prescott's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone. And this, to me, just feels like one of those seasons where it's going to be a lost season, and then Mike McCarthy gets fired, and then it's going to be just disarray. And then you see what happens with the Cowboys after that. But I do not like the Cowboys this year. I don't like the vibes they have. I don't like that they made zero moves until Dalvin Cook like a week ago. 30-year-old Dalvin Cook, who's a decent running back to this point, but he ain't no 2017 Dalvin Cook.
He's toast.
So yeah, he's Dalvin cooked, if we're gonna be honest here. So the Cowboys, just to me, no real draft picks this year. I think they're gonna be a very mediocre team, a team that can win big games, but also lose some frustrating ones. I have the Cowboys actually missing the playoffs and going 9-8 this year. So that leaves the third place Commanders. I really want to like this team, but like I said, I think that if Dan Quinn's going to get this bad boy going, it's going to be another year from now. They need another draft and need some more free agents to add to this thing. I like and believe in Jaden Daniels. I think he's going to be the second best quarterback out of this draft because I very much believe in Caleb Williams.
Well, he's a Heisman winner for a reason.
Yes, Jaden Daniels.
He's 1,000 rushing yards.
The thing that does concern me, though, Trevor, he is undersized.
And he's skinny.
Yes, he's an undersized quarterback. Always makes me a little concerned. But he's got an absolute cannon for an arm. He stayed mostly healthy in college.
Yeah.
And I think this guy can transition into the league, especially with the weapons he's got.
You want a hot take from me that you're not going to like? Just going to throw it out there. He's better than Anthony Richardson.
Chill.
Okay.
So we'll debate that in a little bit. But
he's better.
I like the Commanders. I don't love them this year. I think they're a year away.
No, yeah, they're not ready. That roster's trash.
Right. Well, I think Dan Quinn's going to get that defense better. They're going to get better.
There's not depth there yet, dude.
Well, they were like 25th in defense last year. I think they're going to be like 18th. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they got to get bodies that are.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you'll see the gradual growth. Like,
yeah, this is a stepping stone year for sure.
Like 18th this year, and then like 11th next year, and all of a sudden, like you start to see that Dan Quinn defense, and then Jaden Daniels develops. You know, then next year they're 9-8 or 10-7. You know,
I think they got a special talent in Jaden Daniels. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, so I have the Commanders at 7-10. And I don't really need to expand upon the Giants. Like I said, I think they're dead in the water. I think they're waiting to go and spend as much money as they possibly can on Dak Prescott and then probably try to get Bill Belichick out of retirement, which I think is a bad move, but they're going to do it anyway. And ironically let Belichick finish his career where it started in the New York Giants franchise. I have the Giants though this year at 4-13. How's your NFC East looking, Trevor?
Very different than yours.
Right.
I just want to throw this stat out here from our guy John Harrison real quick though. It's right in the same vein as this conversation. NFC East. NFC East has a different division winner every year. Not since 2004 has there been a back-to-back winner. Andy Reid's Eagles last one to do it. That's a pretty interesting.
It is.
That's pretty rare, honestly.
The NFC South is very similar to that too.
Yeah,
they do the same thing.
I have the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are the class of this division right now. I think the Eagles are the most overrated team going into this season, in my opinion. I have the Cowboys at 13-4. I had them at 13-4 last year. I'm sticking to it again. I think they didn't need to make much changes last year because they were the best offensive football last year.
13-4.
Yes, 13-4. They were one game away from that last year. What did they change? They were the best offensive football last year. They failed. They lost the Packers in the postseason, which was a blunder. They should have beat them because they had far more experience. Dak was the better quarterback the last year in comparison to him and Jordan Love. Still is the better quarterback. I think that this is a contract year for Dak. I think this is a big season for him as long as he stays healthy. He was incredible last year. Didn't even have double-digit turnovers. So I just like that. I mean, you solidified your elite weapon in CeeDee Lamb, who's arguably the best receiver in football right now at this point. So listen, I think I like Jake Ferguson. I like the moves. The running back room doesn't really matter that much to me because it didn't really matter that much last year, and they were led in points last year. So this is a team that is just absolutely just hot offensively, and that defense is still good. People sleep on that defense. It was struggled at times last year, but that defense is loaded with talent still. Micah Parsons, we'll get to him. I love Micah Parsons this year. I think he has a huge year. This is kind of him entering his prime of his career. I think the Cowboys are a legit Super Bowl contender this year, as they were last year, in my opinion, leading into the year when we're doing predictions. So 13-4 is my prediction for them. They're the only team making it to the postseason in this division. The Eagles I have going on 9-8. So I'm basically flip flopping. Except you have the Eagles only winning 10. I have the Cowboys winning 13. I have the Eagles going 9-8 and missing the playoffs. I think they're going to be the most overhyped team going into the season and the most biggest letdown as far as like the talent, and because I think a lot of this honestly stems from my disbelief in Jalen Hurts as a true quarterback that can lead a team, especially with now having another offensive coordinator, having to learn a new system, all these things. I understand the talent's there, I get it, but that doesn't always factor into being a team being a guy that can carry a team with a new system and all these things.
Well, that's fair. I get the new system part, but
that defense has been bad.
You would agree though that Jalen has proven himself in this league.
I mean, the Super Bowl season, yeah. I mean, he's put up good numbers. I'm not going to act like
he had one of the greatest Super Bowl performances we've ever seen.
Of course. I'm not going to deny that. I mean, and he had great.
He had
leadership.
Shane Steichen as the OC, though. I would agree. Yeah.
And now So we've seen things kind of dwindle since he's left. So
sure.
I think that definitely plays a factor, man.
Sure.
And
that's fair.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's just one of my hot takes this season heading into the year. One of my hotter takes. We just see things completely opposite at the top of the NFC East. It's interesting. Yeah. I'm ready to be right. So the Eagles going 9-8. I have them missing the playoffs. I think they're going to be a massive letdown. I'm an AJ Brown fanatic. I love that dude. He is everything you want in an elite receiver. So I love Devonta Smith. They just got Jahan Dotson. I mean, Saquon's a beast, but I think he's more.
And they have the tight end back.
I think Saquon's lost a lot of it, if I'm being honest with you, though. But
he looked good last year.
He was just getting fed all the volume. His numbers, his efficiency was bad. But I mean, granted, he was on the Giants, so I get it. Terrible offensive line, terrible quarterback, great coaching, but just a bad situation. I get it. And the rest of this division is just trash. I mean, the Giants and Commanders, I have the Giants above the Commanders. I think Giants, because I believe in the coaching there, right? I believe in Daboll. I think Daboll's a great coach, one of the best coaches in football still. I truly believe that. I think he's incredible. And I think Daniel Jones has a semi-bounce back year this year.
Ooh,
okay. I think so. And I think Malik Neighbors is going to be the offensive rookie of the year. I'm just going to throw that out there already now as a spoiler. But I think Malik Neighbors might have the better career ahead of him than Marvin Harrison Jr.
Sure.
I think he's just as good, if not better, than Marvin Harrison Jr., and I think the guy is an elite talent. So I think that really helps this offense, and I think Daboll is going to coach his ass off this year. Coach his ass off to 5 wins.
It might be coaching for his job. So
yeah. But I think they're only going to win 5 games just because they're so bad, man.
Yeah,
that roster is not good. They are building a solid defense. I'll give them that.
But
this is a tough division. I mean, you're going against the Eagles and Cowboys, 4 total games. That's tough.
Yep.
They have a tough schedule as it is. I mean, facing anybody is really tough for them at this point. I mean, but Daniel Jones, I think, plays fairly well for my fantasy people. I think he's a solid late-round pick, if I'm just going to throw that out there, because of his rushing upside and all that. But I think Malik Neighbors is a game changer. I do, and I think he himself will them to 5 wins. Commanders, I have them one less win, 4-13. This is gonna be a struggle season for them. Like I said, stepping stone, just kind of figuring out what their direction is.
Sure.
That defense is bad still. I don't care how great Quinn is as a coach. I think that defense is bad. They're lacking names. They're lacking talent. Jaden Daniels is insanely good. I love his talent. I love his upside. 1,000 yards rushing last year at LSU. The guy's incredible. But he also did play with 2 of the top tier receivers in this draft this year. So separating him, he does have McLaurin, and that's about it, right? So he's got De'Ami Brown and a couple other guys out there in that offense. There's not much. I do love my guy Brian Robinson Jr.
Yeah, I would say their backfield's good.
I love, and Austin Eckler is the scat back kind of role. I love that, but this defense is going to be just a evolving door. So it's going to be tough for them to actually win a lot of games. They'll be competitive, but they're going to lose a lot of games. So 4-13 from the Commanders.
Real quick, and we'll move on to the next division. Our guy Brent did say that Jalen, I'm talking about Jalen Hurts,
sure,
has yet to have a 4K yard season with all the weapons he has. Okay, that's fair, but guys, we got to remember that the Eagles are a team that runs the ball a lot. Especially over the last couple of years, and Jalen Hurts is the guy that gets about 650 to 800 rushing yards a season too. So he'll throw for 3,700 yards.
There's a lot of interesting stats though that show the skewed numbers with the tush push shit.
No, I do agree. I do. Okay, but those are that's like 1 yard at a time. I'm talking about like when he gets out in open field. Jalen's one of the best running quarterbacks we've ever seen.
He's an incredible
he's
athlete.
Physical, he's a freak. Didn't he squat like 800, 900 pounds or some crazy shit?
Yeah,
it's like some crazy shit, like what offensive linemen squat. So like this dude. I defend Jalen Hurts only because I said I always give guys benefit of the doubt. Remember when I made my rankings, Trevor, and I said like where my quarterback starts because when he's at the biggest stage, what does he do? When Jalen's been in the playoffs more times than not, he's balled.
Sure,
you know what I mean. That's all I'm saying. So
he's an elite competitor.
Yeah,
I'll give him that.
Yes.
But I will die on this hill. I think if you put Justin Fields in that situation from jump, I think he's just as good.
Chill.
Okay, that's all I'm gonna say.
Chill.
He's the better runner, anyways.
Okay, I'll give you that. But chill.
Justin Fields is an incredible athlete, dude.
But Jalen Hurts is such a better quarterback.
And Justin Fields is a better arm.
Jalen Hurts is such a better quarterback. It's not even funny.
That's because he's been in a great situation. Justin Fields has been thrown to the wolves since day one, bro.
I'm not debating that. chill.
All right.
With a CH.
I'm still a believer in Justin Fields, man.
All right, we're moving on because Trev's already pissing me off.
Bringing the hot takes from the jump.
Trev's already pissing me off. All right, here we go. Let's move over to the NFC North, okay? So this is going to be a very fun division this year. Very fun division.
Yeah.
Because I think there are 3 teams that make the playoffs in this division. I think there are 3 teams that would win most divisions in the NFL, at least on the NFC side of things, if they were in those other divisions.
Yeah, this is probably the most stacked talent-wise.
Man.
It's right up there with the best
especially
divisions.
at quarterback. And I'm including J.J. McCarthy even though he's injured. I like J.J. McCarthy.
Receivers, bro.
I like J.J. McCarthy with the Vikings moving forward, but he's injured. Obviously, they got to deal with Sam Darnold's ass for a little bit.
I mean, the receivers in this division are insane.
Yes.
Absolutely insane, bro.
Yeah, and the
Keenan Allen's the worst.
The coaching in this division is stupid.
Ďunze and Keenan Allen are probably the worst receivers.
Oh, and Roma Ďunze's, we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
I still think, though, the class of this NFC North, though, is the Lions. I think they're the most complete team in this division. I think they might be the most complete team in football.
Dan Campbell's the fucking man, too.
Best offensive line in the NFL, top 10 quarterback in Jared Goff.
Yeah.
2 amazing running backs, amazing receivers, good sound defense with and I'll talk about him in a little bit. Aiden Hutchinson.
Incredible backfield.
Who I think Aiden Hutchinson's going to go off this season.
Maybe the best 1-2 punch backfield.
Yeah, I think with all things said and done, by the way, they're facing the AFC South this year. Mm-hmm. Another, I think, really good division this year. I think the Lions, though, they're going to really build up what happened last season.
Yep.
Because they didn't really lose anybody. And in fact, I think they've only solidified more positions. They actually leaned into their offensive line even more.
Sure.
Which solidifies more protection for Jared Goff.
Arguably the best O-line in football, man.
Yeah, I don't see how this team doesn't win 12 games this season. I have the Lions winning 12. I think they win the division at 12-5. The second team was very tough for me, though, because I really, really like both the Packers and Bears. I think both these teams are going to be playoff teams, like I said. But I think based off of I always talk about, Trevor, when you have the same coaching staff, same quarterback, and you have success the year before, I think you build off of it more times than you don't. And I think the Packers are a little bit more ahead of the Bears right now when it comes to just the experience and that knowing what it's like to play in the playoffs and win in the playoffs, the resilience of what they did, the growth that this young offense had last year with the Packers. When Jordan Love clicked, it clicked.
Yeah.
And he looked like the best quarterback in football for like 6 straight weeks.
Yeah.
I think the Packers are going to continue to build off what they did last season. I think that Romeo Doubs and some of these other pieces, Christian Watson, if he can freaking stay healthy, The loss of Aaron Jones does suck, but they did add Josh Jacobs, which was about as good of a replacement as you could find for Aaron Jones. I like their defense, don't love their defense, but I think they've been drafting a lot of guys. They have like 7 or 8 first-round picks on defense, so I think they will develop that, and Matt LaFleur is one of the best head coaches in football. I think Jordan Love is for real. I think he has finally clicked, like I said. I think he finally is that guy.
Sure.
Became one of the highest-paid players of all time. I have the Packers finishing second in this division at 11-6. Like I said, most times that wins your division going 11-6. But they're behind, like I said, a Lions team that's just absolutely stacked. The Bears are going to finish third in this division, but they're still going to make the playoffs. Caleb Williams, I don't think people understand how transcendental his talent is. The Bears are a franchise that has never had anything close to him. And this is the same thing we saw in Kansas City, guys, 6-7 years ago with Patrick Mahomes. We had been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. We knew that once we got our special quarterback here in Kansas City, we were going to take off. That is exactly what's going to happen with the Chicago Bears. And how ironic is it? The guy that's leading the charge is Ryan Poles, who came from Kansas City, who helped develop and get Patrick Mahomes here in Kansas City. Now he's taken over out there. He staked his flag in Chicago, and what do you know? He goes against a guy that is very much comparable to Patrick Mahomes and Caleb Williams. He is going to change the infrastructure of that franchise. This Bears franchise for the next 10 to 15 years are going to have their best seasons they've ever had because of Caleb Williams. I don't know if I love Matt Eberflus as head coach, but I know I love the direction of where this franchise is heading because of that arm that man has. I think they're going to win 10 games this year. They're going to finish third in this division. They're going to squeak into the wild card at the 7th spot. But I think the Bears are going to do just enough to get, because there's some very winnable games on their schedule. And I think if he's playing with, we just talked about Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen, DJ freaking Moore. Montgomery in the back. Who's the running back in the backfield?
We got Swift.
Thank you, DeAndre Swift. Like they got. And a good, sound, young defense.
Khalil Herbert, Roshan Johnson in the backfield. I mean, this roster is loaded.
I'm telling you, dude, this is a team that is bound for the playoffs, in my opinion. They still have some growing pains, though, because like I said, I think the Lions and Packers are a little bit ahead of them.
This division's tough.
The Vikings, I love O'Connell as a head coach. I really believe in what he's doing up there. Unfortunately, though, unlike the other 3 teams in his division, he just doesn't have the quarterback this year. Right. I think J.J. McCarthy could turn into something in that system where he's just a guy that just stays out of the way and makes plays here and there. I think Joe Burrow and J.J. McCarthy have a lot of similarities. I know people say that's nuts. Go watch them play. It's very eerily similar how they play. And I think J.J. McCarthy with Justin Jefferson over the next 5 to 10 years is going to be deadly. But it's not this year. And the Vikings are really struggling to score on offense this year. It's going to be a frustrating year for Justin Jefferson, but because of the fact he got that big contract, I think he get overlooked this year at 24, 25 years old. I think the Vikings are going to really struggle. I think they're going to go 5-12 to finish the bottom out that NFC North. What do you got, Trev?
I also have 3 teams making out this division. This division is incredible. So much young talent in this division. I do have the Lions winning this division. Also going 12-5. I think they're the pinnacle of this division. I think they're the team to beat in this division. I think they're the one that everyone is chasing in this division, and possibly the NFC. I mean, they're such a loaded team from top to bottom. Amon-Ra is one of my favorite young receivers, been for years now. Love that kid. Sam Laporta might be taking over the future of the tight end position. The guy's had an incredible, one of the best rookie tight end seasons ever. So a lot of promising things. Jahmyr Gibbs is incredible. They got so much talent, young talent on that team. So I think it's 12-5 sounds like a great number for them. This is a tough division game. They'll probably tough division to win every game in. So I think they're going to compete with each other along with the Packers, Vikings, and Bears. I think these guys are going to kind of really compete with each other week in, week out when they have their divisional games. So 12-5 works for me. I like the Lions winning this division. Second, I do have the Packers going 11-6, just a game behind them. I like the Packers a lot. I think this is the best young wide receiver room in the league. Like they proved that last year. They had several rookies out there playing like veterans, and Jordan Love, once he found his stride, was arguably the best quarterback in football the last 6 weeks of the season. So that was fun to watch. Ate some words because I wasn't really a Jordan believer, so I kind of put my foot in my mouth a little bit when I said that I didn't think he was going to be that guy. He's looking to be that guy. He got paid like that guy for sure. So we'll see. This year is a big year for him to kind of take that rhythm that he had into the year with after beating, going into Dallas and beating the Cowboys in the playoffs is about as big as a start to his real career getting going as you can get. So that's a massive win there. So him building on that now, knowing that pressure is on him to kind of continue that success. That's where, you can kind of make or break a guy mentally. So I really want to see what he's made of internally. But I do like the talent. I think he's got it. This is where it gets different for me.
Ooh.
Are you ready for Sam Darnold to be in the playoffs?
Oh, no.
Because I am. I had the Vikings actually third in this division, going 10-7.
Oh.
Over the Bears. I had the Bears going 7-10. I think the Bears are only going to win one divisional game in this division.
Oh.
I think coaching and experience over Eberflus, and I think situational football is going to lose the Bears a lot of games. I know the talent's there. I'm not going to debate that. That's not a question. But similar to the Eagles, there's always been situational issues with them and certain breakdowns in communication between the quarterback and the coach, or this or that, or something in the locker room. Yeah, egos. Who knows? I feel like something is going to go a little awry for a little bit there, and things just aren't going to work out situationally. It's going to cost them a lot of games. They're going to be competitive as hell, 100%. But I think this division, I trust the coaching of O'Connell. I think he's one of the best offensive minds in football, and it has not yet mattered what quarterback is out there playing for him. He's found success in everybody. And I think Darnold has upside as far as arm strength, arm talent. Listen, this isn't really about Darnold. I just want to throw that out there because it sounded funny to say playoff Darnold. And it's gonna be ridiculous if it happens. If I'm right on this, my God, that'd be hilarious. Might put some money on it just for fun. But Justin Jefferson is the best receiver in football, in my personal opinion, when healthy. I don't think there's anybody better than him, especially getting separation. He is the best at getting separation and making it easy on his quarterbacks just to find him. And I think that's what he's going to do. I know this team doesn't look like it from talent's perspective. I think they picked up some great defensive players. They drafted really well. So we'll see how those guys kind of get into the system and all that. But I think this defense is a work in progress. But I think they could come along as the season progresses. And I trust O'Connell as a head coach, man. He's a great situational football coach. He's gotten the most out of every quarterback, similar to like a Shanahan or an Andy Reid kind of player, Sean McVay. He'll get the most out of all those guys. And he's in that same vein. So I look at him with a lot of respect, and I give him that respect to not let a Caleb Williams being who he is, but not let a rookie quarterback and a lot of new guys, a new regime come in there and take over his spot. I think he's going to have some respect heading into this season, proving who he is as a head coach. And I like them to make the playoffs over the Bears, 10-7, while the Bears go 7-10.
If you guys know anybody that does drug testing, let us know. Email me. I will forward it to Trevor, and then we'll see what exactly he's on.
All right.
But we'll go from there at another time. But yeah, I just wanted to pass that along. I want to be a helping hand. You know what I mean? That's what I want to be. So
we'll revisit this.
Oh, we will. We will.
Yeah. I know some people have the Bears in the Super Bowl. That's fucking insane.
Our guy
That's
Nick
fucking
right
insane.
Yeah, like I feel like I'm in the middle between Trev and
I'm
Nick.
like the opposite of that.
Yeah, I feel like I'm like torn it. Like there's like I'm seeing two extremes here. Like some people just are not on the Bears, and some people are got in the fucking Super Bowl. Like our guy Nick right. I don't know what Nick's thinking. I love you, Nick, but dude, stop.
Come on.
Yeah.
Just make him the MVP too. What are we doing? Just Caleb Williams MVP? Might as well. Shit.
Let's go to a far less interesting division. Maybe the least interesting division in the NFL, in my opinion, the NFC South. Who will be facing the AFC West this year? Two really bad divisions going at it. I'm not going to be surprising on this one either. I'm very so far. I think I've been pretty chalk so far, Trevor, if I'm not mistaken. I've been going with a lot of the favorites. That's very much staying close to. I'm sticking to that in this one, dude. There's no question about it. The Falcons are all in. They've made moves all offseason and have shown me this team is ready to win. Arthur Blank is sick and tired of the mediocrity. He wants to get back to the Super Bowl. He wants to get himself a chance to see his team lift a Lombardi. And I think he's doing everything in his power to make that happen. I loved the Kirk Cousins signing. I hated that he had to get injured the way he did, and especially the late stages of his career. But I think Kirk's still got plenty of football in him if they could keep him upright. I like the Falcons' offense. I love their weapons. I'm a humongous Bijan Robinson fan. I have big beliefs in Bijan this season. I think Drake London's a stud. They got some really Kyle Pitts playing for his next contract, so he'll probably have a big year, especially with the tight end position being somewhere that Kirk Cousins loves to throw the ball. The defense is going to be a little bit of a mystery. I know they got names, but are they going to grow from where they were last season? All I know is I love their head coach and Raheem Morris. It's his second time around as a head coach. Yep. I think he's grown significantly working with Sean McVay over the last few years. I think he's developed his craft a little bit better. He was only, 34, 35 when he was a head coach, I think, with the Buccaneers several years ago. It's been about a decade now. Now he's in his mid-40s. I think he's a little more seasoned. I think Raheem Morris is ready for this challenge. And they got a great backup, in my opinion, in Michael Penix. If Cousins was to go down, he's a prepared young rookie, but I think he's about as prepared as a rookie could get, especially from an age and experience and the playing experience, knowing that in Washington he played a lot and he overcame a lot there as well.
Yep.
I don't think there's any question about it. The Falcons are going to be one of the better teams in the NFC this year. They have a very easy schedule, a very winnable division, and because of that, I have them finishing 11-6 and winning at the top of this division rather comfortably. I love the Baker Mayfield resurgence. I think they have a plenty of talent on the offensive side from top to bottom. The defense, though, is where I'm going to have a problem with the Bucs this year. And I know that Todd Bowles is a defensive-minded head coach. Their defense is very, very old, and they've lost a lot of players over this last year. And I think that's actually going to be their detriment this year. I think Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Rachaad White, they're going to have a really good year. I think they're going to be a scoring offense. They're going to score 25-plus a game. But I just don't think they're going to have enough defense to stop a lot of the offense they have to face this year. A lot of tough offenses they have to face this year. So I think they're going to be one of those teams, Trevor, that like wins 2 games in a row, then loses 2 in a row, wins 1, loses 1, loses 2, wins 1, like kind of up and down all year long. They're never bad, but they're just, consistently right in the middle.
Sure.
And I think the Buccaneers are going to be a 9-8 team this year. I almost had them with a losing record, but I gave them a benefit of the doubt. But I really do think Baker Mayfield's found something, and I think he's hitting his prime years. And he's got some really, really good weapons there in Tampa. And I like their offense. I just don't believe in their defense this year. I think that Todd Bowles is going to really have to be scratching and clawing to make something out of that defense. They're just really old, and hopefully because I could see the Bucs squeaking into the playoffs. I can see them doing it. I just don't know if they'll have enough defense. The Saints are one of those teams I think is in turmoil, and I think Dennis Allen's going to get probably fired in the middle of the year. I think that Derek Carr.
Can't stand that guy.
Yeah, man. Derek Carr. That was such a bad signing. Now that we look back at it, I thought that was going to be a decent one with the veterans they had around him.
Taysom Hill always getting less snap.
Yeah,
situational football.
The Saints are one of those teams that have just been dying slowly for like the last 5 years. And I think they're finally on their deathbed.
They need a clean slate.
Yeah, I do think their record's going to look a little better than what they actually are, because they're a respectable franchise. They'll fight.
Franchise.
Yeah, they'll fight.
Legendary.
Yeah. They'll fight. They'll fight. They're not going to be a terrible team.
Yeah.
But I think this is the end of the road where it's like, okay, they got to totally rehaul this entire thing. Let's go get some hot shot college head coach. Let's start this thing over. This will be the final year. I have the Saints finishing third, 7-10. They'll be a battler, but like I said, Derek Carr's. I don't believe in him at all in this offense. Chris Olave is going to be demanding money out the ass after this year. There's a lot of moving parts. And I'm going to keep this one brief. The Panthers are still the worst team in the NFC. I never believed in Bryce Young. I think he's a terrible quarterback. He's undersized. He's smaller than I am. And I just don't believe that it's ever going to change. I don't care what their coach is now.
He's
5'10". He's small. He's a small little quarter. He weighs like 165 pounds.
He's an inch shorter than Russ. Russ is.
But he's so little. Russ is like 240 pounds.
No.
Russ is a big dude.
He's like 205.
No way. Look it up. Russell's at least 225. Yeah. He's a big quarterback.
He's not that much smaller than Russell Wilson is.
You saw from the beginning last season that there's something not there with Bryce Young. I don't believe in the kid. I know they went and got Deontay Johnson. I know they went and signed some guys. I understand it. I don't believe in this franchise at all, dude.
Xavier Legette, yeah.
Yeah, I love Xavier Legette. Yeah. Like I said, Bryce Young, you don't see the progression. He was just, all right, Thielen, sack. Thielen, sack. I don't think he's going to turn into something in this. I think the small guys, a lot of times, are always up against the gun. And I think that unless you're Kyler Murray, just has freak talent, you're not going to really have a good career in this league, dude. And it's been proven time and time again. And Bryce Young does not have freakish ability, freakish talent, and I think it's going to be more of the same. I have the Panthers at 3-14 again. So that's my NFC South.
Gotcha. I mean, I have one team making it out of this division in the playoffs, and it is the Falcons. I think that's a loaded team with a veteran quarterback. That's always a great situation most of the time, I believe, when you're kind of just missing that quarterback. And Kirk Cousins is about as steady Eddie as you can get at quarterback. One of the most accurate quarterbacks of his time since he's been in the league. He's always one of the most accurate quarterbacks, always up there, 4,000 plus yards, 25-ish touchdowns to 30 touchdowns. The guy's always as consistent as you get, man. Granted, he's always played with mostly decent talent, and I think he's coming into maybe the best situation of his life. Granted, I know Justin Jefferson's going to be the best player he's ever played with, but totality, roster, top to bottom, I mean, this defense and this offense is just names. No excuse for this team to lose. No excuse for this team to go under double-digit wins. I have them going at 10-7. They should easily win this division. They should easily make the playoffs and be a contender. They should, on paper. My number 2 team is the Panthers. I have the Panthers winning 9 games this year. I don't know if you know, they didn't just draft great. That defense has been good. That defense was really good last year. The offense was horrible, and I'm not putting it all on Bryce Young. I think Bryce Young's talent is superior to Baker Mayfield. He's got far more talent than Baker Mayfield, in my opinion. Baker Mayfield's a gamer, not a great quarterback, not the most talented guy, but he's a gamer. He's going to hang in there. He's going to will his way to wins. But I think this is going to be the best comeback team of the year right here, from going from worst to, competitive. 9 wins. And the biggest reason for that is Dave Canales, the guy that did turn around the Seahawks with Geno Smith, the team that you loved that year, that turned that offense around, had an incredible year, and just did it last year with Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers, and they won the division. And they gave Baker Mayfield maybe his best season of his career. And now you put that same offensive coordinator with a more talented quarterback than both of those guys, and Bryce Young, in my opinion. A Heisman-winning quarterback, had a really rough situation last year. Head coach got fired. This is a dumpster fire from the jump. It was not all his fault. Did he make mistakes? Of course he did, but he was put in a terrible situation, man. Now he's got, he's got a lot of talent. They drafted great. That defense is still very good, in my opinion. I think might be the best defense in this division. Unless the Falcons, really kind of become that defense. They have the names, but we got to see it first. Listen, I could definitely be wrong on this, and I'll wear that. That's fine. But I think this team is going to be competitive this year. I think Canales is going to bring this offense back to life. I think they got a lot of talent. I think Deontay Johnson is a great acquisition. I think Leggett is one of the best receivers in this class, and he's a big body guy. So they have weapons on this offense, and I think that once this offense really gets it going and they kind of play to their pace, and that defense does what they do, I think that defense is good. So I think they can build around this team, and I think this division, these 2 bottom teams, I think they're gonna struggle, and I think they're gonna get some wins in this division. I think they're gonna be competitive this year, and I still believe in Bryce Young as a potential middling quarterback in the NFL. I think he could be that. I think he's a very accurate, one of the most accurate quarterbacks. Was the most accurate quarterback in his class when he got drafted. So I still believe he can do those things. I have them going 9-8. Buccaneers, I have them going 6-11. You got aging wide receiver 1. I love Chris Godwin. They're talking about putting him back in the slot. I think they're going to be competitive. They'll be fun. Baker's always fun. I just don't think it's going to translate to a lot of wins. They had their high last year. They won the division. I just don't think I just think certain things fall apart. I think there's going to be some injuries. I think there's guys on that defense getting older. I don't believe in their defense also. I think things are just going to be it's going to be a downhill slope pretty quickly in this offense and this team in general. So I just don't believe in them this year. And the Saints, I have them going 4-13. It's a dumpster fire over there. I love Alvin Kamara. I love certain pieces in that offense. Obviously, you got guys over there that are elite talent at what they do. But Derek Carr is just so quarterback at this point. Losing snaps to Taysom Hill. Coaching is awful. I don't believe in anything. So I have 4-13 for the Saints there.
I will not lie to you. I think your 9-win Panthers prediction is the hottest take I have heard so far. All right. And I'm saying that in a very respectable
winning
manner.
record.
Dude, we're gonna have to check our DNA and make sure we're brothers, because I don't think my balls are nearly as big as yours. That's pretty. I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, completely disagree, but I like it.
I like that you disagree with it.
About headbutted this wall over here when you said it. So, wow. Okay, so we're going to go to the NFC West, which I have been looking forward to talking about so much today.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
Very much excited about this division.
Can't wait to be extremely different on you on this one as well.
We might not be. I'm just saying.
Knowing you, we're probably going to be pretty close on this one.
We might be close on this one, because I'm very big on a team this year that I think overachieved a little bit last season with a very young roster.
Okay.
With a veteran quarterback, with, in my opinion, the second best coach in the NFL. I think this team is on the rise. Yeah. Even though they lost arguably the greatest interior defensive lineman of all time, I think this is going to prove to the NFL and prove to the watchers of the NFL that it is a plug-and-play sport when you do it the right way. When you have the great stability at head coach and quarterback, and you have a team that can draft the way this team can draft when they use their draft picks. I am so big on the Rams this year. I think that Matt Stafford is going to be healthy. I think Matt Stafford is going to be an MVP candidate this year because of the fact he's got not 1, but 2 of the 10, 12 best wide receivers in the NFL right now. and Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. Trev, you and I did talk off camera about a week ago, and I considered Puka to be like the new wide receiver one of this team. Like, he took the helm.
Yeah.
But you're right. If Cooper does stay healthy,
he's been healthy all offseason.
He's going to have a 1,400-yard season. Cooper Kupp.
They're two totally different guys, do different things.
He's so damn good. He's so
good.
He's so heady. Like, the dude knows. Like, him and Travis Kelce are very similar in the fact that they can break defenses down as like a quarterback, but from the slot.
Still one of the best route runners in football.
It's unreal. If Coop stays healthy this year, he's gonna have another season similar to what he had when they won the Super Bowl. I'm not kidding. I'm not saying he's going to win the Triple Crown. He will not do it.
Yeah.
But he's going to have another 114 catches for 1,300 yards and 9 touchdowns. I'm serious. Because him and Puka Nacua are going to be a deadly duo this year.
Yeah.
Puka, I don't know how that dude fell to the 5th round. We're going to be talking about that for all of eternity when he makes the Hall of Fame one day. This dude is nasty great. And Kyren Williams might be the most unsung hero in the entire NFL. Is it Kyren or Kieran? Kyren Williams, their running back, came out of freaking nowhere.
Undersized guy, too.
And he's such a baller.
Just a tank.
And now, Trevor, you know what's been missing the whole time from the Rams? Replacing Andrew Whitworth, getting that offensive line back together.
Yep.
They did that.
Protecting Stafford.
They lost Aaron Donald, but guess what they've been doing? Drafting the living hell out of defense. Now that defense is young, inspired, excited. They're all cylinders, dude. I think this Rams team has a chance to be the best team in the NFL this year. Mm-hmm. And they take the top seed in the AFC in the NFC for me. They have the same record as the Lions.
Don't forget that they drafted Blake Corum too.
Exactly.
From Michigan.
That dude,
to back up Kyren Williams.
That physical style.
So Kyren Williams gets hurt. Blake Corum, dude, is a fucking dog.
What I love about this is, hear me out. This is how the Rams are going to win the 1 seed. So they have the exact same record. I have them at 12-5.
Okay.
Topping off the NFC West. Same record as the Lions. The reason why the Rams get the top seed is because in week 1, they upset the Lions. And I have the Rams beating them. So that is going to be they're going to have the same record, but they have that tiebreaker, and they finish at the top of the NFC West, 12-5. Look, there is no debating about it. The 49ers are a team to be wrecked with. They are one of the most, for the last 5-6 years, they've been one of the best teams in the NFL without question. They've been in the Super Bowl, 2 times, been in the NFC Championship 4 times. Mm-hmm. Kyle Shanahan is one of the 5 best coaches in the NFL. They are stacked top to bottom. But now you're starting to see the tearing of the threads. You're starting to see this team slowly become that team where it's like, man, remember they had that chance? Remember they had that shot? Oh, damn, that was like 2 years ago, man. Now it feels like an eternity ago.
Apparently they needed left tackle, too.
Well, that's the whole problem, Trevor. Yeah. Their best player is nowhere near to return. Trent Williams, although is old, is still the best left tackle in football.
Oh, we've seen the splits for Brock Purdy when Trent Williams is in and out of lineup. Yeah,
we saw this whole
drastic.
This whole waste of time drama shit with Brandon Ayuk, who ended up just staying, and they ended up paying him buku dollars anyway when they could have just done that. Yeah. I don't know what the hell they were waiting on. It was so stupid.
The contract isn't even like outrageous either. It's handsome. It's a handsome one.
That's all he wanted.
Yeah, he's a great receiver.
He never asked to be the top paid wide receiver, but he now is like the 4th, I think.
Yeah.
What were they doing?
He could be holding out, with 2 years left on his contract. We could be doing that.
Ryan Jamar Chase.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
This Niners team is too talented to not make the playoffs. I think they're too talented, if healthy, obviously.
Of course.
And I do expect at some point Trent Williams will return.
Yeah.
But it's, again, remember I talked about the vibes?
My boy Debo's going to ball this year, I think.
Remember I was talking about the Cowboys, like with vibes? Like teams, when they come into seasons with bad vibes, a lot of times it just kind of rides through the whole season. There's a lot of attitude. And you feel like that turmoil because there's this built-in anticipation or anxiety of, man, we should have already won a Super Bowl. Like, I truly believe the 49ers know they should have won at least one of these Super Bowls. They squandered both of these Super Bowls.
Yeah, man.
They had a legit shot both times, and Patrick Mahomes just ripped their hearts out of their ass. So there's going to be
Look at the Bills.
I think there's going to be starting to be some of this building turmoil in this team, and Trent Williams is pissed. He has no guaranteed dollars on his contract right now. He's not even asking for more money. He just wants his money to turn into guaranteed dollars.
Yeah, restructure it to where it's
what the hell are you waiting on? Like, what? Do it. Like, what?
Secure the old man.
What the hell are you doing? This man is literally your lifeblood.
Yeah.
He is the reason you guys either make the playoffs or don't make the playoffs. Because I'm telling you right now, Trent Williams doesn't play this season, they're not making the playoffs.
No. Well, yeah.
They're not making the playoffs.
I agree.
Trent Williams is too important. Too important. He may be the greatest left tackle we've ever seen. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic here. Even at 36 years old, you got to have him on that offensive line, dude. You have to. Brock Purdy cannot live without that dude. So if they had a better quarterback, If they had a C.J. Stroud or something like that, they could survive. They could survive with that talent. But Brock Purdy can't do it, man.
Especially him being another undersized quarterback.
And that's the other problem.
I think he's barely 6 foot.
And Brock Purdy now is going to finally have to play under pressure.
Yeah.
Because now Brock Purdy's not just playing to win, he's trying to make money.
Yeah.
Now Brock Purdy, if he has another baller season, he's going to make $35 to $45 million a year.
Yeah,
Think about how insane that is.
They're going to pay him probably, too.
And they might have to pay him. Yes, and that is going to be the official end of the 49ers. So to me, there's so much pressure and calamity that's just coming over that franchise, even with all the talent. I think
it's bad vibes, man.
Yes, they will make the playoffs. I have them at 10-7, a wild card team.
Okay.
But they're going to lose some very frustrating games this year where they don't look like they have it anymore. Where they look like, damn, they really didn't miss their mark. They had their shot and it's over now. They're still a good team, but it's over. So not to just heap on the 49ers, guys, but I think that they're at the end. I mean, if you look at the majority of their franchise outside of like Nick Bosa and a couple other guys like Brandon Ayuk, a lot of their best players are in their 30s or about to get in their 30s. So have it as
still very much
guys.
In their prime right now.
Well, yes, Fred Warner's still a great player, but guys, Fred Warner's a middle linebacker. No offense.
And it's got Kuminga back. Yeah, that guy is a freak.
See, that's the thing about the Niners, though. Yeah. A lot of their best players are at positions that are kind of replaceable. Like Fred Warner, middle linebacker. How do you say his name?
Kuminga.
Free safety.
Yeah, forget that.
Free safety, strong safety guy. Like, you can replace those guys.
Very versatile, though.
They still went to the Super Bowl without him. You know what I mean? Like, that's my point. It's like, Trent Williams is like irreplaceable, but he's 36, 37 years old. He's going to be gone soon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, a lot of their players are guys that you can just kind of, and then you're going to end up paying this quarterback who's not worth anything close to it. And you're going to find out one day when he has to be the guy to carry your team. You're going to see it, and you're going to laugh yourself out of the freaking office. But the point is, like I said, this is that year where it finally starts to hit, and then the next year, if they don't change things up, you're going to see the Niners miss the playoffs, and then maybe Kyle Shanahan goes and coaches somewhere else. My third place team is a team I believed in a lot last year. I like what they did at head coach. I hated seeing Pete Carroll leave, but I think McDonald is going to be one hell of a head coach. This dude knows defense like a motherfucker. I think he's going to develop that defense up there in Seattle, and it's going to be a very good, sound defense very early this year. I think they're going to have a good team. It's surprising. One of those teams that kind of plays spoiler as the year goes on.
I think DK is going to go off this year.
Yeah, thank you. I was literally about to say that. Him, JSN, and Tyler Lockett in that offense. I really like what Geno's going to do this year. I think Geno's fighting for his career after this one. But I do think they're going to be one of those teams, though, that loses some frustrating games.
It's going to be fun to watch.
Yes.
But they're going to lose, yeah.
I have the Seahawks at 7-10. I think that they're a team that, like I said, should win more games. Like when you look back, you're going, man, they should have won more games. But they're just going to have some frustrating growing pains with the newness. Because, like I said, it's been Pete Carroll's show for so long.
Yeah. Now
there's that changing of the guard. I think it's going to be a year before they really become that team. And I do believe that McDonald's going to turn that team around. They're going to become a playoff team for a long time. But it's going to just take a year. And then the Cardinals, look, I was never the biggest Gannon guy. I'm still not. I liked what that team fought for him last year. I will give him that. But I think that they're inept at so many positions right now. I do like Kyler. I don't love Kyler. I don't think he's a leader. I don't think he's a guy that you can win with. I think he's fun. He's talented as hell. Yep. They got Marvin Harrison Jr., obviously. They got McBride.
Trey
freaking McBride. Like, they got some fun players. This is going to be like one of those fun teams, but they're not going to win a lot of games this year.
That defense is so bad.
Yes. Like,
bad.
They're so horrible, dude. Like, I think they're going to have maybe the worst defense in football this year.
For fantasy purposes, stack this offense, though.
Yes.
This offense is going to be throwing like crazy.
Oh, dude.
This offense is going to be so fun.
Kyler's going to throw for like 4,600 yards.
James Conner, all these guys, they're going to eat.
Yes.
They're going to eat, dude.
Their games are going to be like 38-31
Yeah, they're
going
to be playing from behind every week. Their defense is maybe the worst defense
Marvin Harrison's
going
to have borderline Rookie of the Year numbers.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys right now, this is going to be one of those teams that like literally puts up 30 every night, but gives up 40 every night.
Yep.
Cardinals are going to go 5-12 this year. Like I said, there's going to be another one of those teams that has a top 5 pick, and they're going to continue to rebuild under Gannon's leadership. What are you looking at?
This division is going to be fun to watch, man. I'm excited to watch these matchups because they're typically good, and even no matter how, it's kind of like the AFC West sometimes. Obviously, it's been dominated the last few seasons, but it used to be, no matter how good or bad one of the teams were, there was always competitive. But I'm right there with you, man. I'm in on the Rams this year. I am. I'm in on Stafford. I think Stafford's have an incredible year. Puka is dealing with some injury stuff leading into the season, but I think he's going to be fine. Kyron's fine. And I think this is a resurgence year for a 31-year-old Cooper Kupp. I really like him this year. The Rams, I have them going 12-5 and winning the NFC as well.
Nice.
Because of the or winning the second seed, honestly, because I have the Cowboys winning 13 games, but winning that spot over the Lions because of that tiebreaker as well. I had them upsetting them week 1 as well. So I'm right there with you, lock and step, man. I love the Rams this year. I love McVay is, outside of Andy Reid, my favorite coach in football. Fucking love that guy. I love his passion for the game. I love his ability to get the best out of guys. Just a mastermind when it comes to offensive. Just getting the best out of his guys and identifying the talent of each guy. I mean, look what he's done with Demarcus Robinson last year.
Right.
Made Demarcus Robinson a legitimate wide receiver 3. Scored several touchdowns last year in his system. So I mean, look, if that guy can do that with him, like I got nothing but respect. So. Yeah, I love the Rams. I have them going 12-5 this year. I think they're the class of this division this season. And I do have the Niners 10-7 as well. I have them in second place. Still love this team. I think Debo is going to be an absolute baller this year. All the reports coming out are that he's like the leanest he's been, looks most ready to go. He's one of my favorite fantasy players this year. I think Debo's going to have one of those years. If he can stay healthy, that's the only real question with him. The talent's never been a question. But, yeah, I love this team, man. Like, no bad blood. Like, you got to respect great teams and great coaches. So I have nothing but love for this team when it comes down to the brass tacks and the bare bones of the game. This is one of the most respectable franchises in the entire history of this game. And I have nothing but respect for Kyle Shanahan, what he does. He's just been outmatched by greater coaches in certain situations, right? Or greater players than Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. It is what it is. Outside of that, this guy would have multiple rings, man. Like, think about that. So you just need to, show respect to when it's due. And this team is loaded. This team has been great. I expect them to be really good this year, but I think they do fall a little more flat. And they have because we've seen even last year they had lulls where they lost several games in a row, right? So I think that's going to carry on through the season. I think they're going to have a couple lulls through the year where they lose, back-to-back games, 2-3 games in a row or something like that. But yeah, I like them at 10-7. Next team, I do have the Seahawks. Not big on them as a team, to be honest. There's a lot of changes on that team. New, coaches and schemes and OCs and all these things. So I just think there's a lot of change coming there. And I'm not a Geno guy, to be honest with you. I like him. He's a good dude. I love his story. I think he's good enough quarterback, but I don't believe him as like a leader of a team that's going to lead. Like, oh my God, you see what Geno's doing with this team? He's turning it around. No, I just don't. He's going to be good, but I just don't think he's that guy. 7-10 for the Seahawks. And then the Cardinals, we just talked about, they're going to be fun. This is going to be fantasy goodness all over this team. So many good young players. Trey McBride is probably my favorite young tight end in the league right now, upcoming. Out behind, Travis Kelce, maybe to be that tight end one in the league. I think he's that great. So love them, but I'm giving them 6 wins. I know you give them 5. I'm giving them 6-11. But yeah, the Rams and the Niners only team making out of this division to the playoffs.
So my NFC playoff picture from top to bottom goes Rams, Lions, Falcons, Eagles, Packers, 49ers, Bears. What is yours looking like?
So you had the Cowboys missing the
left.
Yes, I do. That's crazy. Mine's Cowboys, Lions, Rams, Falcons, 49ers, Packers, Vikings.
Oh, man.
Let's go.
And the fact that you have the Panthers like one game off from making the playoffs.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
They're going to be competitive, man. I'm telling you right now.
All right, it is time for the AFC side of things. I know that's what you guys have been waiting on, but we wanted to get you guys warmed up, a little bit of an appetizer, if you will, on the NFC side of things. Let's start right back where we started on the NFC side, Trevor. Let's start with the AFC East. They will be facing the NFC West this year, so it's going to be a little bit of a deep schedule for all 4 of these teams on the AFC East side of things.
It's going to be fun.
I think this is one of the more volatile divisions in the NFL again. And I think it's going to be one of the most shocking divisions in the NFL.
Oh, great.
I told Trevor last night, I didn't tell him anything about my predictions, but I told him that originally I had one team coming out of this division to the playoffs. I have since changed that. I now have 2. I said last season that if Aaron Rodgers is in any way, shape, or form healthy and committed to the Jets organization, that this team is going to be a playoff team. 4 snaps in, it looked like Aaron Rodgers was ready. He had the game face. It looked like he was ready to go. And we all know what happened. Tore his Achilles, season over for him, season over for the Jets. There's no salvaging that. Yet the Jets still went 7-10 with by far the worst quarterback situation in the league for the second straight year. And yet they were still able to beat the Bills. They were still able to almost beat the Chiefs on a primetime game, I might add. They hung tough with everybody. I know this team gets a lot of criticism, and it's deservingly so, because Aaron Rodgers himself makes some really foolish decisions and says some really stupid shit. And oftentimes comes off very arrogant and problematic and egotistical and just a guy that just sometimes just might be a little out of touch. But there's one thing that I always give Aaron Rodgers, and that's the fact that when he's on that football field, he's one of the greatest things I've ever seen at the quarterback position.
Yep.
He is one of the most talented throwers of a football there's ever been. And I think he knows that he's only got 1 to 2, 3 at most, if he's lucky, shots to get another Lombardi trophy. And how would you know it? Aaron Rodgers has one of the most stacked, most talented rosters in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers is healthy. This roster's stacked. Robert Saleh is coaching for his life, his career, which is why I have the Jets winning the AFC East at 12-5. I think this is going to go right as right as it went wrong last season. Yes, Aaron is 40. Aaron's coming off a traumatic leg injury. I'm not expecting Aaron Rodgers to play like MVP Rodgers. I don't think he's having a 4,400-yard, 32 touchdown, 7 interception type of season. I'm expecting Aaron Rodgers to simply be better than Zach Wilson. And if he's better than Zach Wilson, they're going to win 3 to 5 more games than they won a season ago with almost the exact same roster. And I'm expecting this roster to be better than last year's. Quinnen Williams, Sauce Gardner, guys like that are starting to come into their primes. Garrett Wilson, a 1,000-yard receiver with Zach Wilson, is coming into his prime. Breece Hall is now 2 years removed from an ACL injury. This offensive line is significantly better than it was a year ago and the year before that. And again, the desperation of this team knowing they got one last shot at this. If they fail this year, it's getting blown up. And I think that Aaron Rodgers knows that. And again, I'm not expecting him to have an all-pro type of season. I'm expecting him to throw 3,800 yards, 28, between 24 to 27 touchdowns, 9 to 15 picks. But that is all they need from their quarterback position. That is all they need. If they just have a guy capable of playing non-stupid football and can get them some big plays here and there, this is going to be a team to be reckoned with. This Jets team is too damn good, and I'm expecting them to finally take shape the way they were supposed to last season. Again, Jets 12-5, top of the AFC East. And this is where it gets crazy, because there's teams on this division that have a lot of weaknesses, and the Dolphins are a team that have a ton of weaknesses. They're a team that might have a terrible defense this year, legitimately. They're also a team that once the weather goes under like 65, they shit their pants.
Yep.
And Tua Tagovailoa just can play. You can't tell if he's left-handed or right-handed. You don't know what he can throw with. But you know what the beautiful thing about the Dolphins' schedule this year is? And their final 9 games, they only play 3 games in the cold. They have a lot of warm weather games this year. And you know the other thing about the Dolphins that we have to acknowledge, that I think everybody already knows, but I'm going to say it anyway. They have one of the most talented offenses in the NFL, led by Josh McDaniel.
The most dynamic.
Mike McDaniel.
The most dynamic offense for sure.
I mean, from top to bottom, you look at this offense, they have 7, 8 skill position players that are unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, and Devin Achane on any other team would be like the second best player. He's like the 5th on this team.
I mean, they have the other running back, Mostert, led the league in rushing touchdowns last year. So, I mean, and then you had Tyreek Hill.
20 rushing touchdowns last year?
Yeah. Then you had Tyreek Hill doing what he did last year.
Jalen Waddle. Like,
crazy, man.
This offense is too damn good.
And they just signed Jonnu Smith, too.
When I said earlier, Trevor, about like how some of these offenses are going to be too damn good to not make the playoffs.
Yeah.
That is what I see with this Dolphins team.
Yeah.
Tua just got paid. I think that Tua is one of those guys, Trevor, that I think when he's not confident, he doesn't get resilient and fight back. I think he's one of those guys that when he finally has his confidence, that's when he plays at his best. Like, it's kind of like an instilled confidence. Now that he knows that the Dolphins are all in on him, that's when he's going to play loose and relaxed. That's when a lot of quarterbacks are like that, unfortunately, where, the team believes in me. All right, sweet. Now I'm going to go out there and play relaxed. I think we're seeing the best version of Tua Tagovailoa this year. Because, again, They're playing a lot of warm weather games this year. They're facing the NFC West, which means they're playing on the West Coast late in the season. It's going to be warm games, dome games. Like, they're going to have a lot of opportunities to outmarch a lot of the teams they're facing playing in warmer weather. And I think they're going to capitalize on that, which is why I have the Dolphins making the playoffs as well in the wild card at 10-7.
I like it.
I think Josh Allen is the second best quarterback in the NFL. I think that Josh Allen has shown that when given the opportunity, more times than not, he's going to come up. He's going to come up big. And this is coming from the guy that criticizes Josh Allen more than anybody. Because to also Josh Allen's regard, since 2018, no one has more turnovers than he does. No one has more interceptions than Josh Allen does. So he's a boomer bust type of quarterback. But Josh Allen is so fucking talented. He is so great with his legs. He is such an incredible thrower of the football. One of the best we've ever seen. Literally, he has the arm of Dan Marino. Like, it's unbelievable what Josh Allen can do with the football. He's so much fun to watch. But we've seen Josh Allen get away with it because he's had the top-ranked defense or a top-ranked defense for the majority of his career. He's had Stephon Diggs for the last 4 seasons. Neither one of those is the case anymore. Now you can say, well, Josh Allen's grown since then. Do we really believe that Josh Allen's going to keep his turnovers down? Do we really believe that Josh Allen is going to turn a new leaf where all of a sudden he's throwing 9-10 picks as opposed to 15-20? I don't. I think this is just who Josh Allen is. He's a Brett Favre type of player where you're just going to have those horrific what the fuck type of turnovers. It's just what he does. And I think that we're seeing now, Trevor, this team realizing that they had their shot. It's a lot like the 49ers. It's a lot like the Cowboys, where you've had these 3-4 year windows where it's like, God damn it, we had our chance. We had our complete team. And now that turmoil and that anxiety starts to build up. And I think that's what pushed Stephon Diggs out the door. I think 𝚂𝙿𝙾𝙺 is a very talented young receiver, but he's still a rookie. I think Dalton Kincaid has a lot of potential. I think that Knox, awesome, reliable tight end.
You got Khalil Shakir.
What's
his name? Samuels.
They have Curtis Samuels.
Curtis Samuels,
They have decent players. But this is a shell of what the Bills once were. Go look at the veteran players they just had on the defensive side last year as opposed to this year. They've lost half their defense. Micah Hyde. What's his name? Jordan Poyer.
Yeah.
Von
The
Miller's
defense is gonna be bad.
Von Miller's gonna be there, but like more in spirit.
Still think it's gonna be better than the Dolphins' defense, but yeah.
But I think the Dolphins' offense is gonna be better than the Bills' offense.
Sure, yeah, it should be.
So it's gonna outweigh it. So what I think the Bills have become, Trevor, is a problematic franchise that no longer has the answer to overcome it. Josh Allen is gonna have an MVP type of season where he throws for 32 touchdowns and 16 interceptions, and he's gonna be fun. He's gonna do all the things he normally does. But now he doesn't have that defense to rely on, that when he makes that mistake, they can overcome it. It is no longer there. They are going to be an up and down, chaotic roller coaster team this year, and they will miss the playoffs this year, going 9-8 and finishing 3rd in the AFC East. Which leaves the Patriots, and I'll keep this short and simple. This ain't your father's Patriots. This team sucks.
Yeah.
I think Gerard Mayo will eventually get this team going, but how much, I don't know.
They're not playing for this year.
Yeah, Drake May is playing only because Jacoby Brissett got hurt.
Well, Jacoby got announced the starter.
I thought Jacoby got hurt. Drake May's now the starter.
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
It was like yesterday.
Brissett got announced the starter. I'm certain of that.
When did you? I could have heard. I heard
Jacoby got hit pretty hard in one of the preseason games, but he's good to go. They announced him the starter. I promise you.
Wow.
You guys can check me in the chat, but
hit us up in the chat.
I swear to you, Brissett is going to, because they have a tough start of their schedule. I think they're going to use Brissett as sacrificial lamb for the first several weeks.
Are you sure?
I'm certain, bro. I've been on it this week. I'm certain.
We're spending too much time on this page because it doesn't matter. It doesn't. But please correct one of us on this one, guys. All I do know is this team is going to have the number 1 pick in the draft come 2025. I have the Patriots going 2-15, man.
Likewise. I'm not going to touch on that when I get to that.
Yeah.
2-15, I'm right there with you. Maybe not even 2 games. All right. Top of this division, I do have the Jets. You know me. I'm an Aaron Rodgers guy. I'm a fanboy. That's my dude. My favorite football players of all time. Outside of Patrick Mahomes, that's my favorite quarterback of all time. Love the guy.
Ruben and Cruz did say that. You're right.
Okay.
I could have swore Jacoby got hurt, but yeah.
Yeah, he did. No, he did.
Okay.
He got laid out in that game, but he's okay, I guess, good enough to start. So
Thanks,
they're going with the veteran. Yeah, appreciate you guys. But yeah, I had the Jets going 12-5. I think that's a good number for them. I think that defense is so good. Breece Hall is incredible. Garrett Wilson is a superstar in the making if he gets competent quarterback play, and I think Aaron Rodgers is going to throw 30-plus touchdowns this year.
Oh, wow.
I think Aaron Rodgers is going to throw a shit ton of touchdowns this year. He doesn't have to be great. He hasn't been a yardage guy. He doesn't need a lot of yards.
Yeah.
But Aaron Rodgers has the highest throwing rate outside of Patrick Mahomes. Him and Patrick Mahomes are two almost all time. I got to look at the list again, but those two guys are up there in the highest passing rate in the red zone.
Yeah.
They pass more than almost anybody in NFL history in the red zone. So these guys, they get their touchdowns.
Yeah.
I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be back. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to find Garrett Wilson for a shit ton of touchdowns. Mike Williams is good to go to start week 1. I know he's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
But Mike Williams with Aaron Rodgers, that's a big body guy. Aaron Rodgers do those back shoulder throws all day.
That's what Mike likes.
That is going to be all day, and I think he's going to rack up. And they got weapons, man. This team is really, really good. I was high on them last year. I had them winning this division last year, and then the first snap of the game, it was over, right? And all of our dreams went out the window. So I think this is Aaron Rodgers' chance. And like you said, I think he's very motivated. A lot of people have been talking about, him having little riff-raffs on the sidelines with his guys.
I love that.
That's what you want.
I love that.
You love seeing Aaron Rodgers fire like that.
Benjamin didn't give a fuck.
Remember how pissed off Aaron Rodgers was in the MVP year after they drafted Jordan Love? Yeah. He was getting into it with his guys. He went there was fucking arguably the best quarterback in football that year. He was insane. So you want to see Aaron Rodgers fired up. A fired up Aaron Rodgers is what you want. You don't want an unmotivated Aaron Rodgers on his way out like you saw in his last year with the Packers. That was just rough to watch. So I love this team. I love Coach Saleh. I think he's going to be up there for Coach of the Year this year. This team's awesome. This team has a lot of great characters, fun to watch. I'm a big Sauce Gardner fan. I love that kid. I love the trash talk. I think he's going to be in a lot of guys' ears this year, and this team's going to be really, really good. So I have them going 12-5. I had the Bills in the second spot here at 10-7. Josh Allen, like you alluded to, is an all-time talent. I believe in Joe Brady, the OC. I think we saw the last 6 games of the season. They figured something out. Joe Brady had that team firing on all cylinders. They got James Cook more involved. They became more of a run-centric offense.
Sure.
This defense is not going to be great, but I think this offense is going to be far more balanced rather than relying on Josh Allen to do all these things, and that's when a lot of the mistakes. If you notice, the last 6 games of the season, Josh Allen was damn near perfect.
Yeah.
He was incredible. He wasn't turning the ball over nearly that much. Joe Brady really kind of took that away from him. He didn't depend on him too much. They ran the ball more. They drafted a running back in the draft this year. His name's eluding me. He's a banger. So they got some guys, and I think they're really going to get the running game more involved, a little more quick check down kind of to Shakir and to Dalton Kincaid, more of a simplified offense. And that's what Joe Brady does, and he makes the game more simple. He's a great OC, and I think he's really going to figure some things out for Josh Allen, and they're going to win more games than I think people are, because I know the departure of a great talent and talent and receiver there. I don't think it's going to be that much of an impact as what people think. So I had them at 10-7. I also had the Dolphins at 10-7 in the third spot. I have all 3 of these teams making the postseason. It's going to be a tight division, especially between those 2 teams. Those 2 teams have great battles against each other, the Dolphins and the Bills. So I think they split games, but they both make the playoffs. I love the Dolphins. I think the offense is going to be incredible once again this year. But they do have some issues. That defense is really bad. They don't have They don't have any names, and I think I'm not a Tua guy. If I'm being honest with you, I don't trust him. I think he makes boneheaded plays a lot of times. He gets in his own head. He's not the most confident guy a lot of times. And I think you see it.
Yeah.
He's great at dispersing the ball and getting the play to the playmakers in a very Alex Smith kind of way. Obviously, he's a better thrower of the ball than Alex Smith was deep balls. But when he had the speed and the guys that can break away and create that much space, it makes it a little easier. You can just drop it in the bucket there. But I'm just not a Tua guy. I don't believe in him. Tyreek is getting another year older. He's been dealing with some injuries, thumb injuries and different things going into the year. Waddle's always an injury away, but Waddle's an incredible player when he's healthy. They did bring in Jonnu Smith at tight end. I love that move. That's a low-key move none of people are talking about. That's a freak athlete after he catches the ball, so that's another weapon there. So I love this offense. I think this offense alone gets them double-digit wins, 10-7. Patriots 2-15. This division's a wrap. So 3 teams out of that division.
Yeah. Not bad at all, man. Not bad at all. This is where it's gonna get interesting for you guys, because I think I'm probably gonna blow the top of the lid off of a lot of people right here, because we see it every year where the unexpected really takes shape, and you see something happen that you did not expect to see happen, and I think it makes a lot of sense for it to happen in this type of division, the AFC North, because it's so so much of a juggernaut where it just feels like a slobber knock kind of fight where you guys are just, whoever just survives the division is going to win this division.
Yep.
And I think with all the focus that's happened over these last couple of years between two franchises, knowing that, Lamar Jackson, it's going to be Lamar Jackson versus Joe Burrow, and, it's going to be their division to fight for so long, and then you see Joe Burrow deal with his injuries, miss the playoffs. Lamar Jackson deal with injuries, miss the playoffs. Then he gets back, wins MVP, gets the AFC title game in their house, and they squander it. Oh, Joe Burrow, if he can just stay healthy, he'll get back to that. Oh, but now the Bengals are starting to deal with contract problems, and this feels like it might be their last hurrah. There's so much focus and attention on these two franchises that it even overshadows some of the biggest, most disgusting, dare I say, tragedies or issues we've had in the NFL when it comes to outside of football. And I think that's been the biggest problem for a guy like Deshaun Watson, is that we know how talented, insanely talented he is as a quarterback. We saw before all the allegations and all those things came out when he was with the Texans. This dude was easily a top 5 quarterback in the league. Good. And he's only 28 years old now. And these last 2 years, we've seen him deal with injuries, and you could just tell that the game is just too heavy for his mental, right, to overcome, dealing with all the fan side of things, the pressure of, trying to outlive the problems he's had outside of football.
All different kinds of pressure, if you know what I mean.
I think that all comes to an end this year.
Oh, shit.
I think we finally see, kind of in a weird way, Trevor, I think that the Browns are going to be a lot like the Jets.
Don't you do it, dude.
I'm doing it.
Oh, my God.
I think the Jets and the Browns have very similar builds on their teams, the way that they're built. Dominant physical defenses with awesome DCs. And offenses that are very talented, if they just have the quarterback, they can win a lot of games. And they made the playoffs last year with 4 different quarterbacks playing. They made the playoffs last year.
They also didn't have to deal with Joe Burrow.
They had a winning record in their division. I'm just saying. And the Steelers were better last year than I'm expecting them to be this year. Just a little spoiler alert. But the point is, this Browns roster from top to bottom is loaded with a 2-time head coach of the year in Kevin Stefanski. And this is Deshaun Watson's last opportunity to really tell us whether he can be a quarterback in this league or not. And the Browns have bitten themselves insurances. They've kept Jameis Winston. They have, was it DTR? Is that his name? DTR? Is the backup as well?
Yeah.
DTR. They have 4. I think they have 4 quarterbacks on the roster. Yeah. They've built insurances. So Deshaun Watson knows that his shelf life, even from his own team's perspective, is short. And the weapons he has now, knowing he's still got prime Amari Cooper, they got Jerry Jeudy, the resurgent player from the Denver Broncos, who never had a quarterback close to the talent of Deshaun Watson.
Not a believer.
I think that Deshaun Watson is going to play a conservative style of football, going to play decent football this year. The pressure's not going to be on him this year. You know why, Trevor? Because everyone's focused on the Ravens. Everyone's focused on Joe Burrow coming back. And what's going to happen with Jamar Chase? And what's going to happen? Sure, are the Ravens as good as they were last season? Everyone's going to be focusing on those two teams. Where this juggernaut team led by Myles Garrett on the defensive side with Jim Schwartz in year 2 as the DC is going to come in here and swoop this damn division up. And the biggest reason why I feel that way, Trevor, also is the fact that the Browns have played the Ravens and Bengals great over the last several years. Yeah. Dude, honestly, the Browns own Joe Burrow, by the way. I should add that. With Baker Mayfield, he never beat the Browns, right? And I think Deshaun Watson's better than Baker Mayfield, at least skill-wise.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing, Trevor. If you look at their schedule, it's not an easy schedule by any means, just from the division alone.
Right.
But they have the Cowboys at home. They have if some people believe the Chargers, they have the Chargers at home. They have the Chiefs at home. They have the Dolphins at home. They got to come to the dog pound. And that's where they come live, dude. That place is live. That's a hard place to win. And a lot of their toughest games on their schedule are at home. And I think with Nick Chubb coming back eventually, he's on the PUP right now, but a decent run game just to back up Deshaun Watson with the weapons they have, conservative style of offense, Kevin Stefanski can coach his ass off, and letting that defense lead the way, I think this is an 11-win team. They won 10 games last year. Like I said, 10 games last year with 4 different quarterbacks starting. I think this is an 11-win team with Deshaun Watson finally a little bit of that pressure off where people aren't focusing on it as much. Where the whole cancel culture stuff starting to die down a little bit. I'm not excusing what he did. He was fucking terrible. My point, though, is I think it's year 3 now. And I think he's starting to finally focus more on football and getting back to what he was great at. And he's a great quarterback when he's mentally healthy. I don't know when that was, but when he was a great quarterback. I think he gets somewhere close to that again. This team is too damn talented. I think they win this division. I think they win it at 11-6 at the top of things. Now, I know you're a big fan of believer in the Ravens, Trevor. We briefly talked about it last night. You didn't give me their schedule. You didn't give me the record or anything.
I am, yeah.
But I am someone who believes that they are a team, Trevor, that is so up and down. And if you look at their last 4 seasons, that's exactly how it's been. High success, miss the playoffs. High success,
sounds like the Eagles.
It does sound like the Eagles.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. I'm not debating that at all. I just think that the NFC sucks so bad, someone's got to win it.
Yeah.
So that's why if the Eagles were any other division, they wouldn't win it. That's what I'm saying. That's why I have them at 10-7. They have the bottom division winner. This division, Trevor, is so tough. And I think Lamar Jackson losing weight for some damn reason and having a weird offseason and losing 2 or 3 starters on the defensive side, losing their DC, who's one of the best in the league, losing multiple offensive linemen, Ronnie Stanley never being able to stay healthy. I love Derrick Henry. You know, he's one of my favorite players of all time. But I think all he does is just kind of color the purple a little bit darker purple. It doesn't really make anything stand out. You know what I mean? Like, he just adds more of what they already had.
Yeah,
I don't think he makes them
wallpaper.
better.
He's wallpaper.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think he makes them better. I just think he makes them more of what they are. So, sure, the Derrick Henry acquisition should be fun. Zay Flowers, I agree with you, Trevor, what you said last night. Year 3, Zay Flowers is going to be a baller, right? But I just don't think that the Ravens are going to be a team, Trevor, that can replicate what they did last year, because last year everything went right for them. Everything went right for them. Think about it. Joe Burrow got hurt.
They lost Mark Andrews.
But Mark Andrews came back though. He came back.
He missed He missed a lot of the season, man. I mean, I know that Isaiah Likely, who's great as well.
Sure. But I'm saying for the majority of their, it wasn't perfect, but I'm saying a lot went right for them this year. Lamar stayed healthy. Their offensive line stayed pretty healthy. Their defense was unbelievably great.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, that was McDonald. He was leading the way. I just don't feel that they're going to lose that much and just replicate that. I don't think that, because that's just not been the way they do things. When they lose pieces, you feel it for a year and then they get back to it. I think this is that year where they get, now don't get me wrong, the Ravens are a 10-win team in my opinion.
And they're a team that their running backs dropped like flies, and they have Derrick Henry, bro.
Well, I agree.
That matters.
I agree, but you agreed with me when I said, though, that just makes them more of who they already are. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it makes them better. I don't think it overcomes anything they have.
I think it changes because Derrick Henry's not a guy that's just going to get knocked out and hurt. He's a guy that will play through things, and he's a solidified, maybe the best red zone RB in the league.
But you would agree their defense took a massive hit this offseason. A massive hit from a DC and players' perspective.
They lost some guys, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And the guy, imagine if we lost Spags.
Yeah.
That'd be a massive loss. McDonald's up there with Spags, dude. He's one of the best. And so that's a big time loss, man. And I love John Harbaugh. I think he's one of the best head coaches in the league. But we've seen John Harbaugh miss the playoffs, 5 times as the Ravens head coach. They've missed the playoffs several times in his time as their head coach.
Who?
John Harbaugh. They've missed the playoffs 5 times.
They missed it once in the last 6 years.
Well, that's fine. I'm not saying
since Lamar's been here, they've been a perennial playoff team.
Absolutely. I'm not debating. I'm just saying we've seen him have his down seasons.
I mean, sure. I mean, everyone does, but I mean, I don't know, man. Okay, go ahead.
That's my point. I don't think they have enough this year to be the same dominant team they once were. I think they're a 10-7 team, and I actually have them missing the playoffs.
Holy shit!
And hold on, why? I'll explain why. Because 10-7, you think, they make the playoffs. I'll explain it a little bit, and it's outside of their division. Look, third place is a team that everyone's high on because Joe Burrow seems to be healthy again. Everyone's, the connection he has with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, they should be just fine. Dude, another vibes team for me. This is another vibes team for me. What have we been hearing all offseason? All the smoke about Jamar Chase and him not playing, not wanting to play, and how dumb and nonsensical it is when he has 2 years left on his deal. Granted, he's making only $4.8 million this year. Clearly, he should be getting a raise. But we know what franchise he plays for. It's a franchise that is as cheap as anybody out there. They probably don't tip waitresses when they go out to dinner. This is one of those types of deals. I think this is a vibes team, Trevor, because their defense, you heard Hendrickson demand a trade earlier in the year. He wanted out. They've lost pieces. Zach Taylor has to constantly answer all these questions. Joe Burrow is healthy. But do we believe that Joe Burrow is going to play all 17 games? I don't. I've seen Joe Burrow miss 15 games over the last 3 years. Joe Burrow misses a lot of time. And he's also slow out the gate. And when you don't have the same defense they've had over the last couple of years to back that up, that's another team that I think can be problematic, very similar to the Buffalo Bills. You have a great quarterback, but you have the absence of great players around you, and it's not the same as it once was. And I think the Bengals are one of those teams that missed their opportunity, missed their boat when they went to the Super Bowl 3 years ago. They had their opportunity, and they squandered it.
Lamar was hurt that year, and they took advantage of it. I get it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Well, that's true. That's 100% true.
Yeah.
And we both know, Trevor, that both these quarterbacks, and Lamar and Joe Burrow, are very injury-concerning quarterbacks. We've seen both these guys miss large portions of the time.
Yeah.
So I have a hard time trusting both of these guys to just get back to where they were, especially with Joe Burrow having a hand injury. They're saying he's never going to recover from. And he already had.
I think it's like some kind of nerve issue, too. Yeah, it is weird.
It's very weird.
He looks good, though.
He looks good, but here's the thing. Yeah. It's summertime. Everything's warm. Everybody's feeling good.
Start taking some hits.
Let's start seeing him get hit, and let's see what happens with that calf. Let's see what happens with that hand. That's what I'm saying. I want Joe Burrow to prove me wrong this year.
Ah, man.
I want Joe Burrow to prove me wrong this year. And until then, I have him at 9-8, missing the playoffs. And so that rounds out the Steelers. I will make this prediction, and I will leave it to this, Trevor. Because of the fact that they have two quarterbacks, that means they have no quarterback. I think Justin Fields is the better quarterback on this team, but I think they're going to give, foolishly, Russell Wilson the job, and according to reports, that's what's happening.
He's the starter, yeah.
Russell Wilson's going to shit his pants once again. He's going to show how washed he is. He's going to cost them games they shouldn't lose, and this will be the first season that Mike Tomlin finishes with a losing record. I have the Steelers finishing at the bottom of the AFC North at 7-10.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I've got this. My situation's a lot different. I got the class of the AFC North, the Ravens, who have been the class of this division for majority of Lamar's career, at 12-5. I think they're easily the best team in this division. I don't think it's close, to be honest with you. I mean, I know a healthy division amongst all these guys right now looking into it is definitely competitive, and it always is, but Lamar Jackson is the MVP, two-time MVP of this league. I am a Lamar fan. I think he's an incredible athlete and a great quarterback in this league. And I think the addition of Derrick Henry does change things for me because they'll have continuity. They'll have consistency at the running back position. They don't have to keep rotating bodies and depending on undrafted or young rookies and Keaton Mitchell to go out there and try to make plays. I think it's the second year oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank on his name again, the wide receiver for the Ravens. Anyways.
Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers. I'm sorry, guys. Second year breakout for me. Zay Flowers, I think he's going to ball out this year. And I think Mark Andrews, if he stays healthy, this offense is going to keep chugging along. And I think they're going to go 12-5. I know they won 13 games last year, so I'm deducting one because they did lose some defensive guys. But I believe in John Harbaugh. He's the best coach in this division. He's been there and he's done it. This team is still very, very deep and still very, very good in my opinion. I think Lamar is just one of those guys who's just so hard to stop. He's so intimidating. He's very unpredictable. He caught his own pass against us, for Christ's sake. I mean, that was a freak thing, but the guy just does things somehow. And this team just wins, bro. You can talk about them, their ups and downs, but this team always finds ways to be a winning team. And I trust John Harbaugh to be. He's one of the most steady Eddie, rock-solid coaches in this league in situational football. And he's got an all-time weapon in Lamar Jackson, you know what I mean? So I think this team's going to be really good this year again, and they're coming right back for it. I think they win this division at 12-5. Second, I have the Bengals. I know there's the bad vibes, and I get it, but the talent's overwhelming. When you got if Joe Burrow stays healthy with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, who is another breakout for me this year, on a contract year, who thinks going to go off this year, I think this offense is going to be so good, and this defense is still consistently fairly good. And we saw the coaching. Zach Taylor, what he did with his backups last year after they lost Joe Burrow, they're still winning games. They're still competitive. They're competitive with us. That game went down to the wire, right? So this is another team that's very well coached and made it to the Super Bowl. Obviously, they fell flat, and they took advantage of a hurt Ravens team that year, and they won the division. And they took advantage of a bad second half of football from Patrick Mahomes. And they went to the Super Bowl. They lost it, but they were opportunists at that time. I still think this team is really good. I think Joe Burrow is incredible. If he can stay healthy, that is the thing. But I can't. I'm not predicting injuries on this. I'm going with my gut on what I think happens when these teams are healthy. And I think Joe Burrow is a great quarterback, and I think he has great weapons, and I think that translates to a lot of wins. And he's clutch. I'll give him that. He's clutch in certain moments, especially. I mean, when it comes to playoffs, things are a little different. But this guy wins games. Zach Taylor's a hell of a coach, and I'm giving them 10 wins. So they're going 10-7. I have the Steelers next.
Oh boy.
Mike Tomlin doesn't have losing seasons. It just doesn't happen. And I'm not going to, just because Russell Westbrook, they had Kenny Pickett for the last 2 seasons, they had winning records, bro. This defense is still going to be really good. They got another possible breakout, receiver. And I like Najee Harris. I like this running game. And they went and got, what's his name? The offensive coordinator from the Falcons, or from the the head coach from the Falcons, Arthur Smith. They went and got him. I think it's gonna be a very balanced run heavy offense, and I like this offense with it. And I think Russell Westbrook is you're shitting on a little too much. He was actually pretty good last year. If we're looking at the numbers, he was actually fairly good. And I think he could be good in this offense. I wanted Justin Fields to start just because I like the upside. I'm more of an upside guy, and I'm kind of like a fuck it, kind of chuck it kind of guy. And I think he's a superior athlete, especially at this point in their careers. I wanted to see that, but I don't hate the Russ move here. I think that you get a consistent, safe guy that's not going to make a lot of mistakes to run this Arthur Smith offense, and I think it translates to a lot of wins, especially if you run the ball with Najee, and you depend on that defense. I think this defense is nasty still, especially if T.J. Watt stays healthy. You know what that guy does. And that translates to a lot of wins, man. It's boring, but it's going to translate to a lot of wins. They're going to go 9-8 this year. The Browns, I have no faith in the Browns.
You have the Steelers with a winning record?
Yes, 9-8. They always have a winning record. They always do. Mike Tomlin does he's never not had a winning record. I'm not going to bet on that to happen this year. I think Russ is better than Kenny Pickett. So they got better at quarterback, if we're all being honest right now. So, yeah, so I think they go 9-8 and they squeak out another winning record. They don't make the playoffs, but they go 9-8. The Browns are 8-9. Competitive. I have no faith in Deshaun Watson. I think he's done. I think he's done mentally. This team is loaded.
Have faith in Russell Wilson.
Yes. Yeah, he was better than Deshaun last year, and when in their comparison when they were playing, he was better than Deshaun, with far less talent around him. And he's always been the better quarterback, if we're being honest. That's a possible Hall of Fame quarterback. I'm not saying he's
totally
great.
disagree. I think Deshaun's at his peak.
What I'm confused about is with your Browns winning the division. The Browns have been bad. Even when Deshaun was playing quarterback, he was bad.
No, they literally made the playoffs last year.
No, I get it, but they've been bad at quarterback. And the Steelers just got better at quarterback, and they always have a winning record. And now you're confused by I'm giving them a winning record. They got better at quarterback.
Are we so sure the Steelers got better at quarterback?
Kenny Pickett was probably
But coming into this week, we didn't know who their starter was going to be.
So you don't think that them getting Russell Wilson at quarterback is better than Kenny Pickett?
I think Russell's one of the 5 worst starting quarterbacks in the league.
Okay, I mean,
Pickett was too. So
I trust the coaching and I trust all the things with the Steelers have always done compared to what I do with the Browns. And listen, I'm giving them one more win than the Browns. It's not like I have them blowing them out of the water. This is a very competitive division. But the Browns always I don't believe in them this year, man. I think Amari Cooper's another year older. It was banged up a lot last year. This defense is going to be awesome. 100% this defense is going to be awesome. They're going to get after quarterbacks. They're going to make their plays. They're going to be the reason they're in it, in my opinion. Jerry Jeudy is trash, in my opinion. I don't think he's good at all. I think he's out there. He's pretending to be a really good route runner, and he's not. I think that's going to be a very overrated move for them. Don't expect much from him. They don't have Nick Chubb, who was the lifeblood of that offense last year, or for the last several years. And now they got Jerome Ford leading the pack, Deontay Foreman. They just got some guys. I just don't trust this team. I think out of all these teams, if I trust any of these teams to be good or bad, I'm trusting the Browns to be bad, and I'm trusting the rest of this talent of this team and the coaching of Mike Tomlin and the consistency of what he's always done to do what they do. And I think the Ravens are the class of this division, and I have the Ravens 12-5, Bengals 10-7, Steelers 9-8, Browns 8-9. Neck and neck with the last position. I mean, it could listen. If the Steelers go 8-9 and the Browns go 9-8, I'm not going to be shocked. That could definitely happen, but I'm banking on Mike Tomlin to have a winning record, and that's where it is for me.
All righty. So Trevor and I have been very on the opposite end of pretty much every division, I think, except the NFC West. Well, no, yeah, because the AFC East, we had the same division winner, but it kind of changed up after that. Because I think you had the Bills in the playoffs and the second spot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had the Dolphins. So, yeah.
Yep.
Man, you were right last night. You're like, bro, I think we're going to have a...
Yeah. We're just agreeing on most of these divisions. I love it, dude. This is going to be fun to revisit.
This will be fun, too, because I think this is going to be one of the more exciting divisions this year.
We should put money in all of our division winners and see who wins the bet.
I think that'd be fun.
I mean, we can neither one win.
Agrees with that. You guys think we should throw some dollars into this thing to see
you can
all
throw
the
5 on
divisions
division
that we
winners.
disagree on as far as the winners? Would you want to just do division winners?
Yeah.
Like $5 per
just
division
pick who
winner?
our division winners are.
Yeah, we pick $5 per division winner or $10, whatever. I don't care.
Post it on the group and we'll revisit at the end of the season.
Yeah, I'll take whatever money you're willing to give me. So that sounds good to me. But yeah, no. Let us know if you guys think we should do a dollar amount on each division winner. We have 2 more divisions to go, guys, and we're getting to our playoff picture. Thanks for hanging tough with us, guys. This has been an absolute blast. Yeah. We're gonna get this thing going really quick, though. The AFC South is going to be one of the more interesting divisions, in my opinion.
Yes, we're probably going to disagree on this one. I'm telling you.
Probably. That's okay. The NFC North is who they're facing this year, so it'll be a decent task on their hands. But I actually really like this division this year. I think this is becoming one of the better divisions in football.
Yeah.
So much so, Trevor, that I have 3 teams making the playoffs in this division.
Oh, wow.
I do. I really think that these teams are going to.
You like your Colts?
Well, yeah, and I guess I can just jump right in line with this. Anthony Richardson is a guy I refuse to give up on. He had a few starts last season and showed how electric he could be. And I think in the Shane Steichen offense, it's the perfect situation for him outside of playing for Sean McVay or Andy Reid. Outside of playing for those 2 guys, I don't think that Anthony Richardson could have fell to a better place. And with the weapons, offensive line, dude, this defense is going to continue to bud well. I think this Colts team is going to shock a lot of people this year because I think Anthony Richardson is going to be healthy all year. I think Jonathan Taylor being back is going to be massive. Him healthy back there now, like I said, with Michael Pittman, with A.D. Mitchell, with the weapons they have, the offensive line they have that I really like. No, this is year 2 now for Anthony Richardson. It's his chance to really show and break down what he can be.
Shane Steichen is a proven guy.
I think Anthony Richardson's going to be an MVP candidate this year. I'm so big, Trevor, do not be shocked if Anthony Richardson has over 30 total touchdowns this year. I'm so big on the Colts this year. I'm so big on Anthony Richardson. I will not give up on him because I know what talent this guy has, and I know the coach he has.
The upside's insane.
It's insane. And we've seen this a lot of times, bro, where a talent like this gets with a coach like that, it meshes and becomes something magical. I really believe that's what this is going to become in Indianapolis. I don't know how long this ride will be because Anthony Richardson's a guy that really relies on his athleticism a lot of times. Maybe he can translate into becoming more of a pocket-friendly quarterback. But right now in his youth, I love his upside as a guy that can create with his feet, get out of the pocket, extend plays. Shane Steichen likes that because remember Shane Steichen he became known with who? Jalen Hurts up in Philly. So there's a similar style there with Anthony Richardson. I think Anthony Richardson's a better quarterback because he's got a better arm. He's more accurate than Jalen Hurts, but he's got the feet just like Jalen Hurts. I have the Colts winning this division. I have them at 11-6 this year because they also have a very winnable schedule this year. Yeah. I know they're facing the NFC North, but they have a 3rd-place schedule, and I like that for them because our second-place schedule. They won 9 games last year with Gardner Minshew. Imagine a full season with Anthony Richardson. I'm just saying, man, I think that the Colts are going to shock a lot of people. They have way too much talent. Shane Steichen, to me, is going to be an absolute coach to be reckoned with this year and years to come. There's no team in the NFL that has more expectation and pressure on them than the Houston Texans. Mm-hmm. They're a team, obviously, and rightfully so. C.J. Stroud came out and blew up the world, man. Like, he shocked me. I did not expect C.J. Stroud to be this good. And he came out and started playing his ass off immediately.
When got Stephon Diggs?
Yeah, you saw the additions of Stephon Diggs, Joe Mixon. On the defensive side, they went and got Danielle Hunter.
Nico Collins is a superstar.
And then Tank Dell's off his injury. This team has all the vibes, man, of a team that can really break out and do great things. The difficult thing for them, Trevor, this year is this. They have a tough-ass schedule. They have a lot of tough road games.
They overachieved last year.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. I think they kind of overstepped a little too quickly.
They shocked everybody.
Yes, and now the NFL has some film on them.
Yep. And
you saw what the Ravens did to CJ in that playoff game. I think they're going to make him adjust already. Because remember, when Patrick Mahomes came into the league, and I hate to compare him to Patrick Mahomes, but when Patrick came into the league, it was a 3-year stretch where it's like, what the fuck do we do? Finally, teams started to adjust 3 years in. And then in 2021, you notice that teams started getting a little bit better at defending Patrick Mahomes. He had to adjust.
Yeah.
I think they're going to adjust a little quicker to C.J. Stroud's game. Stephon Diggs is a huge addition. They're going to be an awesome team, but I think they're going to shock people in the opposite way, where they fall and they lose some games they shouldn't lose because, like I said, the pressure is going to get to this young team still. They're still a very young team. Yeah. I think they're still going to deal with some injuries, unfortunately. I have a problem believing that Tank Dell's going to be a guy that plays all 16, 17 games every year. He's a small guy. That's going to be a big loss for them if that ends up happening. I'm not wishing it upon them. I'm just saying that I expect it to happen now. I think the Texans will be a playoff team, and they're going to be 10-7 this year. I think, like I said, they're going to lose some frustrating games this year, but they're going to rally at the end of the season where they win like 3 or 4 straight to get into the playoffs and get hot at the right time, and keep that in mind because I think they're going to be a hot team going into the postseason. The Jaguars are going to be the best version of themselves. The problem with this, though, Trevor, is the fact that they are doing that now at the worst time because there are two other teams in their division that are starting to stack it up. If they'd done this 2 years ago with Trevor Lawrence, not only would they win this division, they'd be one of the best teams in the NFL. They'd have 12, 13 wins. But this is a complete team. I believe in this Jaguars team. But like I said, the problem is I believe that they have, these other two teams have head coach quarterback duos that are just as good as theirs. And to be honest with you, let's just say it, Trevor. Trevor Lawrence has been a disappointment to this point. He has not lived up to the hype that we thought he was going to be.
It's a little unfair. I mean, he was so, heavily favored to be the prince that was promised.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of hype, but that's not his fault. He's been good. He's been a good quarterback in the NFL.
I mean, he was good for like a 6-7 game stretch last year. He did get hurt.
If the expectations weren't so high, I'd be like, Trevor Lawrence solid, man.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
But like,
we'd be looking at him like Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert just wasn't as hyped.
But even Trevor Lawrence's one playoff win, it was one half of good football.
He was incredible in that game.
No, he was incredible in that half.
Yeah.
He was terrible in the first
half.
half.
Tale of two halves.
Yeah, he was terrible in the first half.
Yeah.
Did he have like 3 picks in the first half?
It was awful.
He was horrible.
But the fact that he has the internal fortitude to dig himself out of that is huge.
That's why I'm not giving up on him. That's why I will not give up on him.
Sure.
That's why I believe that the Jags are also a playoff team. Like I said, 3 teams are making the playoffs.
I love it.
I have them also 10-7.
I hope you're right. Because I would like to see these 3 teams make it more than the AFC North.
Well, and I'm going to explain why. I'm going to explain why they make it over the Ravens.
Okay.
Because they all are 10-7.
Yeah.
The Ravens are going to have a losing record in their division. I think the Browns sweep them, and I think the Bengals and Steelers split with them. So I think they're going to, what is that, 2-4?
So you think the Bengals beat the Ravens both times?
No, Browns beat the Ravens both times.
Okay, I was going to say.
I think the matchup's there. You saw last year when Sean had a broken shoulder, they still beat the Ravens.
The Bengals,
you know what I mean? And the Ravens last year, to my opinion, are better they are this year.
Sure.
So I think the Ravens are going to be in for a rude awakening this year. And I'm big on the Browns this year. Right. I think that both the Texans and Jaguars have a better divisional record than the Ravens, which is why they get that spot. The Titans are a team that I want to root for them because I like Will Levis.
Calvin Ridley, D-Hop.
Dude, they have an awesome duo of wide receivers. Yeah. I like their young running back. What's his name?
They got Tajay Spears and running back for the Cowboys last year. God damn it.
Tony Pollard.
Yeah.
So
two
like
good guys,
their
2
offense.
receiving backs. Yeah.
And I think Brian Callahan has a good offensive mind.
Yeah, man.
But I think their defense is going to suck ass. I think it's going to dwindle big time.
Outside of, be awful.
That's what I'm saying. Like I just think there's L'Jarius Sneed. They're already hearing problems about. They don't even know where he fits in this defense. I'm not dissing. I love LJ. You know, Sneed's our guy.
Yeah.
But it's just not going to be the same for him out there.
They are the Cardinals of the AFC.
I know. And ironically,
they're going to be a fun fantasy offense, but they're going to be not going to win a lot of games.
And ironically, I have them in the same record as the Cardinals, 5-12.
Okay.
I think they're going to be a team that scores points because, like I said, D-Hop and Calvin Ridley are going to put up yards, numbers, touchdowns, all that. And Will Levis, I think, is going to have a good year. But I just think that with that defense and them having their first year of change, going from the juggernaut, vibes of Mike Vrabel, how he was so a manly dude. Now you're going to Callahan, who's a little more of a sullen, stoic kind of guy.
Sure.
I think it's gonna be a real change of pace for them. I think they're gonna struggle out the gate, and I think they'll get it together at the end of the year. But I don't think the Titans will do enough. 5-12.
Yeah, Will Levis is one of those guys who's always gonna be fun to watch, but he's never gonna be like a really good quarterback, in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe
he's very mistake prone. He's like a Jameis, in my opinion. He's a very fun guy, like rah. If he ever makes plays, he's like, rah! But then you're down 14. It's like, okay, dude, that was fun, but he's a fun fantasy guy though. If anybody's playing fantasy football, I think he's a fun late round quarterback to pair with a Calvin Ridley or a D-Hop. I think that's a fun fantasy offense. All right, man. So at the top of this division, winning this division, I have the Jaguars.
Okay.
I think this is Trevor Lawrence's career year. I think he goes off this year. I think Trevor Lawrence is finally the year where he really puts himself on the map because he's been good, but he hasn't been great by any means. I think this is a great year for Trevor Lawrence. I think the combination with Calvin Ridley last year just did not work out. There was way too many touchdowns left on the field, a lot of targets and a lot of drops by Calvin Ridley. If I'm being honest, I'm a Calvin Ridley guy, but he dropped several touchdowns in the end zone last year. It was unacceptable. And he might have been rust, coming back, not having a lot of football under his belt. This year he could be really good with Will Levis. I think he will be good with the Will Levis this year because Will Levis is going to chuck that shit. But the draft pick, one of my favorite draft picks of this entire draft was Brian Thomas to the Jags. 6'3", 209, runs a sub 4.3.
Yep.
the guy is a specimen, and he's going to get. I think he's going to push for the Malik Neighbors and the Harrisons, the Marvin Harrisons in this draft as who's the best rookie receiver in this draft, because I think he's in a perfect position. I think he's going to push Christian Kirk for that number one receiving spot, but they're two totally different guys. Christian Kirk's more of a slot guy. Brian Thomas is going to be on the outside, and he's in the red zone. He's going to be an absolute monster. And I love the combination. I think Evan Ingram's is another one of the top tier receiving tight ends in this league. Still was incredible last year. Had over almost 1,000 yards receiving. And I like this defense still. This defense still building on pieces. You got Travis Etienne running the ball. And I think Trevor Lawrence is going to just dice defenses up. And I think this division is going to be tough. They're going to really feast on each other. It's going to be very competitive. I had them winning the division, only winning 10 games, though. I had them winning the division at 10-7.
Wow.
And I had the Texans also winning 10 games as well. It's going to be a tight-knit game, or tight-knit division between those two teams fighting for that top spot. But yeah, so as I alluded to, I had the Texans next in the next spot, winning 10 games. There's going to be a second-year lull, I think, for Stroud. I think he's have a lot of lessons learned. I think it's going to be there's going to be some really tough stretches where they lose like 2 or 3 games in a row or something like that. I think they're going to go on like you said, the film. It's always, especially for like strictly pocket passers, because Stroud's not really the most mobile guy. He's mostly just a pocket guy. You know, when you get film and you're not like a true dual threat, and teams don't have to really worry about that with you. But granted, that team is so loaded. You know, you're gonna have Stephon Diggs playing the slot, Nico on the outside, Tank on the outside, just two dominant outside receivers there. Tank, you can move around. I just love the leadership of this team. I love the vibes of this team. I love Stroud, his personality, the knowledge of the game the kid already has is insane. But I have them missing the playoffs.
Oh, wow.
I have them missing the playoffs because I'm giving that spot to the Bengals at 10-7 also.
Okay.
I'm just trusting the...
Wow, it's weird how similar we did that. But
just different winning situations. So I have different tiebreakers that notch them out. I want the Texans. I really wanted to put them in the playoffs over the Bengals because I just can't stand the Bengals personally. So I don't want them to make it, but my gut just told me to go with the Bengals, win with that situation. So Texans, I have them out. And you're going to hate this, but I have the Colts going 9-8, man. I love Anthony Richardson. He's at injury risk though at all times, if I'm being honest with you, and he's very inaccurate in a lot of times in certain situational football game plays, like as far as like over the middle, throwing guys in stride. He's a great deep ball passer. His deep ball's insane. But I could be wrong. He could definitely prove me wrong this year on his like intermediate passing skills. He's got to get that together. And I think Shane Steichen is obviously the best situation for him to be in and thrive. I hope I'm wrong on the Colts because I want to see Anthony Richardson take over the league. The guy's electric as hell. I love guys like that, like the Lamars, and he's bigger than Lamar, but the Josh Allens. Those guys are just fun for football. If they win this division, I would be stoked. All right, I like this team. I like him. I like Michael Pittman. They have a lot of dogs in that defense that I like as well. So I have them going 9-8, missing the playoffs, man. But I honestly hope I'm wrong on them. That's where I have them at, though. And then Titans, I have them going 5-12. Like I said, they're the Cardinals of this division. Similar vibe to them. They're fun. They're going to be playing from behind most games because their defense sucks. But they'll keep games competitive just because Will Levis is one of those guys going to run around and just chuck the ball to D-Hop and Calvin Ridley. It's going to be fun. And it's, like I said, that's more of a fantasy team. They're not going to win much games. I have them going 5-12. This division should be fun, though, man. It can definitely, there's a lot of different ways this division can go. So I'm interested to see how it goes, but that's where I have it at.
Very similar.
Jags winning the division.
Yeah, Jags winning the division. Okay. So. We also have the long-awaited and anticipated, but not overly...
Let's go.
Complicated.
Let's fucking go.
AFC West, who will be taking on the NFC South this year for what it's worth. We did a prediction show on Tuesday with Arrowhead Allies, and I made it very brief because we were at the end of the show when I did my predictions. I was zooming through it, but today we got to give it a little bit more. I said, though, on that show that I do believe this is going to be the most complete Chiefs team in the Mahomes era to date.
I agree with you.
I think this is the equivalent to the 2020 Chiefs before their offensive line became decimated, where everything just felt right, where the team just clicked on all cylinders, and no one could just seem to beat them no matter what was going on week in and week out. Knowing how important this season is to this team, knowing how beefed up knowing how much they've beefed up both sides of the ball, and seeing how young this roster still is, knowing that the coaching staff is still so well aligned, Patrick Mahomes is just entering his prime years. This is one of those few times in NFL history where it feels like a team is just starting off, even though they're in the midst of a dynasty. And not to go on this long tangent here, guys, but it was really hard for me to, and I say this with all sincerity, it was really hard for me to pick losses this season for the Chiefs. Not that they're not going to be they're not going to be out there, because we all know that
there's always those
stupid, frustrating losses this team will have every year, which is why I obviously didn't pick them to go undefeated. But it was difficult for me to build scenarios where I felt like the team was going to lose, because there's always seems there in every Patrick Mahomes loss, it always feels like there's like one specific reason or a collection of just bad druthers. I felt like the Chiefs got rid of the things that caused those druthers from last year. And I feel like this defense, although it may not be the second-ranked defense in the NFL this year, it might be. They could still be top 10.
Yeah, I think
I'm expecting them to be top 10. So with us expecting this offense to be back to where they were, top 5, top 3, top 2, top 1, with a top 10 defense, that sounds like the deadliest Patrick Mahomes team ever, which is why I have the Chiefs winning this division at 14-3.
Let's go.
And I have the 3 losses to give you guys in particular. They're going to lose to the 3 Bs. I said this on Arrowhead Allies. Now, although I don't have the Bills in the playoffs, I do believe they will have a playoff game this year. It will be when they host the Chiefs. I think it's like week 13 in Buffalo. And I think that's going to be their Super Bowl. And I think the Chiefs, knowing good and well at that point, when they're 9-0, no, so that'll be like week 10, week 11 then.
Yeah.
When the Chiefs are like 9-0 at that point, they're going to realize they're on their way to the 1 seed. And they don't have to kill themselves against a team that's a middling team right then and there. They've already won a playoff game in Buffalo a year before. I'm not saying the Chiefs are going to put that game on the map and they're not going to take it seriously, but we know that Spags likes to hold back some things every once in a while on the defensive side. We've seen Andy Reid do it as well. And I think the Bills are going to give it everything they got in that game, and they're going to squeak out a victory. And then I see the Chiefs going into Cleveland, because you guys know I'm big on Cleveland this year. People can laugh, but I think that team is going to be a deadly team this year. And I think the Cleveland Browns are going to beat the Chiefs in Cleveland. It's going to be a late or middle December game. It's going to be cold.
You are Mr. Browns
game.
this year,
I think
dude.
they're going to squeak one out against the Chiefs. It's going to be an upset. It's going to be an upset because obviously I think the Chiefs are favored in every game this year.
Yeah.
And then by that time that rolls around, they'll be 14-2. They have 1 game left against the Denver Broncos. They already have the 1 seed locked up because everybody else below them is 12-5 or worse, which means that no one can get the 1 seed from them. They'll rest their starters and get ready for the postseason with the 1 seed, and the Broncos will beat their backups, making them 14-3. Look, the rest of this division, I'll make it as quick as I possibly can. The rest of this division is ass. The rest of this division is horrible. I know that Jim Harbaugh coming here is going to change some things for the Chargers, but like I said,
it will.
The pressure is going to be on him immediately because Jim Harbaugh has never, I know everybody talks about, he changed things everywhere he went. He won everywhere he went. That's true. But see, in college, you can afford 4 or 5 years. You can wait 10 years to finally win.
His ass kicked by Ohio State.
But I'm saying in Michigan, it took him 9 years.
He was getting his ass kicked.
It took him 9 years to finally get to that place. And they did it.
Yeah.
And congratulations to Jim Harbaugh. You don't get that time in the NFL. And if we remember, the 1 stint he had in the NFL was a very short-lived stint.
Yep.
He was awesome. Went to 3 NFC championships.
All-time defenses, man.
Go look at the roster he inherited.
Right.
They were missing one thing, a good head coach. And when he went there, that 49ers team did not look back.
Really good quarterback, too. But yeah.
Well, I'm saying they had a mediocre, decent quarterback. And then
Yeah.
when Colin Kaepernick went there, what did they do? They went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they leaned into his abilities.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So my point is, Jim Harbaugh is a hell of a coach. I compare him to Larry Brown a lot of times. One of the few guys out there that can coach both levels.
Steward of the game, man.
But the pressure is on him immediately because not only are they paying him a ton of money, the Spanos family hesitated to pay him initially. They didn't know if they were ready for a Jim Harbaugh. 2, we know that his attitude and the way he does things wears out people's welcome. And 3, the expectations are for him to win immediately because that's what he does everywhere he goes at the pro level.
Very polarizing guy.
At the pro level, this time around, though, he doesn't have the same type of roster to inherit. He has a really good quarterback, but this quarterback hasn't won anything yet. He hasn't proven anything yet other than he can throw the ball very well down the field and put up cool numbers.
Sure.
But outside of that, Justin Herbert's done nothing.
Now he's dealing with plantar fasciitis.
And the most ironic thing about this is he brought Greg Roman in as his offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Greg Roman likes to run the ball just about as much as anybody else, or more than anybody else.
They have like 12 running backs.
So It's going to be a weird clash of styles for the Chargers when 4 years with Justin Herbert, they sling the ball more than almost anybody outside of Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady.
I do like Ladd McConkey, though. I like that pick.
But they're going to try to run the ball. Jim Harbaugh likes running the ball.
Yep.
That's why I think Jim Harbaugh was so successful with Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick, guys that weren't guys that threw the ball a ton of times because he liked running the football. It's going to be a clash of styles with Justin Herbert now when they're going to try to run the ball a ton and see if Justin Herbert can play more of a conservative style of football.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to work. I'll just come out and say it right now, guys. I think the Jim Harbaugh experience is going to last about 3 or 4 years in L.A., and then he's going to move on to something else. I don't think it's going to work. I think you're going to see him try to build a new roster there, try to figure things out, but it's going to be a lot more difficult this time around because, one, he's been a decade removed from the league, and two, he didn't inherit a make-ready roster like he did in San Francisco.
Sure.
So it's going to be a lot more pressure than before, a lot more expectation, but not as much around him. And by the way, guys, totally forgot to mention, Patrick Mahomes is in his division, who's not even 29 years old yet. So he's going to have to take that on as well. I just think it's too much for Jim Harbaugh to take. I think it's going to fail. And for this year in particular, they are at least a year away. I think they're going to be a team that fights here and there and, has a decent game here and there because Jim Harbaugh, he strategizes with the best of them. But they're going to be a team with a losing record this year, and they're going to finish second in this division at 8-9.
You gave them one more win than me. Chiefs are winning this division.
I'll just throw this in real quick. Bo Nix is the starting quarterback for the Broncos. Sean Payton inherited a team that I told you guys is never going to win a damn thing with. I stand by that. This Broncos franchise is an absolute abysmal, just shit stain right now.
Bo Nix is he plays a lot like Alex Smith.
They're banking on Courtland Sutton to stay healthy and produce. I like Courtland Sutton, but the guy he's proven time and time again. He's not a consistent football player. He got injured severely 2 years ago.
He was really good last year.
But like I said, is he going to put back? Is he going to put that back to back years again? He hasn't done that in about 4 years.
Yeah,
I think Courtland Sutton is a good wide receiver, but he's not enough for this team to get over the mark.
The Niners were trying to trade for him. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I did hear about that.
Yeah,
I think they were trying to give him a 3rd-round pick.
Yeah,
and then Broncos didn't take it
because Ayuk was. Yeah. I know. It's like, what the hell? Why would you not take that? You already dumped. You're in a tank this year.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. So I think the Broncos are again another year away.
Yeah.
I think they got a 39-year-old rookie at quarterback that they're going to try to convince everyone is going to become something.
They got some good young weapons I think on the team that I kind of like.
Yeah, I just don't like their defense at all. I think the defense is going to struggle, and I think they're going to definitely be 3rd round.
So the majority of the Chargers wins you think are coming against Raiders and Broncos.
Yes,
that's right. I'm with you on that too.
Yes, and they have like I said, they have the NFC South, so I can see them beating like the Buccaneers, the Saints, the Panthers. That's 7 wins right there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I think the majority of their wins.
Yeah.
So 6-11 for the Broncos. Look, the Raiders are going to be garbage this year, guys. I like Antonio Pierce. I've never been comfortable though when players pick their coach though, because we saw that here in Kansas City when the players voted for Romeo Crennel. How'd that go? It went terrible. I like Antonio Pierce, like I said, but I don't think he's going to be a great head coach in this league. Yeah. They don't have a quarterback. Gardner Minshew is a backup quarterback, guys. It was between him and Aiden O'Connell as to who was going to be their quarterback this season. That is not a good. That doesn't resound well. That doesn't resonate well with the fan base.
Yeah.
And speaking of this fan base, they're somehow become even more of an inbred collection of people. So that's all going to be what it is out there. It's going to be fun to go out to Arrowhead West this year and visit that again. But I think overall this team outside of Max Crosby is just an abysmal shit, and I think they're going to be a really terrible team. They're going to have a top 3 pick in the draft this year. I have the Raiders bottoming out of the AFC West at 4-13.
Yeah, this division doesn't matter, so let's not discuss it. No, I got the Chiefs going 13-4, winning this division. They're going to find a way. They're going to find a way to, and one of those losses could be at the end of the season when we have the 1 seed locked up. That could be a thing too. That kind of happens. But 13-4 felt like a good number to me. I'm gonna stick with that. I think this Chiefs team is going to be electric. I think this is going to be one of the best offenses we've had in a while. Like I agree with you, Lance. I think this is the most complete team. And it's coming at a great time. We're working on a 3rd in a row. So Rashee Rice is a massive breakout for me this year. Especially if there's no suspension, Rashee Rice is. I think he's going to have massive numbers this year if he stays healthy, if he stays healthy and there is no suspension. I think he's going to put himself on the map, and I think this system works perfectly for him. Playing more of that underneath role. I think we saw him lead. He had 7 touchdowns last year and should have had 10.
Yep.
And he led the league in yards after catch. Year 1 on a late start. Didn't really get utilized till like week 5, 6. Really used. So you give a full season, you give 17 games to this guy with that sample size. You expand that, a few more games with him being that guy. This guy's number is going to be incredible in this offense. But the ball will be shared. Obviously, we got other names in this offense, but I think Rashee Rice is going to be the shining star of this season offensively, in my opinion. I know Xavier Worthy is going to have his big plays. 100% is going to have those big plays in these games. But the consistent star, I think, of this offense, receiving wise, is going to be Rashee Rice. I think he has a massive season ahead of him. So I have us going 13-4. I have the Chargers winning 7 games. I have them going 7-10 because I do think they're going to feast on the Broncos and the Raiders. And so that's 4 wins right there, right, out of the 7.
Even though the Raiders have done pretty well against Chargers.
Sure, yeah, for sure. And they could upset. I think they play week 1, don't they?
I think so.
I think the Raiders could definitely upset them week 1. I would not be surprised by that. But I think this is going to be a slow year. I think Herbert he's already dealing with that plantar fasciitis injury, which is he's a semi-mobile guy when he wants to be. So, and that's going to take that away from him. That sucks. I think he's a talented guy, and I do believe in Jim Harbaugh. I think he's a great coach. I think he can figure this thing out. And I think he can be competitive with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes at some point. That they build that team up, and they drafted really, really well this last draft. So give them time, but this is not the year. I think they're going to struggle. That defense is horrible. So I have them going 7-10. I actually have the Raiders in the 3rd spot. I have them going 5-12. I like the Raiders' defense, actually. I think their secondary sucks, but I think their defensive line is really good at getting after quarterbacks. They got after Patrick Mahomes every time we played them really, really well. They've mixed things up, and they got after us. I'll give them that credit. Max Crosby is one of the best edge rushers in the league. The guy's incredible. I have nothing but respect for that guy. I love that guy. Wish he was on my team. But yeah, I think I'm just going to give but the 5 wins. I mean, Coach Pierce is a rah guy, but when there's no rahs to be rawed, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? So I think their quarterback situation is shitty. Devontae Adams made the worst decision of his career by going there, in my opinion.
I think they're trading him mid-year.
That could definitely happen. Yeah. He could go to the Jets. I think that's a situation that can happen. So keep an eye on that. I think that's definitely something that could happen if the Jets are all in and say they're winning a lot of games. They need that one extra piece. That could definitely happen. I can see that. But they're awful. 5-12. Broncos are going to suck too. I mean, there's so much new pieces. I like Javonte Williams as a running back there. I think he's going to be a good fantasy asset. I think he's going to have some really good numbers this year. Cortland Sutton's a solid wide receiver, but he's more of just a kind of a 9-route guy, if I'm being honest. Doesn't do much more than that. That's why him and Russ were great, and they had a connection there because Russ was just chucking it to him. And he's 6'4". He's out there catching all that shit. So cool. But they're gonna be awful. That defense is okay at times. They have some names, but they've lost some of those names as well. A lot of things in flux over there. It's a rebuilding team. 4-13. I have them. So this division is a wrap.
So the AFC playoff picture, I have the Chiefs at the top seed, Jets, Colts, Browns, Dolphins, Texans, and Jaguars. Trevor, what do you got?
So I got the Chiefs, Ravens, Jets, Jags, Bengals, Bills, Dolphins.
Okay.
I have 2 divisions with 3 teams.
I think we have four of the same teams? Chiefs and Jets.
Yep, Chiefs, Jets,
Dolphins. Texans. Oh, yeah, they're missing.
I have the Texans.
Jaguars.
Missing. Yeah, and Jaguars. Yeah,
So
I have Jaguars winning the division. Yeah.
Yeah, 4 of the 7 are the same. Okay.
Yep.
All right, let's get into these playoff picture. Let's get into the actual matchups, guys. I want to get to these because I know that you guys are waiting for that as well. The NFC wild card. So obviously, I had the Lions at the 2 seed, and the Bears are the 7 seed. So that's gonna be a matchup. It's gonna be a nice little NFC North matchup in the wild card round. I think the Lions are going to pull this one out because I think they're the better team. Like I said, I think the Bears are a year away at least until they can become a team that makes a run in the playoffs.
Sure.
But it'll be a closer game than expected because obviously it's a divisional game. But I do think the Lions win that one. Then I have the 3 seed Falcons over the 6 seed 49ers. That is correct. I have the 49ers one and done. Like I said, I don't like the vibes of this team. I love the vibes of the Falcons. I think that with a home game, they're going to squeak out a 25-22 kind of game where it's like a field goal win.
And they are a team that's known to get hurt.
Yeah.
Really in bunches.
And I just don't like Brock Purdy on the road. Like,
say Trent Williams and Debo goes down.
Yeah.
Or McCaffrey goes down with Trent Williams or something like that. That could happen. And they get hurt a lot. So
right.
Yeah, that can happen too.
And then I have the 5 seed. I have an upset. I have the 5 seed Packers beating the 4 seed Eagles in Philadelphia. Something about this Packers team, man, going into NFC East houses and beating them. I think they can keep that tradition rolling.
And LaFleur in that coaching matchup.
I like it.
Give me LaFleur in that.
I like the Packers in that matchup. So that's my my NFC wild card. What's your NFC wild card looking like, Trev?
So I've got the Lions facing the Vikings, the 2 seed Lions facing the 7 seed Vikings. I had the Lions obviously winning that game. I think they kicked their ass in that game. But yeah, that's where I have them, and then I have the 3rd seed Rams beating the 6 seed Packers. In that matchup there. And then I have the 5th seed 49ers over the 4th seed Falcons.
Okay.
So I have the Niners beating the Falcons.
Okay, so we have those
and going on to the next round. Yep.
Then in the NFC divisional, we'll just keep going on the NFC side
sure,
of things.
Yeah.
On the NFC Divisional, the Rams come back out of their bye week, and they beat the Packers at home, but that is a game that goes into overtime. I think that's going to be, like I said, the Packers are a team that I think is really taking strides. I think they have another close upset or a close loss in the playoffs like they did last year in the divisional round.
Yep.
But the Rams do advance to the NFC Championship, and then the Lions at home beat the Falcons to advance to the NFC Championship for the second consecutive season. What is your division looking like?
So I have the Cowboys coming off that first round bye, facing the Niners and beating the Niners.
Okay.
And then I have the Rams facing off against the Lions. So the third seed Rams are facing the 2 seed Lions, so the 3rd and 2 seed. And I had the Rams beating the Lions.
Oh, they get that revenge?
Yep.
Okay.
It's a big game for them. I think this is it's a statement game, and I think Stafford takes advantage of it, and McVay gets the best of that situation.
Well, you had me beat by 1 week because my NFC Championship match is the Rams hosting the Lions, and I had the Rams beating the Lions in week 1 to get that first seed. Matt Stafford felt that was that revenge, but I think he had bigger plans and bigger intentions in mind. He's looking to get back to the Super Bowl, and I think ironically, getting back to the second Super Bowl, he has to beat his old team, and that's exactly what he does. He beats the Lions twice in 1 year.
I love it.
And advances to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl was at 59. Yeah, Super Bowl 59.
Yep.
The Rams represent the NFC side of things. Sure, who represents the NFC side of things for you?
So I've got my NFC matchup championship game is the Rams against the Cowboys. And I also have the Rams.
Nice.
Winning.
Okay.
Dude, who would have thought we both had the Rams, bro?
I love it.
Pulling out of the NFC. That's the go.
I love
dude.
it.
Hell yeah.
Finally agreed, goddammit.
Hell yeah. Hey, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because our team.
Look at us.
Yeah.
Who'd thought?
Here we are. The last team remaining in the NFC is our same team, so it doesn't fucking matter. Let's go. Stafford's year, baby. Let's go, man.
I love it. All right, so the AFC wildcard side of things, I have the 2 seed Jets beating the Jaguars in New York or rather New Jersey, advancing to the divisional round. I have the 6 seed Texans upsetting my Colts. See, I keep it steady. I think that Stroud, like I said about the Packers over the Bears, they're a year ahead.
Yeah.
Stroud's a year ahead of Anthony Richardson and the Colts. I think that although the Colts are the higher seed and they make the playoffs, I think the Texans are a more seasoned team ready to go by this point in the time. And I think, like I told you, remember, I think they win like their last 4 games, so they get hot before the postseason. They roll into the postseason and go into Indianapolis and upset the Colts and advance to the divisional round. And then I have my Browns beating the Dolphins, but the reason why is because the Dolphins got to go to Cleveland in January. And it's going to be cold as shit out there in January. It's going to be an ugly game. I think that one will be like 17-9. It's going to be one of those ugly, nasty, unwatchable football games that feels like it's in 1991, but the Browns survive, beat the Dolphins, and send them packing back to Miami. Those are my wild card winners. Who are yours, Trevor?
All right, so my wild card round starts off with the number 2 Ravens facing off against the number 7 seed Dolphins. They'll be the 7 seed, or they're the 6 seed last year, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
7
Not
seed,
according to the Chiefs ring.
I know, that's why I got confused for a second right there. I had to think about that. But yeah, 7 seed Dolphins are going into Baltimore to get beaten by the Ravens. The Ravens win that one. I have the 3 seed Jets facing the Bills in New York. And I had the Jets beating the Bills there. And then I have the 5th seed Bengals facing off against the 4th seed Jags, and the Bengals beat the Jags.
Yes. In the AFC divisional, Chiefs get off their bye week, nice and rested, ready to go. They've had a couple weeks off, in fact.
Yep.
And this is a matchup that people have been looking forward for a long time. Patrick Mahomes versus C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud comes to Kansas City to see, and this again. This is me building a scenario of the Texans coming here on a 5-game winning streak, the Chiefs coming off a lot of rest. This is a game, Trevor, where I think the Texans push the Chiefs to the brink, but the Chiefs end up pulling this one out. It's like a 27-24 kind of game. Chiefs beat the Texans at home in the AFC divisional and advance to the AFC championship. What is that, for the 8th straight time, for the 7th straight time?
Yeah.
And then the second game, I have Jets and Browns. This is going to be a real tough game because both defenses are very tough, and I believe in both these teams. And like I told you, I think they're built very similar. But because of the fact that I think the Jets have the quarterback advantage,
yes,
and I think Aaron Rodgers will be healthy, I think he finally gets the monkey off his back and gets back to 500 in his postseason career.
They have the offensive weapons, period, in general.
But you know,
the upside of
he's had a lot of tragedies lately in the postseason.
Yeah,
I think he gets that monkey off his back, finally wins another postseason game.
Yeah,
and I think that you're going to see. Well, he already won one against the Jaguars, but he wins back-to-back, gets to 12-11 in his postseason career, and advances to the AFC Championship.
I like it. So in my divisional round, I had the Chiefs coming off the bye, facing the Bengals. We get that matchup once again, so you know the drama is going to be high, the shit talk's going to be high, the bulletin board material is going to be pinned up, and I cannot wait. I had the Chiefs beating the Bengals coming off that bye, as we should all expect that would happen. And I had the Jets facing the Ravens, and I had the Jets beating the Ravens and going all into the AFC Championship game.
So they go into Baltimore and beat them?
No, I had the. Oh yeah. They go into the So because the Jets are the 3rd seed and the Ravens are the 2nd seed, so they go into Baltimore and win that game.
Not that it shocks me. The Ravens.
It's gonna be one of those nasty grind out games, and I just think Aaron Rodgers is gonna just have the better end, and I think the ball's gonna be in his hand probably in the last few minutes, and he goes out there and wins the game.
Sure.
Yeah.
So the AFC Championship, Chiefs are hosting the Jets. We finally get our Patrick Mahomes versus Aaron Rodgers matchup.
Oh, look at us, dude.
Trevor and I did not talk about this.
This is crazy, dude. This is so
We
crazy.
did not talk about this before the show. This is all fresh. We did not know. I did not know Trevor's picks. He did not know mine. You guys saw we were disagreeing the whole damn show.
Yeah, we ended up with the same results.
And we ended up with the same damn. Yeah, this is amazing.
Crazy.
So look. I built up the Jets in this whole matchup. I'm coming into this matchup. I think that they are a worthy opponent. I think they're going to come into this game feeling great about themselves because they know they have a guy that is very, very similar to Patrick Mahomes, at least from a stylistic standpoint.
Finally going to get the matchup.
Aaron is going to feel great about this, because he's, like I said, he feels like he's just as good. He's won 4 MVPs.
Yeah.
This is his last real shot. And this is going to be one of those games, Trevor, where I think the Jets fall flat. I'm not trying to downgrade. This is going to be
a lot of pressure, man.
Yes,
back-to-back.
There's going to be such a disadvantage at coaching in this game, and I like Robert Saleh too, but there's going to be such a Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid have been in this game so many times now, and Andy Reid knowing what to bring, and Robert Saleh knowing what to bring, or Steve Spagnuolo knowing what to bring in this game. I think it's going to. I hate to sound disrespectful because I don't want to be anticlimactic about this matchup, but I don't think it's going to really matter about Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. I think it's going to be a master class from Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo, where they have
Let's go.
they shut Aaron Rodgers down.
Yeah,
I'm so I really think it's going to be more about what the coaching staff does.
I'm right there with you, dude.
And I think the Chiefs get this one done. I'm going to pick. If I had to pick a score right now, I'm going to say it's going to be 24-14, something like that, where you don't feel like the Jets ever really had a shot. It's a lot further apart than it actually was.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs advance to the Super Bowl one more time, and then you have the Chiefs and Rams in the Super Bowl. Trevor, your AFC.
So I also have the Chiefs facing up against the Jets. We're finally going to get the matchup that we've all wanted for a decade now. It feels like Aaron Rodgers facing against Patrick Mahomes. 2 eerily similar skilled guys in the way they play the game. This is a Chris Jones legacy game to me. This is one of those games where obviously he's had numerous legacy games in the postseason and throughout his career in the regular season. This is just one of those games where Chris Jones just lays it all out there and gets after Aaron Rodgers, makes his whole night a living hell. And I like I said, I'm right there with you. Like, this is more of a coaching battle. This is them getting the best of Robert Saleh and situational football. And Chris Jones, I think, has a magnificent game in this one, and has a couple sacks on Aaron Rodgers and just bats a couple balls and just gets in his face all night because that offensive line is not good enough to keep him out of that backfield. Right. I think Chris Jones is going to wreak havoc against them and have one of those Chris Jones games and solidify his legacy as not only a Chief but a first ballot Hall of Famer. Yeah, that's where I think Pat's going to be good enough. Obviously, I don't think he's going to need to be an absolute great performance from him and to win this game. But I think this is a defensive game where our defense really shows up in this one. It makes Aaron Rodgers' night very, very long. And stopping Garrett Wilson is definitely a challenge. And then trying to stifle the talent of Breece Hall is another challenge in itself as well. But I think this defensive line shows up in this one as Spag coaches his ass off. So I like the Chiefs over the Jets in that one.
I like it. Then we have our Super Bowl 59 matchup. We go from having Patrick Mahomes and the
rematch, one of the
matchup.
best games of all time.
Yeah, well, so here's the thing. We sit here and talk about how Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers, this matchup should have happened a long time ago, and something always happened where last minute where it kept us from having it. Well, if you think about this Super Bowl matchup, this should have happened a long time ago too.
Yeah, man.
Chiefs should have played the Rams in 2018, and probably should have played the Rams in 2021 as well. Well, this third time's a charm. I'm telling you guys right now, this is what's going to be the Super Bowl matchup this time around. We go from one historical gunslinging matchup from Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers to another between Patrick Mahomes and Matt Stafford. We're talking about a Hall of Fame matchup versus Hall of Fame matchup. And Matt Stafford and Patrick Mahomes are going to light this one up. I actually like the Rams to put up some points in this game. I'm not saying they're going to put up like 30 or anything like that, but I think they're going to score first. They're going to draw first blood. I think they're going to feel good about themselves in this matchup. I think they're going to understand the severity of how this might be their last chance to do it with Matt Stafford. So the desperation is going to be there as well. This team's going to be cooking on all cylinders. The Chiefs secondary might struggle a little bit against the power of the wide receiver room of the Rams, knowing that they have to protect the middle of the field as well with Kyron Williams there. Matt Stafford's accuracy downfield. It's going to be really tough for the Chiefs, and I think the Chiefs are going to go into the second half trailing. But this is going to be, and I know
Per usual.
I know it sounds like we're talking about the same movie over and over again, but this is one of those, it's going to be one of those games where someone's going to say, that guy should have won MVP, or that guy should have won MVP. But the reason why Patrick Mahomes wins Super Bowl MVP again is because in the latter moments of this game, he's going to rise to the occasion, and he's going to rise to the occasion, and he's going to win this bitch for the Chiefs again. And before he turns 30, this man's going to have 4 Super Bowl wins. And it's going to be against a team that has a coach that is right on lockstep with Andy Reid as far as where his projections are going. And Matt Stafford, a guy that Patrick Mahomes was compared to before he came out of college. The irony of taking on Aaron Rodgers and then Matt Stafford right after that is a storybook that I just cannot wait for this to take place, and I really believe it's going to take place. And I think this is going to solidify Patrick Mahomes' GOAT status because he's going to win 3 in a row, and he's going to have another significant journey to the Super Bowl like he did last year. It's obviously a little bit less difficult because of the fact you're not on the road in the games like he did last year with a much better wide receiver room. But if you look at the quarterbacks he's going to have to take on, it's going to be a much different scenario. So I have the Chiefs winning Super Bowl 59, and I have them winning this game by a field goal in total. And I think that the Rams are going to give them one hell of a game. And I think it's going to be one of those classic Super Bowls, man, where it's a back and forth. Like I said, the Chiefs look like they might lose it. The Rams look like they're going to lose it or win it. And then Patrick Mahomes comes through at the end and scores like 10 unanswered points with like 8 minutes left. That's how I think it's going to go.
Yeah, I mean, you stole my thunder a little bit. We're right here, dude. The playoffs is crazy. Like, I know we had our differences throughout the divisionals, but I mean, yeah, I have a shootout. I have a shootout in the Super Bowl. I have the Chiefs winning 31-27.
Nice.
I have this game being. I think we trail at half per usual, like we do. I kind of want that to happen because it tends to work out in our favor. The odds is so strange. So if the Chiefs are down at half and the odds are we're in the we're plus money, just put all your savings on it.
Yep.
Just do it because this is what happens. So I think the Rams start off really hot as well. I think Stafford's going to have a great game. But I think there will be maybe a costly Stafford turnover or a fumble by somebody. I think something like that happens, and that happens with the Chiefs in these games. We smell blood. Somebody makes a mistake, and then we don't look back.
Right.
And we take over the game in second half, and that's how it happens. I mean, the reverse happened, years ago against the Bengals in that second half when they beat us because we started having turnovers and we lost the turnover battle. But something's going to happen in this game where it just flips the switch and Patrick Mahomes, throws that cape on and does what he does, makes a crazy play to put us up by 4 to win the game on a last-minute drive. I think we win in the last minute against the Rams, and I think the Rams and Chiefs just didn't have classics, right? So why would I expect any less? I think this is going to be a shootout. Chiefs 31-27.
Love it.
Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl MVP.
There we go. And then we're going to get to our regular season awards real quick. We have so MVP. I have Matt Stafford, and I have oh God, I had another MVP candidate. And Anthony Richardson as my 2 MVP candidates. Unfortunately, those guys still play in the league with Patrick Mahomes. And I think with Patrick Mahomes having a souped-up version of their wide receiver room from 2022 this time around, I just don't see how Patrick Mahomes doesn't throw for at least 35 to 40 touchdowns this season. I think he's going to throw for well over, because last season he had the worst wide receiver room arguably in the league, still threw for over 4,100 yards and 27 touchdowns. If you give him 3 better pieces than from a year ago, and you bring him back Juju Smith-Schuster on top of that,
yep.
I think that Patrick Mahomes is going to throw for at least another 5 to 10 touchdowns, and I think he's going to throw for at least 500 to 600 more yards. And I know that Isaiah Pacheco is going to have a big season from the backfield. I definitely think that. But I think Isaiah Pacheco is also going to be catching the ball out of the backfield as well. So we're looking for that to make it more of that 2018 style of offense the Chiefs like to run, with Kareem Hunt run those wheel routes. I think Isaiah Pacheco is going to add that to his game. I think Isaiah Pacheco is actually going to have a career year this year.
I agree.
My offensive player of the year. Well, actually, you know what, Trevor? Let me get your MVP. I'm sorry.
My MVP is Patrick Mahomes this year.
Okay.
And the candidates are Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, and Dak Prescott.
Okay.
Yeah. So all the division-winning quarterbacks, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think Aaron Rodgers has a great year this year. Like I told you, I think he throws a lot of touchdowns. But Patrick Mahomes, I think, is going to have one of his best offensive career seasons of his career this year, especially coming off the lull of last year and not having fun. I think this year's going to be a lot of fun. I think he wins MVP.
My offensive player of the year is a guy that I'm massively big on this year. I think he's going to establish himself as the best overall running back in the league this year, and that is Bijan Robinson. I think Bijan Robinson's going to have 15 to 1,600 total yards, at least 15 to 1,600 total yards. Yeah. And I'm talking about 10 to 17, 18 touchdowns. Anywhere in that area. I think this dude is going to set some marks this year. I think he's going to show the world because Christian McCaffrey's still around. Jonathan Taylor's going to have another big bounce back year. Saquon Barkley, all those guys are still all around. But I just think that Bijan Robinson's coming into that form. He finally has a quarterback that knows how to utilize in a complete offense. Raheem Morris, like I said, seasoned veteran head coach now, going to come in here and on that turf against those that conference or that division. I think Bijan's going to have some monster games, and I definitely think Bijan's going to win Offensive Player of the Year. Who's yours?
I like that. That's a great pick, a great bet for that. The award. I feel the same way for almost the exact same reasons for Breece Hall. I think Breece Hall this year is destined to have a massive year as long as he stays healthy. The guy is a freak. I think Aaron Rodgers, he loves to throw to his running backs, and I think that the offensive line did get improved. They improved and they brought some new bodies in there, so I think they'll have more running capabilities. And I think this Jets team is going to be awesome. I think this offense is going to be much improved, especially with Aaron Rodgers at the helm.
Yep.
So if all plays well and Aaron Rodgers is healthy and Breece stays healthy, I think he has a great shot at winning Offensive Player of the Year, and that's my pick.
My Defensive Player of the Year, this is a tough one because I think there's going to be a lot of guys who are going to be in this. I almost went with Myles Garrett, which is always a safe pick, especially with me being as big with the Browns as I am.
Yep.
But I'm actually going to go with Aiden Hutchinson.
Okay.
I think Aiden Hutchinson showed at the very end of the season how explosive and nasty this dude's going to be in his career.
Good, bro.
He had 13.5 sacks last year.
Yeah.
I think he's going to flirt with 20.
Yeah.
I think he's going to flirt with 20 sacks this year. I think he's going to be a TJ Watt type of player. And I just think he's a specimen. He's a freak athlete. With the way the Lions are, I'm expecting him to play this year. They're going to get a lot of, obviously, everyone's going to be paying attention to them. And he's going to have some of those 2-3 sack games, making big differences on the defensive side of things, winning games for them sometimes if their offense isn't clicking like it should. I like Aiden Hutchinson to win Defensive Player of the Year this year.
Yeah, I'm going with Micah Parsons, man. I'm big on the Cowboys this year. I think that he has, because he had a down year last year. He was dealing with a lot of nagging injuries, which he has in his career. But I think Micah Parsons, this is a kind of a reminder season for him. Come out here and remind people I'm that dude. Micah Parsons is that dude. He's one of the most versatile, if not the most versatile defensive player in the league. Right. The dude can be played from used in so many different ways. He's insane. So I think this is him to reestablishing himself as that guy again. And he has that respect amongst the league. I just think he needs to go out there and kind of prove it again. I think this is the year he does it. Micah Parsons is my guy for Defensive Player of the Year.
I like it. Then we go to Offensive Rookie of the Year. Look. There's gonna be candidates. You have your Marvin Harrisons. You have your Marvin Harrisons, your Jaden Daniels, guys like that.
Yeah, Brian Thomas.
They all deserve to be in it.
Yep.
Caleb Williams is winning this award. I think Caleb Williams is gonna put himself on the map quickly, immediately. He's gonna be what Patrick Mahomes would have been in his rookie year. I'm being serious. Patrick Mahomes probably would have had some turnovers, and Caleb will have turnovers. But I'm expecting Caleb Williams to throw for 4,300 yards, 27, 28 touchdowns, probably 14, 15 picks. But he's gonna win his team a lot of games this year. The weapons he has around him and he would be an abject failure if he doesn't put up those types of numbers with the weapons he has in there alone. Not only mention the fact that this dude's got supreme talent. I love Caleb's game. I'm so big on him this year. Like I said, playoff team, playoff quarterback, and I think because he gets in the playoffs, because he has the production, because he has all the expectations, it's going to win him this award closing it out. It's going to.
So you think he's better than C.J. Stroud was last year?
Yes,
man,
I do. I think he will be a better quarterback.
He's set up far better than CJ. CJ is overachieved.
He's more talented than CJ Stroud.
Yeah, for sure. All that being said, I am a little more down on the Bears than most. I would say I'm not down on Caleb Williams. I love that kid. I love everything about him. He doesn't give a fuck, and I love guys like that. That's why I love Aaron Rodgers. I love guys that are just they're themselves no matter what, whether you like it or not. So I love him, and I think he's going to be incredible for a long time. But this year, I think it's going to be an introductory season. I think he's going to have some ups and downs, and I don't think he gets this award, actually. I'm giving it to Malik Neighbors. I think Malik Neighbors has a high chance to break the receptions and yards rookie record. I think he's going to be the centerpiece of that offense. It's not a good offense at all, but I think the volume is going to be there, and I think he's going to be the reason I'm semi okay with the Giants as a decent team this year. pushing for almost a 500 record. I think Malik Neighbors is that good. I think he's going to be the best rookie receiver in the league this year. And I think I think he could push for Justin Jefferson's rookie records, and have a chance to break all those records as a rookie receiver this year. So I'm gonna give it to Malik Neighbors.
All right, defensive rookie of the year. Look, I almost went with all the favorites that everyone goes with, but I actually stretched out a little bit on this one because again, I'm big on the Colts this year, and because of that, I think they're gonna have to have somebody on the defense side that makes some big differences. And I like Latu. I think this kid.
Hell yeah, dude.
Look, edge rusher, nasty player. I think he's gonna be a great player no matter what.
They drafted
whether
well,
wins
man.
this one or not.
Yeah.
But I think he's gonna be a standout that's gonna shock a lot of people. That dude had 13 sacks in his rookie season. That's the kind of guy I think he's gonna be. So I got Latu, and plus his name's just cool. So I'm gonna go with that guy. I'm gonna say Latu wins it.
I like the Vikings more than you, more than most. I'm not scared off by the quarterback situation over there as much as everybody is, and I'm also very intrigued by the way they drafted this in this year's draft. And my favorite pick of them was obviously Dallas Turner. I think that kid is destined to be great in this league as long as he stays healthy. I love the talent. He's a fierce competitor. He's going to get after the quarterbacks. And you talk about another guy that could possibly have, pushing for 10, 11 sacks is this guy as well. So I really love him, and I love the fit for that scheme. So that's a scheme that loves to blitz, right? So they're going to be sending that kid all day, and I love Dallas Turner's abilities to bend around the edge and beat tackles. So I think he's going to have a really good year, and that's my pick for defensive rookie of the year, man.
Look, it's simple and plain when it comes to comeback player of the year.
Yeah.
If the Jets do what I'm expecting them to do, Aaron Rodgers is going to win this hands down. If they don't, and let's say the Bengals play well, then Joe's going to win it. Joe Burrow's going to win it.
Kirk Cousins should be up there too.
Kirk Cousins should definitely be up there. I agree.
Yeah.
But I just think those two guys would have it above him if everything goes as expected.
Sure.
And I think that Aaron's getting my vote. I think Aaron's going to win this award because of the fact that you had four plays and he's gone, and a lost season, and he come back and he's exactly what they expected him to be, and if not more. I think it's a slam dunk. You give it to Aaron Rodgers. So he's got my comeback player of the year.
Yeah, I mean he was second in my MVP candidacy. So I already obviously think highly of my guy Aaron Rodgers this season, and I think he's a no-brainer for this pick here. I think I think they're going to win this division. I think they're going to be in the AFC Championship with the Chiefs, and I think they're going to be a great team this year. I think he's going to throw 30-plus touchdowns, and I think he's easily going to win this. I think this is a layup. So Aaron Rodgers for comeback player of the year for sure.
And then finally, my final award, Coach of the Year. You guys know that I've been consistent. I'm big on the Colts this year. I think they win the AFC South. I'm a huge Shane Steichen guy. I think that he should have been in contention for it last year, winning 9 games with a backup quarterback when no one expected him to in his first year as a head coach. Second year, he ain't fucking around, dude. He's going to win his division. Anthony Richards is going to be an MVP candidate, and Shane Steichen's going to finally get his due. People are going to start finally recognizing this man for an offensive genius that he is. I have Shane Steichen winning Coach of the Year.
Yeah, I like this is like the toughest one to pick because there's so many great coaches in this league, man, and there's so many good situations going into this year with the young quarterbacks and what these guys could do with these young quarterbacks. But I'm going with the veteran quarterback and the veteran coach. I like Robert Saleh as Coach of the Year this year. I think.
Wouldn't that set people off?
I mean, listen, I love it, man. I don't give it. I think I love Robert Saleh. I like a guy that speaks his mind. Yep. I like the Dan Campbells. I like those kind of guys. They're uncensored, and I like that. And I think he's a great pairing with Aaron Rodgers. I think they go well together. I think they're going to dominate this year. I think they're going to kill that division. They could. I had them winning 12 games. So they could win 13-14. I would not be surprised. I think this team is ready to win right now. If Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, it's going to put Saleh in a great position to win a lot of games, and I think that's going to pump him up to be. Obviously, Andy Reid is the best coach of football. There's no debating that, but he's never going to win that award anymore for some reason. So if I have to go with the second best coach in this league, it's Robert Saleh. I don't think he's the second best coach in this league, but I think as far as how this voting goes and how it's going to go with the hype of Aaron Rodgers coming back and all those things, I just think the Jets can be a sexy team this year and fun to go for. I think Robert Saleh has a great chance of winning, and that's my pick.
Yep, I like it. So, well, let us know, guys. That is our full slate of predictions. Now we've finally gotten through all of them. Go, Trevor.
I do have some Chiefs predictions. I don't know if you had any personal Chiefs.
Go.
I do have Rashee Rice to lead the team in both reception and yards.
Okay.
Over receptions over Travis Kelce. So I think Rashee Rice has like a massive breakout year this year, second year. I think he semi broke out last year already, but I think he takes that and runs with it literally and figuratively. I think he leads the team in both receptions and yards this year, barring a suspension or an injury. Pacheco to score 10-plus touchdowns on the ground. I think that's rushing. I think he can score a few receiving too. I think he's going to receive some, have some more receiving chops this season as well. I think he's lightened up a little bit. He's a little faster, a little lighter. I think they did that so he could receive more. The Samaje P. Ryan thing kind of throws a wrench in that a little bit. but I still love him this year to score 10 on the ground. I think Isaiah is going to pop off this year. George Karlaftis to lead this team in sacks. I predicted that last year. It didn't go my way, but I think heading into this year, I think he's looked really good in the preseason. Heard a lot of great things about him in camp. He just continues to take strides as who he is. So I think he's got a great opportunity to do that. And then Patrick Mahomes to lead the league in passing yards and touchdowns.
I like it.
I think Patrick Mahomes will actually go nuclear this year.
Oh,
so those are my personal Chiefs picks.
Those are good picks.
Yeah.
I'll be posting mine throughout this week before the game against the Ravens, and what I'm actually going to give a full breakdown. I do this every year, where I give every notable player. I'm not going to go to Noah Gray, but like every notable player, I'm going to give you guys their actual predictions.
Okay.
So be looking for that at Lance the Spoken, not Black Shirt Guy. That's not my name. So
there's a name attached to that.
Yeah, I wanted to get that out there. Speaking of that, I wanted to actually reply to some of these real quick because I've been seeing the chat's been really active.
It's been active as hell.
Yeah, and I love that. I really do. That's what we're here for. That's what we want to see. I did find it funny, though, because it looks like we do have a Ravens guy in here, Aaron Butler.
Welcome.
Thanks for chiming in as much as you have, man. Really do appreciate it. A couple of things. You saw that you were calling me out about what I was saying about how the Ravens have had up and down years. That's 100% the truth, Aaron. And I'm not talking about just the regular season. I'm talking about the fact that this is a franchise that more times than not is successful. That's why they get the attention and praise that they do from us in particular here in Kansas City.
Yep.
They had the number one seed last year, as we all know. But what is the problem, especially in the Lamar era, about this team? What is the biggest problem this team has? Is that your worst game is always the last game. That's the problem. And this is why I talk about up and down years. Yes, the injury year, you can't really hold that against Lamar. You guys obviously missed the playoffs. That was a problem. I'm talking about the fact that there's a constant up and fluctuation about where you guys are seated as well. Because you look at the way you guys were the number one seed, I believe it was in 2019 when Lamar won his first MVP, and then 4 years go by, you never get the one seed again. Then you get it last year. You finally get a chance to beat Patrick Mahomes in Baltimore, and you squander that one, even though the Chiefs only scored 17 points. You get mad at me and say I'm making things up and say that I'm falsifying information. None of that's everything I just said is factual. And everything I just said about the Ravens is factual when it comes to the disappointment they normally are.
Yep.
When you have a two-time MVP as your quarterback, you should have gotten to at least one Super Bowl by now. And you didn't. And you haven't. And I don't expect it to ever happen because Lamar is a perennial playoff choke artist. That's just who he is. And I love Lamar. I'm a big Lamar Jackson fan. But you saw that interception in the end of the game to Deion Bush. Deion Bush didn't make the Chiefs this year. So that should tell you what's going on over here, man, the difference between these two franchises. You bring up the Browns, and you talk about how I said that the Browns have played well against the Ravens. I'm talking about recently, not historically. That doesn't make sense to talk about throughout the entire history. Yeah. What relevance does that have? Yeah, the Ravens are 36-14 against the Browns. That's because the Browns are a shit franchise. They've finally started to become good over the last 3 or 4 years. Ironically, they've won 3 of their last 5 games against the Ravens. Again, didn't make that up. So you get mad at somebody, just get mad at the fact that your Ravens play bad against your own division sometimes. That's why I'm not big on the Ravens this year. Well, could the Ravens prove me wrong? Sure. Because John Harbaugh's a great head coach. Lamar Jackson's going to make the Hall of Fame one day, and they have a good team. But I think there are teams in your division that, if healthy, can overcome them. You know why? Because they have at times. And that's just how I feel about it. So until the Ravens can start actually putting together playoff prominence and putting the fear into teams like, I don't know, the Chiefs, then I'm not going to give you guys this profound respect as if you guys are just penciled in to win your division every year, because that's not how it goes. Even if you guys have the most electrifying, most exciting player in the league. How does that bode? Is that boded well in the postseason? No. You have 2 playoff wins in 6 seasons. So get better at the postseason, win your division more consistently, and then we can have this conversation. Just wanted to drop that in there. Anyway, so let's get to, speaking of, Trevor, we have a Ravens game coming up on Thursday. The Ravens are coming to Kansas City, and I want to talk about how much I'm enjoying this matchup and how this is the perfect matchup for the Chiefs in week 1. And I'm going to explain why real quick, Trevor.
Yeah, let's go.
Obviously, the Ravens are a team that people are expecting to make the playoffs. The guy sitting across from me thinks that they're going to be a highly touted team this year in back-to-back years. Me, not so much. Biggest reason why. Mental game. Imagine losing your AFC Championship game at home to the Chiefs, and the next game you get to play, you go back to the Chiefs' house and watch them drop a banner. That's got to hurt. And that's what's going to happen for the Baltimore Ravens in this game. Not to mention the fact that it's happening in week 1, like I said, banner night, and all these different adjustments the Ravens are going to have to make up immediately if they want to win a game like this against the Chiefs. Losing the pieces the Ravens have, whether anybody wants to acknowledge it or not, is severely difficult to overcome. Yes, you have your GM. Yes, you have your head coach. And yes, you have your quarterback. But you have lost significant pieces this offseason on both sides of the ball, both in coaching staff and on the field. That's a lot to overcome, especially when you're coming into a matchup like this. Now, the Chiefs are missing Hollywood Brown. They don't have 𝚂𝙾𝙾 anymore. These are things that people could say are legitimate problems. But what the Chiefs did is they filled those positions up. That if a Hollywood Brown was to get injured, guess what? You have 2 or 3 other guys that can fill that role for any given basis, for any given time. 𝚂𝙾𝙾, a 4th-round pick, who ended up becoming an awesome player, but the Chiefs didn't want to pay him on purpose. Why? Because 1, they didn't think 𝚂𝙾𝙾 was worth it due to his health concerns and his age, and 2, positional value in Kansas City, you don't pay cornerbacks. Why? Because Brett Veach drafts the living shit out of it. And he did that again this year, so much so they were cutting guys they drafted this year. Kamal Hadd didn't make the roster. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he signed with the Panthers or somebody this week. So the point is, this team, the Chiefs, although are going to be missing pieces they had last year, are missing guys they brought in this year to contribute this year in this matchup, are already loaded at those positions and are already ready to go at those positions week 1. And again, the vibes, I'm big on vibes, bro. Coming into this game, it's way different than week 1 last year when they dropped the banner, because you knew Travis Kelce wasn't there. You knew that Chris Jones wasn't there with the negotiations of his contract, even though weirdly enough, he's sitting in the stands. It was a very weird game. Oh yeah, and Kadarius Toney was still on this roster. Well, none of that's happening. And the only thing that's happening this time is a banner's being dropped again. And the Chiefs are going for a 3-peat. And the house is going to be electric. And you'll have Travis Kelce on the field. You'll have Chris Jones on that field. You'll have Patrick Mahomes out there feeling as good as he's felt in a couple of years, because he said himself last year wasn't fun. And I think it's amazing that the NFL gave the Chiefs the Ravens to start this one out, because the Chiefs don't get no breaks. They ain't facing the Panthers week 1.
Right.
They have to come into this game knowing they got a formidable opponent coming in here that's got a sour taste in their mouth. They're going to be pissed off. They got to watch that banner drop. You don't think Lamar Jackson's going to come in here and try to beat every bit of their ass? You better believe Lamar's going to come in here wanting blood. You better believe John Harbaugh's going to want to come in here wanting blood. But the problem for John Harbaugh is he comes from a certain coaching tree known as the Andy Reid tree. And what does Andy Reid do against his assistants, Trevor? He whoops their ass. Beats the living shit out of them.
What does Andy Reid do in week 1s?
What's he doing in week 1s?
I mean, last year was an anomaly because we didn't have 2 of our best players on our team. But
and not to jump too far ahead, because I want to get your thoughts on this morning, because I feel like I talk the whole damn show. Probably all you guys do too. Fuck you. But the Chiefs come into this game, obviously the favorites.
Yep.
They have it as a 46.5 over under. I feel so good about this game, man. For the Chiefs, I'm not expecting them to come in here looking like mid-season form. But I expect the Chiefs team that we haven't seen since 2020. And ironically, in 2020, what did the Chiefs do in week 1? They beat the shit out of a Texans team that a lot of people had expectations for that year. Yeah. They beat them 34-20. I'm not expecting the Chiefs to beat the Ravens 34-20. But what I am expecting to see is a Chiefs team that's going to come out there looking to make a statement against a formidable opponent that they just beat in the AFC Championship to tell the world, look, we're here for this 3-peat. We're not going to come out here, shy, gun shy, just pulling punches here and there. No. This is a team, Trevor, that I think is eager and ready and hungry to show the NFL we are here. We're not leaving. We're going for this 3-peat. Y'all better strap in and get ready for us. We're not sitting here waiting for you. You better be waiting for us. And I think that's what the Chiefs are coming into this approach with, because I think they know the Ravens are. You better believe John Harbaugh's going to have that team coached up. You better believe he's going to come in here saying all the shit about, they're going to be mocking you guys on the field. They're going to be talking shit. You're going to have to watch that banner fall. That's a pride thing. This game's about pride.
Speaking of talking shit, we got Aaron Butler in the chat again. He said, Lance, I'll be there Thursday and Friday after the Ravens secondary lock up and lock down your sock wide receivers. Sock wide receivers, I mean, okay, so let's just revisit the most recent game. 34-year-old tight end, is he soft? Because he had 11 catches for 116 and a tutty on you guys.
Hey, Aaron.
So now we got Hollywood. Well, Hollywood Brown won't play, but now we got second-year Rashee Rice. I mean, I don't.
Oh, real quick. Let me ask a question. What was the final, the game-sealing play in the AFC Championship last year, Trevor? Oh, wasn't that MVS blowing by the Ravens' top-tier defense and catching that ball like 25, 30 yards down the field.
Yeah.
That was MVS, who had, 5-6 drops last season. One of the worst receivers in the league, cost Chiefs multiple games.
Let alone Rashee Rice having 8 catches on that
Patrick
game as
Mahomes
well.
came into Baltimore with that wide receiver group and beat you.
30 for 39 on passing completions, too. 30 for 39, 241 passing yards.
We can do this all day, baby.
And a tutty.
We can do this all day. Yeah, feel good about your team. I'm happy for you. The Ravens are a good franchise.
Lamar had 17 incompletions.
Yeah, but that's the thing Spags does. He makes your quarterback throw the ball. He doesn't let Lamar dictate the game with his feet.
Yeah.
And look, you have Derrick Henry, one of my favorite players.
And there was only one quarterback. There was only one quarterback that had a turnover in that game too. So
yeah, and he threw it in the end zone at the end of the game.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm looking forward to this game. I think this can be a very fun game because, like I said, I think the Chiefs and Ravens are coming into this one looking for blood. And I think the Chiefs are not going to come in here looking to just ease their way into a victory. I think they're going to want to make a statement. And I think that's exactly what they're going to do in this, Trevor. What are your just outlooks of this game right now?
This is not a game the Chiefs lose. This is Andy Reid week 1 and coming off a bye. Andy Reid's preparation is like no other. I mean, this is what he does, right? I mean, I fully believe if we had Chris Jones and Travis Kelce healthy and even available in week 1 against the Lions last year, that would have been a different game. I fully believe that. And I think the track record proves. And I think this is going to be a different Patrick Mahomes this year, man. We watched a struggling Patrick Mahomes, just not having fun in his own head. No one to trust thoroughly outside of Travis Kelce, who was getting double, triple teamed the entire season. And Rashee Rice had a late breakout, but that started changing things a little bit. But there's going to be far more consistency, far more firepower in this offense. And Patrick Mahomes was doing his thing against the Ravens. We didn't score a lot of points against them in the last game, but Patrick Mahomes was doing his thing. He was dicing them up. Very, very efficient, and I think there's so much more upside for this offense against this Ravens defense that lost some pieces. You can talk about locking us up. I mean, I don't know who exactly you guys locked up last game. I mean, Travis Kelce, like I said, 34 years old, went out there and had an all-time game against you.
Hey, real quick, I don't want to stop you from I want you to keep going.
Yeah.
But we watched that game together, Trevor.
Yeah.
The Chiefs scored so quickly and so easily early in that game, and then they realized their defense was going to shut Lamar down the whole game. Didn't it feel like we don't need to be scoring a ton of points and put more on film in this game?
Yeah, I mean, outside of that one big Zay Flowers catch, the highlight of the Ravens offense that game was Lamar catching his own pass.
Right.
That was the highlight.
They could not move the ball.
That was like oh my God, he did that. And then that was like an accidental play was like your secondary highlight.
Right.
Okay. Listen, you could talk about you guys locking us up, but who got locked up more in the last game? Like weak receivers. Like I said, 34-year-old tight end went and lit you all up. Who do you got that's going to counter that? I'm just saying, there's no leverage here for Ravens fans, if we're being honest. I mean,
and he caught that touchdown against Kyle Hamilton, no less.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The guy that was supposed to lock him up. Like, come on, man. And I get it. I love Kyle Hamilton. The kid's a stud, but he locks damn near everybody else up. We're just different. You all need to bow down, and you're going to do it again when we drop these banners. It is what it is. This is just not a game the Chiefs lose. I like the Ravens. I like Lamar. I'm a big Lamar fan. I like this team. Obviously, I have y'all win in that division this year. I have nothing but respect for you guys. But this is just not a game we're gonna lose. I think Pat's gonna come out here and set the tone for this season.
Well, speaking of setting the tone, Trevor, let's go ahead and put the beautiful bean footage up there real quick of what Patrick Mahomes does against the Ravens as opposed to what Lamar does against the Chiefs.
Let's do it.
Would you look at that? So Patrick kind of dominates the Ravens in his career. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but that's his career numbers, including the playoffs against the Ravens. So soft wide receivers or not, Patrick Mahomes is going to get that ass.
Yeah, we're going to lock us up.
Yeah, lock it up.
Come on, man. Show some respect, bro.
I mean, yeah, we're trying to show as much respect as we can, bro. But when you know your franchise is our little brother, it's kind of hard not to be a little cocky about it, bro. When Patrick Mahomes puts up numbers like that, I mean, that looks like those were better numbers than he does against the Raiders. Literally, those are better numbers than what he puts up against the Raiders.
Yeah,
that's the franchise he owns more than anybody. So I just hope everybody understands this is what we're looking for in this game. I'm not saying Patrick's going to throw over 350, and 4 touchdowns, on the average. But if this happens, would it shock you, Trevor? If he goes out there and throws for 320 yards,
this is what I'm expecting. I'm expecting a big game from Mahomes. I think, like I said, he's going to lead the league in passing yards and touchdowns this year. I'm expecting Mahomes to go nuclear this year. Fully expect that. And all these weak ass receivers he's going to bring along with him. All right, so I'm looking forward to it.
And when it comes to this game and how much it means, like I said, it's a mental thing too, Trevor, because this game and what I believe is going to happen is why I have the Ravens missing the playoffs, because it's going to set their season off in discourse. So look at the second slide that I have here, Trevor, and look at the historic side of what this game matters to teams like this.
For the Ravens?
For the Ravens,
gotcha.
yes. So if you look, Yeah, look at right here, guys. This is from the historical side of things that I'm not making up. Again, people are telling me I'm making stuff. Black shirt guy making stuff up. Season openers since 2012 versus team you lost in the playoffs to. Would you look at it? You don't do so well. Don't do so well, do we? And that Broncos team that got the yes was a Broncos team that got to the Super Bowl. So I'm just saying, the historic side of things tells us, guys, this game's going to matter a fuck ton to the Ravens. They better win this game.
We should look at
that.
The
historics tells us that's not really going to be the case.
We should look at it in comparison to Andy Reid's success in Week 1's.
I mean, yeah, we definitely can do that just from his time in Kansas City.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? Like, we got to look. People can sit here and say that we're being homers. Guys, all I'm doing is stating the facts here.
Okay, yeah. I think this is the white flag. He's put in the white flag here, but he says, no excuses. Chiefs won, Ravens coming, but my talk is past don't count, but your past does. Ha, ha, ha. Listen, man, I don't know you. I don't know. I hope you come back and watch our show often. We appreciate the trash talk. We love it.
Yeah.
But
it's cute.
Yeah. I mean, but the Ravens coming, you have a 2-time MVP. Y'all have been coming. You just can't climax. You know what I mean? You can't get there. You continue to pull out and not finish. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Lamar's 28 years old.
This is what you guys do, bro.
You act like Lamar's like 22 years old, just like starting his career. Guys, Lamar is a veteran in this league. This is what, his 7th season?
Yeah, this is you guys have been a contender.
Guys,
you don't do it.
He's been a starter just as long as Patrick has been. Like, what are we doing here? Like, this is why I enjoy these conversations, because I like to contextualize things and put it into a format that's understandable for everybody to understand. Lamar Jackson has been a starter in this league since 2018. He has 2 playoff wins, and one of them was against Ryan Tannehill and the Tennessee Titans. Like, I'm just being real here.
Yeah.
No offense, but Patrick Mahomes has 15 playoff wins.
We do this.
And 3 Super Bowl victories.
We do this.
These 2 teams are not on the same tier, so I wish the Ravens nothing but the best this year. But coming into this matchup...
He said, black shirt guy, Ravens win by 20. Bro, put money on that.
Yeah.
Put money on that.
We'll put our Venmo in the chat real quick.
Put money on that,
you can send us...
Because you will win $0, but if you do win, I mean, my
Venmo is at Twidwell.
Put money on that, bro.
Be a man, and say that. Let's do it right now. Here it is.
Oh,
Venmo.
man.
Put it on there. You send us $20. If you send me $20 if you're wrong.
Let's go.
I love it. I love the confidence. Black shirt guy says, "Send me my money." That's what I'm asking for, bud. And I'll get the roar of the crowd behind me. Trust me.
Shout out to Aaron Butler though. He's 10 feet. He's 10 toes down, man. I appreciate you, bro. We appreciate this.
Black shirt guy is high on something. Damn right, bro. I got 3 Super Bowl victories in 5 years. If you ain't feeling good about this shit, I don't know what we're doing here, man. Like, this is the time we've been waiting for our whole lives, where other teams have to look up at us. Trust me when I say, man, it's been a middle tier existence for Trevor and I out here, man. Where we're just, the Chiefs have been that team that wins like 9-10 games a year and never wins shit, and we have to just kind of sit here and just be quiet. Our team finally gets that. Yeah, we finally get a chance to be that team, man. You damn right, I feel good, man. I'm high on this, knowing this team has a legit shot of winning 3 straight Super Bowls. No other team's done that before. What are we talking about, man? So yeah, I think this game is I know everyone was like, man, I wish they would have put this game in, for Week 1 for the Chiefs. I think this is the perfect matchup because, like I said, this is a team that Patrick Mahomes has owned his whole career, and this is a team that has to watch the banner drop after losing their home AFC Championship game to the Chiefs. That's such a mental. That's a mental overhaul for that team to overcome, man. Like, that's a lot on Lamar Jackson to overcome, and I think the Chiefs are going to be fired up as hell to put it on him again, man.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs win. I think Chiefs win by at least a touchdown, in my opinion. I think the Chiefs are just the better team, and we can talk about that good secondary of the Ravens. The secondary is pretty much the same from last year, cool, but our receiving core is far improved, so that should be a needle mover for us here and how this matchup goes, in my opinion. So,
well, that's where we stand on the Chiefs-Ravens matchup. Trevor, we've gone so damn long. I'm sure there's some questions.
3 hours and 7 minutes so far, my guy.
Let's just go ahead and just jump right into it, bro. What are the questions that people have, bro? I'm sure they'll tally up as we go, but what's going on in Speak It so far, man?
All right, so as of right now, unless we get some more, I got 7 questions for us right now from our guy Dustin Orton. Lance and Trev, I want to hear your season prediction for production from the Crocodile Fabio legend that is Steel. Carton Steel.
Well, look, I didn't have him making the team. He ended up making the team. I'm happy for him. Congratulations. Happy for his team. It's his family. It's awesome.
He's listed as RB2, by the way.
Yeah. Then they signed 𝚂𝙿𝙾𝙺𝙺, which I don't understand because it's like
I like that
you have Clyde, you have 𝚂𝙿𝙾.
No, we might not have Clyde, bro.
Well, I don't see any signs of them getting rid of him. But that's my point. I don't think that Carson Steele is going to get a lot of playing time in the offense. I think he's going to be a special
unless there's an
guy.
injury.
Yes.
I think he looks good, man. He ran like Kareem Hunt in a lot of ways.
And I'm going to give him his respect, but I also think that it was against a lot of backups. Sure. And yes, I think there will be games of, like, let's say like the Chiefs are playing the Panthers and they're up 24 points. You're going to see a lot of Carson Steele. But I think in big games, big moments, you're not seeing him on the offense. Andy Reid, you have to build trust with Andy Reid. And I don't think that the first season at least Carson Steele's going to be out there getting, 8, 9 touches in a game.
There might be some goal line situations where he comes in as like a fullback but in front of Pacheco or something like that. That'd be cool. But yeah.
I'm going to be, and this is going to offend some people, I think Carson Steele's going to have less than 100 rushing yards this season.
I mean, I don't expect much from him, honestly. I think he's more of like a break glass in case of emergency kind of situation. Sure. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I like the kid. I like his skill set and I like his toughness. I love guys.
It's a
like
great
that.
story. I love the story.
Honestly,
not hating.
We needed a guy like that. I was trying to go get Leonard Fournette. Like
they got 𝚂𝙺𝙾𝙺𝙺, who's a physical back.
Great pass protector. Yes. I think that's the main reason they brought him here, and a great pass catcher.
Best beard in the game.
He's McKinnon. That is the exact same role he's going to be. He's a great pass catcher.
Yes,
that's exactly, and that's what we needed. We needed another guy like that. And I love that signing. Dustin Orton. We will three-peat. The question is, will it be 20-0 or not?
Chiefs will not go undefeated.
That's damn near impossible nowadays, man. Especially with an extra game now, it's so tough.
Yeah, Chiefs will not go undefeated. It's not just because of me trying to be realistic. It's just it's the NFL and they have one extra game now. There's a reason why there's only been 2 teams in the history of the NFL that has gone undefeated into the postseason. It just doesn't happen, guys. So it's a very special thing. If it did happen, that'd be great. I don't envision that's going to happen. I think the Chiefs lose at least a couple of games.
Yeah. Shaggy Shane did throw in a nugget here. Said depth chart was just posted. CH is still the second string RB with Perrine as the third string.
Right.
Okay, they must have updated that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shane, for that update, man.
Thank you, bro.
Next question, G Pick. Hey, how about Hendershot, though? That tight end looks like a stud.
So, okay, I really like this signing. The biggest reason was a trade, I think. Yeah, traditional 6th, I think it was, they gave up. I like this because
it's an Andy Reid guy, right?
Yeah, what this basically tells me is they don't want to use Travis Kelce in the blocking game as much this year and wear him down. Hendershot's going to be one of those guys. And Noah Gray.
Special teamer.
I love Noah Gray, but he's not the best blocker in the world.
Right.
So you're going to have another depth piece. He's better than Irv Smith as far as what
Hendershot's mean. He's a dog.
He's going to be that guy that goes in there and blocks. So when Hendershot's on the field, more likely it's a run play. Yeah. So I like it because it's just an extension of the offensive line. And Hendershot, according to what I've seen and heard, is a really good blocking tight end. So I'm a fan of this move.
Yeah, me too. I like guys like that. I mean, I didn't really want to carry 4 tight ends. I didn't think that was going to happen. But
I didn't want to carry 7 wide receivers.
That's true. I like Hendershot, though. I've watched him. He's a good special teamer, too. He's a guy that can make plays in different ways and impact the team in different ways. And Andy Reid likes having those guys, and Dave Toub likes having those kind of guys. So I like it. Nicholas on X, do you think Juju will see an okay amount of playing time on Thursday?
Yes, he will. I expect Juju to play at least 15 games. Yeah. I'm going to say 15 snaps, 15 snaps, 15 to 20 snaps, primarily because of the fact that he's in shape and he knows the offense. If he was some guy that never played in this offense before, I'd say he probably plays a very limited role. I bet he plays up to 20 snaps, especially like you said, because of Hollywood Brown being out. And he's a veteran. He knows this offense inside and out. They're going to have a package for him. So yes, I fully expect Juju to play plenty in this game.
Next question is from Peter on YouTube. Was Bailey Zappi a smart move?
I mean, he's a practice squad acquisition.
Yeah.
He's got NFL experience far more than Olajuwon does.
He's had moments, too, where he's been a starter in this league at points. He's looked okay. He's also looked awful.
I definitely don't think it's a dumb move.
Yeah.
So it was a smart move, I guess.
It's a very neutral.
Yeah, this franchise doesn't make a lot of dumb moves. So I'm gonna say if I had to pick between the two, I would say it's a smart move. But more than anything, it's a guy that they saw that was available, that has NFL experience, and they picked him up.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Nothing sexy. I mean, he could be gone next year. No one would really notice. No offense. Shaggy Shay with a question. With Hendershot and Wiley being young studs to tutor from Kelce, where does Noah Gray fit?
Noah Gray fits in the third down schemes. I think that Noah Gray is a guy that's going to be – look, I've always had realistic expectations for a 5th-round tight end like Noah Gray. He's always been more of a receiving tight end. That's why they liked him out of Duke. But I think that he's a guy that is he's a limited guy that's going to get you a couple catches here and there. Patrick has trust with him. He's going to get 2-3 touchdowns a season. But I think he plays on the third down, go get 5-6 yards kind of guy. I think that's where he exists. He's going to play snaps. He's going to play in this offense. He's going to get receptions, but he's not going to be some big pivotal piece in the offense. That's still where Travis Kelce resides, and Jared Wiley's going to be the one that they're trying to bring up in that way. But we know what Noah Gray is now. Yeah. He's just, like I said, he's just a nice, conventional white receiving type of tight end that basically is the modern era tight end. That's what he is. He's like the average modern era tight end, and there's nothing wrong about that. So he'll just be a nice acquisition that the Chiefs have had since 2021.
Yeah, I mean, looking for another Travis Kelce is a tough task. I mean, he's one in a million, but I do think Jared Wiley is the future of this position for this team. I think Jared Wiley has a lot of promise, and his skill set is very similar to Travis Kelce's in the hip fluidity and his ability to make guys miss as a receiving tight end. So I think there's a lot of promise there. But Hendershot and Gray is more of a receiving tight end. That's definitely his skill set, but he just hasn't really panned out. He doesn't have much upside, if I'm being honest. He's very limited, and I think we know that. But Hendershot is just one of those dogs. He's come out there and just body guys, throw some nasty blocks, be really good on like the special team side of things too, because he's quick and he's big and he's strong. You need to have those kind of glue guys on this team that kind of do the dirty work. So I like the Hendershot signing. Michael Maldonado, is this the last chance for the Niners this year to win a championship? Because after this year, 6 players are over the cap of $20 million, and Purdy could be the second behind Dak for a $60 million QB contract. What do you think?
I definitely think so.
This is the year, man.
Yeah. That's why I have them where I have them in the postseason. I think that they're going to be a team that has a lot of pressure on them, more pressure than they've ever had on them before. Yeah. And I think it's going to be too much for them. And just with all the weird vibes they have around their franchise right now, with Trent Williams still not showing up. He's not even like holding in. He's holding out completely. He's not even been to camp. He's practicing elsewhere. I just think that it's going to be one of those years where it's just too much for them to handle, and they know what's on the horizon. They had their shot multiple times over the last 5 years, and they, quite frankly, squandered it, man. So that's what happens in the NFL sometimes. You don't capitalize, you got to start over.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. It's a lot of pressure, and I think I'm right there with you, Lance. I don't think it's going to pan out for them this year, man. I don't think this is it. I think things go awry. Next question from our guy James T. Kirk. Question: 90s players had no skills. Don't go there with Ant Edwards.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. What Anthony Edwards said was absolutely stupid.
Yeah,
I think
very hyperbolic.
What I wanted to know is if they took him out of context, and I went and listened to it. I was like, oh no, that's what he said.
He was he was feeling himself.
He sounded like an ignorant kid. But here, I will say this on the flip side. He sounded like old heads.
It's on the flip side. Yeah, you're right.
When I hear old heads always talking about, they don't play no defense no
Today's
more.
players are soft.
Oh yeah, man. LeBron couldn't hang him today. Back then,
that's the best one.
So hear me out when I say this. As stupid as that was, we all hear it, we roll our eyes. Realize that's what we have to do with a lot of you old heads too, bro. When we have to hear you guys at the barbershops talking that bullshit about stuff that is just factually incorrect and hyperbolic at best. So Anthony Edwards deserves an L for that, for sure. And we can give him one later if you guys need me to. But trust me when I say he only learned that from the best, because all the old heads be saying that shit about today's guys.
Same, yeah. I mean, he was definitely wrong for saying that. You don't say blanket statements like that, because there's some of the best players of all time in that era. So many talented players in that era. So I mean, those are the guys I grew up watching. You know what I mean? In late 80s, early 90s, early 2000s, those are like that's my childhood. So I have so much respect for the guys like, that era. So that's crazy talk. I do think today is far more talented than ever, but
you can still give credit to the guys back in the day.
There's greats in every generation for sure, and there were several greats in the 80s and 90s for sure. A lot of filler players, but there's a lot of great players there. Next one from our guy James T. Kirk. Honestly, we all respect Lamar and the Ravens, but I get tired of the hype. What's annoying more Ravens fans or Bengals fans?
I don't want to rank fan bases. I think they're both equally annoying because of the fact that neither one of them have really accomplished shit.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be real. I'm not even trying to talk shit. It's just that the Ravens have been the more accomplished franchise because they've actually won a Super Bowl here. They won 2 Super Bowls in their franchise history in a very short time, I might add, in 1996. But over the last several years with Lamar Jackson, which is supposed to be like that heyday era, they haven't won anything. They've gotten the 1 seed multiple times and have squandered it multiple times. And when it comes to the Bengals, they only capitalized because everything went right for them. Lamar went down that year. They barely won 10 games that season. Joe Burrow had, 5 touchdowns or 4 touchdowns in 5 games or 5 touchdowns in 4 games in the postseason. Rely on his defense to make big plays late in games. Patrick Mahomes had his only true meltdown of his career in that postseason. Like, everything went right for them, and they still couldn't win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, to me, it's equal, but I would say that I give the Ravens more respect because, like I said, at least their franchise can show that they have Lombardis. The Bengals are a franchise before Joe Burrow no one cared about, no one paid attention to. So it's just one of those things where, as a Chiefs fan now, with the amount of success that we've had over the last 6 years, I don't even really try to pay attention to it because they're not even on the same tier.
Agreed. Last question, and it makes all the sense to end off with this guy here, our guy Aaron Butler. Oh, he has your name down. So Lance and Trevor.
Thanks.
How much Chiefs winning by week 1? How many points Chiefs scoring roughly?
Chiefs -3. They cover the points. I'm not going to give a score yet. I will have that on Facebook and on Twitter, so go ahead and follow us there. I'm not the black shirt guy. I'm Lance Twiddle or at Lance the Spoken. But I do see the Chiefs covering the points. And I will say that I think that I'll say over on the points as well, 46.5. I think that the points will be higher than that. I think the Chiefs will score points in this game because I don't know how good the Ravens defense will be this season, especially so early on with a 32-year-old defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
He does sound promising. I do know that. This guy does sound promising, and the Ravens have been able to repatch their coordinators throughout the years, but that's a lot to ask coming into Kansas City with a revamped Chiefs offense and a defense that I think is going to be elite. I think the Chiefs defense is going to be elite again this year. But yeah, I would definitely say Chiefs -3 points right now.
I like the Chiefs -6.
You're teasing it, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think the Chiefs are going to score points. I think we can win by double digits personally. That's the bet I would probably make just to go for the money. But I like the Chiefs by 6. I think a couple field goals makes a lot of sense. I think that the Ravens are going to want to try to slow the game down. But I think the Chiefs are going to come out with a high-paced offense, and they're going to do some wild things. I think Pat's going to sling the ball all over the place. Travis Kelce simply just does what he does against the Ravens. If he has another big game, I'm not going to be surprised. This is what he does. That secondary of the Ravens does not scare me. It shouldn't because we have never really had many issues against them. Now where our offensive weapons are far better, and I think Pat has a good game. I think Lamar has a solid game as well. I think Derrick Henry could definitely score a touchdown, but I like the Chiefs to win by a couple scores, at least a couple field goals. So I'm taking a -6 in this one, but should be a competitive, good game, man, as it typically is. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
We'll see about that. So, you guys, I appreciate it. I don't know if we have any other questions or anything like that, Trevor.
We do have a Chiefs fan on YouTube. How many sacks do you think Cameron Thomas will have this season?
I'm not trying to dodge your question, but I'm not as focused on the sack total for him because I don't know if it's going to be a high number.
Yeah.
If I'm taking a wild stab, say 2.5, 3, something like that. But I'm looking more for him just making impact plays, getting pressure on the quarterback, things like that. He will be getting a lot of one-on-ones, obviously, because of Chris Jones, George Karlaftis, and guys like that getting the primary focus of the offensive lines. I will say, though, that what I'm looking forward to the most, though, is Cam Thomas just wrecking shop.
Yeah.
Just making noise, getting in the backfield, causing havoc, making a quarterback have to make a split decision faster than he would, normally. That's what I'm looking forward towards. I just think that's going to be the kind of guy he is. He may not end up getting the sacks. I think that's going to be more Karlaftis and Chris Jones' avenue, but I do think he will be a guy that's in the mix constantly, and it just fits the mold of the Spag style of defense. I think he's going to be a surprise this season that people are going to look back and go, damn, dude, Brett Veach got that dude like right before and like the 25th hour of the regular season starting up, and that's going to be what we talk about going into January and February, some of these surprise signings, and Cam will be definitely one of those guys.
We have one more question, too. It goes right in the same vein as that defensive question from Enrique A. Charand on X. Do either of you think the D will still be elite without Snead? I have concerns that the D-line can create pressure consistently.
Well, I think I've already answered this. I want to pass it to you, Trevor. What I will say real quick is this. Guys, Brett Veach has been the Chiefs GM since 2018. How many cornerbacks have the Chiefs paid in that time? None.
All right.
How many first-round cornerbacks have they taken? 1. And the Chiefs have won 3 of the last 5 Super Bowls, and the cornerback room has been one of their greatest strengths. So although L'Jarius Sneed, and I love L'Jarius Sneed, he had a baller season last year. He was unreal last season. I can't believe he didn't make an All-Pro last year. It's baffling. He was the best one-on-one corner in the league, and it wasn't close. But that is about the system more than the player. What they developed Snead into is what they will do again with another player. It's about certain assets and skill sets that a player has that Spags can access, and Dave Merritt for that credit. Dave Merritt doesn't get nearly as much credit as he deserves, the secondary coach for the Chiefs. The 49ers trying to make him the DC this year, deservingly so. That man is an absolute genius.
Yep.
Dave Merritt and Spags, what they do with that secondary, guys, I'm telling you, Chamari Connor, whoever else you want to name, they all have a legitimate shot of becoming the next L'Jarius Sneed, and I am not playing. That is all respect to who LJ
We're already
is.
talking about Chamari Connor playing corner, too.
I'm telling you guys, as disrespectful as this may sound right now, hear me out, because I know that it sounds disrespectful now, but in a year or two from now, it won't. We won't be talking about L'Jarius Sneed 6 months from now. We will not be. Yeah. We will be talking about the next guy that's playing right now that is the next dude. And then when that guy's gone, the next guy comes. For as long as Spags is the DC here in Kansas City, as long as this coaching staff is the way it's built, that's the way I view it. They don't have a need at cornerback because Spags builds a system that makes it easier for guys, regardless of where they're drafted or drafted at all. Shavarius Ward was a guy the Chiefs traded for that was an undrafted free agent, ended up getting a $40 million contract with the Niners.
Yeah.
Is one of the best corners in the league to this day. Brett Veach got that guy. They find these guys. And he's going to continue to find these guys. And Spags is going to continue to develop into that. So I know I just totally took it away from you, Trevor. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
But that's the way I see it, is that L'Jarius Sneed, although we will miss him being a part of the team because he was like one of the dudes.
Yeah.
You're not going to miss him on the field, guys. I am telling you right now, there might be some growing pains, but Sneed had growing pains too. We forget that in his rookie year, he only played 9 games. He had injury concerns throughout his entire career.
Yep.
That may not be the case for Chamari Connor. That may not be the case for the next guy. They may play better. They may be more available. And then we completely forget about L'Jarius Sneed, unfortunately. Yeah. But that's how it goes, guys. Somebody else comes along that plays better, is a better player. And that's what's going to happen here in Kansas City. So I understand the concerns because of how important he was for this team last season, but it's a new year. They've built this team again. They've rebuilt this defense, or retooling this defense, rather. Not rebuild. They've retooled it. Yep. And you're going to be happy with the results.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better, man. Thank you, Enrique, for the question. I do want to throw out there, Aaron Butler says, I say Chiefs don't score over 13. Ravens win by 17 points. Cool. Put some money on that and lose that money. I'm
gonna put my Venmo on here again, and I want you to double the money for that one now. So now it's $40. So you're gonna pay me $40 if you're wrong about that too. So here we go. Venmo.
Well, yeah, I mean, claiming something that is gonna happen that's never happened.
Here we go.
In the Patrick Mahomes era, the Ravens have never.
That's the Venmo.
I mean,
and I expect $40 to be in that deposit to be deposited that night. Do you think we'll forget? We're not going to forget.
People don't forget.
People don't forget.
Shaggy has a quick question for us, though. What is your favorite Mexican restaurant in KC?
Oh, dear God. Well,
I know mine.
Depends on what we're looking for. I mean,
my quick answer that came to my mind first was Nunez Foods out here in KCK on 18th Street. Shout out Nunez Foods.
Yeah.
We need sponsors, so if you want to sponsor the show. Man. I love your beer tacos. They're delicious.
I'm a big Bonito Mochocan guy.
Oh, for sure.
I love me some Bonito Mochocan. So I'm probably gonna go with them. And
Don Antonio's,
Taqueria's down there in Southwest Boulevard over there off Southwest. Yeah, man, it's
Nunez Foods is my typical.
Nunez is the shit though, dude.
Tiny little place on there on 18th Street, KCK.
Yep,
definitely check that out. They have fire tacos, man.
Yep,
fire, and they make like beer, ramen, and all that stuff too. So it's fire. So yeah, thank you, Shane, for now I'm hungry. Thank you, Shane, for that. Let's see if we got anything else. The disrespect. Everyone's giving Aaron the business right now.
Yes.
Listen, Aaron, it's cool, bro. We love this, bro. It's wishful thinking. We get it.
There's no hard feelings here, bro. Trust me. We're on cloud 15 over here, bro.
We love this. This is all the fun. No, but we have been going for almost 3.5 hours, so I think that is it for the questions, man. I appreciate it. The chat has been incredible. Shane, thanks for coming and chiming in, bro. Now I'm hungry. Thank you
guys. I'm going to say this right now. This is the best day we've had with the chat.
This is incredible, dude.
We've had incredible days.
Thank you, Aaron.
Aaron, you played your part. I can go down the list of all you James T. Kirk, Ruben DeCruz, Chiefs fan,
Michael Maldonado,
Shaggy, obviously, Michael Maldonado, Domicio.
Demisio.
I'm so sorry, bro. I butchered your name. Please forgive me. I'm so sorry. But Mr. Spence, he's on here. Aaron's on there. Like I said, HD Chiefs fan. I mean, the list goes on and on and on of all you guys that were part of it today, man. Thank you guys so much. Best day we've had on the chat by far.
Hey, and Enrique gives us, he says, Enrique Sharon, let me know if I'm saying that. I hope I'm saying that right. Sharon Have to put a plug in for my family's restaurant at Southwest Boulevard. That's where all the best restaurants are, Mexican spots.
Yeah, where?
La Fonda El Taquito.
Love that place.
Been around for 45 years. Then came Asada Tacos.
Dude, that's your
and
people?
we are known for our carnitas.
Bruh.
Shout out.
Let us know when you're there next time, bro. We'll come meet you up, bro, and we'll go have some tacos with you because I love La Fondas, bro. That place is fire as hell.
Let's go.
Tell your family, whatever you guys have been doing for the last 4.5 decades, keep that shit going. You guys have some of the best food in the town, bro. Everybody knows Kansas City is barbecue. Trust me when I say we have some of the best Mexican food in the country. In Kansas City, bro. That's something that people forget about, dude, is the representation out here of the Hispanic culture, bro. I'm telling dude, some of the best food around, bro. So, yes, shout out to La Fondas for sure, guys.
He says, I will. I live in D.C., but we'll make it happen.
Hell yeah, bro. Sounds great, man. That's what I'm talking about.
The community is what it's all about, baby.
Hell yeah.
I love that.
Let us know, Enrique, for sure, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, man. So that is that. Hey, speaking was great. The show's been awesome.
Man.
We have one more order of business to get to. What is it called, Trevor?
Hold this L.
Each and every episode, we finish off every single episode with a series of L's in the world of sports. Whether those L's are friendly L's or not so friendly L's in the world of sports, we promise you, who is ever holding those L's in the world of sports, deserve those L's in the world of sports. Trevor Toole, who's holding the L for you this week?
All right, so listen, I'm a big Deion Sanders fan. Coach Prime, I guess it's disrespectful to call him Deion Sanders now, but as a coach, he wants to be called Coach Prime. He loves the smoke. Typically, I always thought he loved the smoke. He's a polarizing figure, right? Yep. So he attracts a lot of scrutiny and possible discrimination sometimes. Certain things that come that guy's way, and he typically is inviting of it. But now he's starting to get to a point where he feels like he can pick and choose the criticism that comes his way, and he hasn't won in the NCAA yet to be at this point where he's at now. Now he's at a point where he thinks he can pick and choose which reporters can ask him questions now. This is the part where it starts to get like a God complex, and that's where it starts to turn me off. I love Deion. I think he's one of the best personalities, maybe the best personality to ever come out of NFL. The dude played baseball at a fairly high level too. He's an incredible athlete, one of the best athletes of all time to walk this earth.
Now it's me off.
Yeah, and one of the best personalities too. I love the guy. I love his kids. I love what he's doing with his sons. His sons are all studs too. I love it. Love this whole thing. I like what he's trying to do in Colorado, but he's yet to do it. Okay, Let's be honest right now. I love the guy, but he's yet to really be a winner at this level. But there was a local columnist. I think Keeler is the last name.
Sean Keeler.
Yeah, Sean
He's
Keeler.
from Kansas City.
And listen, the guy said some choice things about Deion. Called him some certain. Let me see if I can pull it up here real quick of what he was actually calling him. Deposition Deion, the Bruce Lee of BS, and a false prophet. Planet Prime, Deion Kool-Aid, and circus, and calling his whole shtick a circus. So the ban was indefinite, I think. I mean, a guy kind of put it on himself. At the same time, that's kind of the same energy coming from a reporter to what Deion puts out. It was kind of holding a mirror up to Deion's face, because Deion says a lot of crazy things too, and is, like I said, very polarizing. So you should expect some polarizing things being said back at him. Now that guy is shunned. Now Keeler is shunned to even ask him questions or to be in the reporter room when there's questions being asked in the media room. I think that's kind of lame on Deion's side, if I'm being honest. I think that's kind of honestly, if he wants to be that guy, he wants to be that polarizing guy, and he wants to be able to take that. He wants to build this big conglomerate of a deal over there in Colorado. He should be able to take that kind of heat if he's going to put that kind of heat out. So him kind of like monitoring who can and can't ask questions is kind of lame, personally, in my opinion. And I think that's L-worthy for Deion, in my opinion. So Coach Prime, do me a solid favor here, man, and hold this L.
We talk about the dynasty side of things, and who the hell would not want to join the Chiefs dynasty? When any dynasty for that matter. Why would you not want to be a part of something like that? And that goes across the board. We've seen players throughout time. They play against a team for X amount of years, and then years later they join that team. And nobody really frowns upon that too much unless you're Kevin Durant, because obviously you couldn't beat the Warriors and you decided to join them. And you were one of the 3 best players in the NBA at the time that you did it. So that was kind of shitty, but there are exceptions across the board. Well, we got news this week that Josh Jacobs, the now newly minted Packers running back, was talking about how the Chiefs were hard after him this offseason, and basically said, yeah, there was no way I was going to go and join them. So according to Pro Football Talk, and we'll put this on the screen real quick if we could, Trevor. So he says, quote, "They were trying to get me hard, giggity," says Jacob. Jacob says, quote, "But there was no way I was going there. I feel like once you are rivals with somebody, you have a genuine hate for them. I couldn't see myself in that color. And besides, I never wanted to be the guy that joined the dominant team. I want to be the guy that beats the dominant team." End quote.
I respect it.
You know, I love the word rival. Because Trevor and I, back when Trevor and I and Eddie, we used to have this debate all the time about rivals, and I would educate these two guys across from me about what a rival truly is, and I think Trevor finally started to get it, that you're only a rival to somebody if you're in their way. And when that team beats you and beats you and beats you some more and then decides to come back around and beat you again, they're not your rival. Is a squirrel a rival to a Ford F-150? No. Ford F-150 is going to run right over him. That's not a rival. Neither are the Raiders to the Chiefs. In fact, in Josh Jacobs' 9 games against the Chiefs, the Raiders went 1-8.
That's why.
That's not a rivalry.
The salt.
So if that was your reason, it's a stupid reason to begin with. Second, you say you didn't want to go to a dominant team. Yet you go to a team that beat the brakes off the Cowboys, who had 12 wins last season.
Yeah.
And now you're their premier running back, and they have some of the highest expectations this season. That makes a ton of sense. So you wanted to choose not to play for the dynasty team, but you still went to a playoff team. Sounds to me like Josh Jacobs doesn't really know anything that he's talking about. But what do you expect from a guy, Trevor, who spent 5-6 years with that fan base?
That brain rot is real.
So for that, Josh Jacobs, his lack of IQ, the inbred Raider fans that probably still love him, do me a solid and hold this L. Hills have eyes, Raiders training camp. What's the difference, man?
Good times.
Ruby!
Good times.
Ruby! Raiders! Love making fun of you clowns, man. Love making fun of you clowns.
It's fun. It's fun.
This show was fun. I feel like it was a series we did. This was like a 4-part series you just did in one sitting.
3.5.
My ass is pancakes right now.
I have to pee so bad. Now I want tacos too. Thanks, Shane.
Yeah, thanks, Shane.
God damn it.
No, we will be going to LaFonda's, bro, for sure. Whenever Enrique's in town. But that sounds fire as hell.
I'm down, man.
But I hope you guys had a blast today. There were so many people on the chat today. There were so many people watching live, listening live. I say at the bottom, I say at the top, and I say at the bottom of every single show. Go to YouTube, please, guys. It'd be awesome if you guys did this. Go to YouTube, go to the Spoken Podcast, hit like, share, subscribe, notify, all that stuff. That all works in our favor. But also get in the chat, man, because we love it when you guys are talking with us, man. We get to bounce back and forth and talk about these things. And now, guys, the football season's fucking here. This is the best time of year to talk sports. I hope you guys are ready for another awesome
season. Aaron, we love when you're talking dirty, bro. Talk dirty to us.
Talk dirty to me.
We love it.
You keep talking to the black shirt guy, man, because
the
black shirt ain't going nowhere, just like the Chiefs dynasty ain't. So for that, for Trevor Twidwell, for the great Clay Windler that puts all this together, for the Starcade Media family that supports us and is the umbrella company to what we do here at the Spoken Podcast, I'm Lance Twidwell. The Spoken Podcast, episode 281 is done, finished, and finito. And until we're back here in 1 week's time, and we will be talking about this 3-peat very soon. We promise you guys, I'm Lance Twidwell. We out of this bitch.
Later.